Everybody says, who does he think he is? I just told you who I thought I was. A guy.
Hot, hot, hot like a tamale.
Look at that big ass.
Damn.
Big, juicy booty. Look at that big ass.
Twerking.
Big booty.
Look at that big ass.
Damn.
Big, juicy booty. Look at that big ass.
Twerking.
Hot, hot, hot like a tamale.
Look at that big ass.
Damn.
Big, juicy booty. Look at that big ass.
Twerking.
Hot, hot, hot like a tamale.
Big, beautiful ass. Big, beautiful ass. Big, beautiful ass. Big, beautiful ass.
Look at that big ass.
Damn.
Big, juicy booty. Look at that big ass.
Twerking.
Hot, hot, hot like a tamale.
Look at that big ass.
Damn.
Big, juicy booty. Look at that big ass.
Twerking.
Big booty.
Look at that big ass.
Damn.
Big, juicy booty. Look at that big ass.
Twerking.
Hot, hot, hot like a tamale.
Major genius. Oh, yes, I'm genius. So just relax. Oh, 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 oh. Kamala, I'm freaking crazy rich. Kamala, you're a freaking crazy bitch. Kamala, you're so unwise. And Sleepy Joe, you're such a stupid guy. Major genius. Oh, yes, I'm genius. So just relax. Oh, 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 oh. Major genius. Oh, yes, I'm genius. So just relax. Oh, 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 oh. Just relax. Oh, 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 oh.
This is a Swamp production. Yeah, corrupt Shrek and they donkey.
Jake, I see some soldiers from far away. They trying to tell me that this is their swamp.
No, donkey. This is my swan, my swan. Yeah, donkey, this is my swan, my swan. Yeah, donkey, this is my swan, my swan. Yeah, donkey, this is my swan, my swan. Yeah, donkey. Came out of swamp, I'm donkey. Sipping that lean, it's boldly. Smoking that green, it's lovely. Yeah, yeah, donkey. What's in a bag, pumpy? We got a mag, pumpy. 94 back like Humpty Dumpty, yeah.
Damn straight. I get so high, never lame straight. Hop out the back of the lame straight. They know this shooter got guns in his hoop, but I think that this bitch got all blame straight. Look at my coat, we can band change. We thumbing through hundreds and whipping this on you. How can we be humble? They looking, they telling me damn
Why
straight.
they mad at me, donkey? What for? Cause I took the owner out the hood. Why they mad at me, donkey? What for? It's cause fuck on only 4-4.
Okay, straight, hold on. Hear me, I'ma spin it. Get his block hot, look a biscuit. I'm a stallion, we can kick it. You said a motor, bitch, I'ma leak it. He ain't charming, no preaching. Couple rain in the car, big sipping. Set him up, then we run blue steel skin. Sip him up from the swamp, where you living?
My swan,
Scott, why'd you join the army?
Hey, Okolski, why did you join the army?
To shower with dudes.
Why did you join the army? Why did you join the army?
Why'd you join the Navy? So I can stop selling dope.
Why'd you join the army?
My name is citizenship. I'm in a little bitch. She's an immigrant.
Ramirez, why'd you join the army? Wait, shit.
I was in Home Depot working, but they told me it's like when I get the green card, you need to join to the army.
So why did you join the army?
Curiosity. That's it.
Hey, why'd you join the army?
I don't know, man. I thought that was a good idea at the time, bro.
Why'd you join the Marine Corps?
Why'd I join the Marine Corps?
Yep.
To get away from North Carolina just to come back.
Why'd you join the Marine Corps? My high school teacher said I could.
Why'd you join the Marine Corps?
Kill people.
To kill people?
Why did you join the army?
Yeah, that's it. No one joins the army for their country, and anyone who says they did is a liar. Anyway, that's all. That was the only point there. I don't know if I played this other one before or not. I'm gonna play it now because it's another good one. You ever seen that bird's pecker? Anyway, this here.
So you are in a wheelchair, huh?
Yeah.
And you're a woman.
Yeah.
Damn. Talk about a double handicap. Sheesh. So what do? You just kind of ski boop around town? Is that what you do? You're just kind of like a Roomba that bleeds once a month?
Okay.
You bring a lot to the table, I can tell. Like your own chair. You do, that's... And you have like an aura about you, I bet you light up every room that you go into. Especially when you hit that thing in reverse and your taillights go on. Beep, beep. Real big bitch coming through. Watch your toes, fellas. So when you go to the gynecologist, do you go to a regular gynecologist? Do you go to like Jiffy Lube? I did notice that you are a redheaded woman as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I do want to ask, does the carpet match the rims that you got on? What's the protocol on that one? Stephanie Hawking, why don't you tell me that? What would you say is the hardest part about being a woman in a wheelchair? Besides having a parallel park, what would be the,
I don't know if we ever played that before or not, but yeah,
I think we played that one.
That was funny.
I don't know. We're having a good time tonight. On the agenda tonight is we're going to be joining the LNC meeting whenever they let us in. We have legit credentials. It's signed in as Josh, so we'll see if they let us in.
Probably not.
And also somewhere, I don't know if it's going to be. We'll see what happens. But the LP Alliance is also trying to co-stream this whole thing. So this is the gay group that's going to try to take over. We'll see what happens.
On a side note, Dave Fight's Free State Media is also going to be streaming on Rumble. So we have multiple avenues if they give me the big middle finger on letting me into the meeting.
Is David actually in? What was it? Free Stream Media?
Yeah, I'll send the link.
I'm pulling it up if I can find it. But yeah, I didn't know he's doing that. Yeah, so we're going to try to get in on this LNC meeting. So you guys were trying to tell me before. I haven't really been paying attention. I've been at a work convention all weekend. So what the hell happened? It was going to be McGee. McGee dropped out, or is he still in? I thought he dropped out, and everybody endorsed Heiss. What happened?
So, long story short, McGee backed out.
Okay.
Heiss was campaigning for chair, so was Amos. And now the narrative has gone from Heiss or die to we need to have Heiss debate Amos on purpose because we need to show you how good our ideas are comparatively.
Wait, what? Now there's going to be a debate to determine who it's going to be between Justin
Well,
and
they're
Amos
trying
and
to make
Heiss?
a debate happen.
They're trying to make a debate happen, and they're trying to now not vote on a chair tonight, or a vice chair, or anybody for that matter, except for maybe a few other vacancies, so that they can push for this, we should debate for a chair, and we'll just have a pro tempore one in the meantime to get us over the hump.
Wait, what? Okay. So this could go any which way tonight.
It could go a million ways. We could have Heiss's chair. We could have Amash's chair. We could have neither as chair. We could have one as chair, the other as vice chair. We could have a debate. We could have
We could prove once and for all. We could prove once and for all that we don't need a chair.
We could do that too. We could just crash the party into a brick wall tonight. That's also an option.
Yeah. All right, here's the Rumble link. Let's see. Share this tab. All right, so he's not, or no, he is live. No, he's not. This is a preview thing. What is this?
Now, the only thing you can't do is ignore them.
Is it his ad?
I don't know.
Because they change things.
I don't know.
Looks like a lot of freedom shit.
They push the human race forward.
Yeah, let me blow this up.
While some see them as the crazy ones, we see genius.
Yeah, there's like Ayn Rand.
Yeah, this is a lot of libertarian shit.
Yeah, this is definitely his shit.
This is Fight Stream.
Shout out to Dave Fight.
It's the people who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who do.
Well, if this is just like his intro or something, I don't watch enough of his content to know. But I'll keep it on there just in case he gets access. Yeah.
We have to inform Dave just how Joe Hendry and Jeremy Kaufman are most likely the same person.
Oh, hang on.
Oh my God, that shit is so. Oh.
We need to spread that far and wide. You realize that, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I was just trying to make sure that my voice wasn't going to get broadcast into the meeting for a second. Nobody's saying anything yet, so we'll be able to test
Adrian.
that. Yeah.
All right.
What's up, big?
All right, I'm ready,
that?
Mr. Malagon.
You hear that?
All right. Madam Secretary, give me just a second.
Can you guys hear?
This meeting is being recorded.
Mm-hmm. This meeting is being
Good
recorded.
evening, everyone. As we are absent a chair and vice chair, the duty falls to the secretary to call the meeting to order and to preside over the election of a chair pro tem. So I'm calling this meeting to order at 7:12 Eastern. But before we do the election of the chair pro tem, I would just to formally do roll call, and then we'll proceed right to that election. So I am present, Mr. Redpath.
Yes, I'm here.
Mr. Bost.
Here.
Mr. Nikela.
Here.
Mr. Vincent.
Here.
Mr. Watkins.
Oh, Vincent is there.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Yanuskavich.
All right, tell him to put his camera on.
I see you.
She's muted. You're muted.
Yeah, I saw her. Mr. Dar.
Here.
Mr. Dassing.
Here.
Mr. Ford.
Here.
Mr. Garcia.
Here.
Ms. Hayes.
I'm here.
Mr. Lamb.
Mayor Lamb's here.
Mr. McGee.
Here.
Mr. Nana.
Here.
Mr. Bracco.
Here.
Looks like McGee
Mr.
didn't get
Chatterton?
removed quick enough.
Here.
Oh, there he is.
Mr. Hurt.
Here.
I was trying to get him to join us and talk shit
Mr.
instead,
Johnson?
but there you go.
Here.
You got Rob on the left.
Mr. Malagon.
Present.
Bob says he might hop
Mr.
on with us
Thompson?
after all this.
Here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Deep
Mr.
state
Weir?
creature on the LNC, Rob Vincent.
That's
Shout
right.
out to the homie Rob.
Okay. So the next thing would be election of a chair pro tem. I do see Ms. Yanuskovich's hand raised. Ms. Yanuskavich. You're
Madam
muted.
Secretary?
Oh, thank you.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Madam Secretary, I move to appoint Adrian Malagon as Chair Pro Tem.
Adrian is chair?
For some reason, I'm having.
Wow,
okay,
that
Ms.
came out
He's
of
actually a
field.
decent chair. Like,
Move, I'm sorry,
procedurally,
I'm
he's
taking minutes at the
probably
same
one
time
of the
to
better ones
appoint
out there.
Adrian Malagon as Chair Pro Tem. Is there any objection?
Objection.
Okay, we will move to a roll
And
call
here we
vote.
go.
Until I'm completely relieved of this duty, I'll start sharing my screen once we do have a chair pro tem. So if you give me one moment, I am pulling up a ballot.
Sounds like he doesn't have the votes yet. Yeah, probably not.
Who objected,
I don't know.
please?
He pisses all the right
Mr.
people
Lamb
off.
did.
So
I mean, they just removed
Okay,
Heyman
so
as
the
Region
motion
1.
before
They
the
got to
body
backfill
is
Heyman.
whether or not Mr. Malagon shall be
They
appointed
might
chair
even
pro
try to
tem, which
backfill
means for
like,
this meeting,
I don't know. I think
up,
that's really
up
what they're
until
trying
and
to do
if
is
we
remove anybody
elect
that they
a
think
chair,
is going to be a problem.
a
and
yes vote will appoint Mr. Malagon
backfill
as
him
chair
with
pro
people who
tem.
are
A
friendly
no
to
vote
Heist so they
will
get the
not.
votes.
Mr.
I'm sending
Boss.
Adrian a message and telling him that he has to take a shot every
Could you
time somebody
clarify one more
objects.
time, please?
If you agree to Mr. Malagon to be chair pro tem for this meeting, this is just dealing with this meeting, you will vote yes. If not, you
Take
will
a
vote no.
motion That's
No.
not on the agenda.
One moment.
You have to take a shot.
Mr. Dar,
Yes.
See if he's paying
Mr.
attention.
Dassing,
No.
Mr. Ford,
Look at how professional and like well put together Adrian's background looks.
Yeah, way better than ours.
Mr. Ford.
Oh, yeah. You're muted.
I will
Was
come
that
back to
Johnson?
Mr. Ford.
I heard Matt Johnson.
Mr. Garcia.
Excuse me. I thought there was an objection. Are there other nominations?
I would move to nominate Mr. Redpath for pro tem if it's in order.
It's not in order at this time. We're in the middle of a vote. If the vote fails, then your motion will be in order.
Thank you.
Mr. Ford,
A pass.
Mr. Garcia.
Pass.
I'll pass.
Since I am acting as chair right now, I'm going to vote last. Ms. Hayes,
Yes.
What is this bullshit?
Mr. Lamb,
No.
Why do people vote
Mr.
last
McGee?
just because they're chairing? Say where you stand. Stand
Yes.
up.
Mr. Netna,
Yes.
Mr. Nikela,
Yes.
Mr.
Somebody forgot to
Redpath,
mute their mic.
Yes.
Mr. Benson,
Yes.
Mr. Watkins. I will come back to Mr. Watkins. Ms. Yanuskavich,
Watkins
Yes.
down.
Mr.
Pat
Ford.
Ford looking rough right now.
Just to clarify, I voted no. It might not have gone
Oh, I didn't hear you. Thank you. Mr. Ford,
I haven't decided who I'm voting for, but I'm still trying to understand why.
we are in the middle of the vote, Mr. Ford.
I understand that. And you know what? I'm not going to sit here and obsess over parliamentary procedure. Again, I haven't even decided who I'm voting for.
Dilatory.
But I'm not going to obsess over parliamentary procedure if, in fact,
Motherfucking
I was just this bull rush.
We're all dead.
Mr. Ford, we're in the middle. Mr. Ford, you're out of order.
I don't care.
Mr. Ford, you are out of order. Mr. Ford, you're out of order. Anyone
Shut
that
up, Ford.
Are you going to vote?
I'd like to know why you didn't ask if nominations would be closed.
I'd like to know why
Mr. Ford,
Mr.
are you
Chevy
going
is
to
not
vote?
at the
I would
table.
like to know that.
Mr. Malagon, will you please mute Mr. Ford and I will get back with him. Mr. Garcia.
Well, because Mr. Redpath voted yes, that was going to be a nomination. I'll just vote yes.
Okay, is Mr. Ford ready to vote? If you could unmute Mr. Ford, Mr. Malagon.
I can only ask him to unmute, but I can't unmute him.
There you go.
I guess all that bit about the process and open meetings and everything was nonsense.
Damn.
Mr. Ford, are you going to vote or I'll put you down as a abstain?
What about a petty bitches, bro?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
this is gonna be fun. This is why I wanted
Wow.
to do this tonight.
Okay, I'll put you down as an abstain. I will
What is
be,
the vote right now? What is the vote right now?
okay, it is 9-4.
So it doesn't matter.
I'll
Doesn't
abstain.
matter.
Yeah.
Okay, as my vote is
look at
not
that
needed
stress.
to cause or break a tie, I will also abstain.
Why is he?
That is, so there are two
Looks like he's about
abstentions,
to
9 yes,
fucking
4 no. Mr. Malagon, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. So we'll move on to the first item
So
on the
he's the
agenda.
chair
If
now.
the Secretary would be so kind as to put the
Madam
agenda
Chair, I
on the
move to
screen.
reconsider.
Okay, one moment, please.
Oh, they're gonna share a screen. I hope I can see it.
Chair, I'm a
Madam
little-
Secretary, may I cede my vote at this time to Mr. Malagon?
Why does it?
No.
Yeah, there you go,
I
Meredith.
don't
Do the
decide
right
that. I'm
thing.
no longer.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Malagon.
No, you should have done the right thing when it came
you're
to you.
ceding,
Fuck off.
You're ceding to me right now?
These people suck.
Okay.
For some reason, it's not letting me share.
Don't
Let
be
me
mad,
try. Oh,
Tim,
there it
'cause
went.
you're
I
not
am
on the
mad.
LN.
I'm not. I don't want to be.
Swamp Creature
Shut
just took over the LNC. It didn't have to just be fucking
agenda
Rob.
should be up on the screen.
gotta be such a
We did
bunch
the
of
call to
bitches.
order and attendance. We did
Bunch
the
of
election
hoe-ass
of the chair pro
energy
tem.
over here.
Point of information.
Mr. Thompson had his hand up first. I'm going to call him Mr. Thompson, then Mr. Bost.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I guess
we'll
a
have
point of
Rob
personal
sit on top
privilege.
of
I just
Josh.
wanted to point out that we didn't have open nominations.
Trying to blow this up.
So the motion was in order. I understand Pat's objection there, but
I
the
think
process
Angela
was
would skip
respected.
too. It's all the chairs do it.
I have never been in the entire time on my LNC in a
Ford, please.
situation where there was no
Mr. Ford. Mr. Ford, we will not have
Busting out the
crosstalk.
Fed
We will
tactics
not have
tonight.
crosstalk during this meeting. Just to capitalize on Mr. Thompson's
already
point
got
here,
him
there was
off.
a motion that was made.
So professional,
And someone
so
could have
clean.
opened nominations. There could have been a process there. That's fine. Ms. Yanuskavich made a motion. The motion
Josh, you were
passed.
right.
We're past that now. I'll say Mr.
Move
Bost
along.
first, and then Mr. Dassing.
Yes, can you clarify with Mr. Malagon as Chair Pro Tem the status of the vote for Region 4? And if Mr. Malagon also has a vote, what is the status there?
Is this just the agenda?
Certainly, Mr. Bost. So a Chair Pro Tem is strictly just procedural. It does not give me a vote any more so than it did when I was Secretary Pro Tem for a few meetings. I do have a vote now as Region 4 representative since Ms. Hayes has ceded
doesn't
her
get two votes,
seat
though.
to me at the moment.
Thank you.
Of course. Mr. Dassing? I believe that was probably his question, so he's put his hand down. Mr. Ford?
No, don't unmute. Just don't tell him.
You are muted.
Don't take. God damn it!
Moving forward, are we going to get at least 30 seconds in between motions to actually respond to them?
Should have just
I
like
suppose
let him
that's
talk
up
to
to
himself
the
and just
motion
say,
maker.
yeah, that's a
and
good
if there's
point.
a second
Good job.
for it, or if there's
just
a
keep
competing. And so I guess
Or,
that's up.
or how about if, in fact, we're going to nominate for anybody, is there going to be at least a 45 seconds gap in between the rush to close nominations? Or is this the new practice for the secretary?
That is up to the body. The
autism is
secretary
strong with this one.
proceeded as she saw fit, and there was nothing.
And we understand. We understand that. We understand that she always sees as she's fit.
Mr. Malagon, I absolutely
Look at Rob trying not to laugh right now.
Oh yes, of course, Mr. Dassing.
I want to appeal the ruling of the chair.
Fight.
What ruling would that be? I'm
Let's
confused.
go.
About there being open nominations.
I wanted to.
Who is talking, please?
That's Mr. Dassing. I'm not sure.
I want to join the
at this
meeting.
point, the motion has
and just
passed.
say, in
There was
honor
no
of our
competing
newest
motion.
libertarian member,
There were no nominations. This would be dilatory. Okay, moving on. So if the secretary would be so kind as to put the agenda back on the screen.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, get rid of your crap. We don't want to see your porn. All right.
Goddamn degenerate.
So I believe,
I
so I guess the next item is technically the adoption of the agenda. Everyone has
Filibuster
seen the
Ford.
agenda.
Like some random porn tab pops up in a meeting.
Filibuster
Okay.
Ford.
So at this time, I would like to move to adopt the agenda as submitted with the public comment item stricken. This will require a majority of votes cast.
Yeah, let's go. Fuck your
Point of
opinion.
information.
Y'all
So
ain't
you are
shit.
saying
Shut the
that
fuck
there
up.
will
Let's
be
get
no
to
public
business.
comment?
That is correct. That is my motion.
I object.
Okay.
Okay, well, it hasn't been
Boy.
seconded yet, so let's
Who
hold
is
on
that
for a
guy?
second.
I don't even know that guy.
Is there a second for the motion
Oh,
on the
man.
Second.
Aaron
Banana
Lamb?
seconds.
floor? Mr. Nana seconds the motion on the floor. Mr. Lamb raised an objection, so we will go to a vote.
How's it going
Whenever
to turn
the
out,
secretary
boys?
is ready,
Let's take
we
a
will go
drink.
ahead
bet.
and
I say it's going to fail.
Gonna go with
proceed
fail.
with
Objection? Yeah,
a
it's
roll
gonna
call
fail.
vote.
Okay,
for-
so
We're
we're
already-
all in for fail.
Again.
Shit.
The
People are already
motion is
sick.
to adopt the agenda as submitted with the public comment item stricken.
All right, let's see how it goes. Are they doing roll
Okay,
call?
I'll
Don't
stick
do
the
roll
motion
call.
text in there. One moment.
No public
So,
comment.
Mr.
Ah, you
Malagon-
suck. Just write no public comment. That's the motion.
My eyes are not good today.
Motion. Agenda approval, no
and
public
all these
comment.
people coming into the meeting keep disturbing my screen. Move
I'm going to let
to
them in little by little to let you do.
adopt the agenda as
Yeah, they're
drop the
MC's
agenda.
trying to flood the
How did
meeting
you
with
word that
people
again,
so they
please,
can
sir?
get public
Adopt the
comment and
agenda
just let
as
people go
submitted
on and
with
on
the
and
public
on.
comment item stricken.
They're gonna let it go. Who do you think controls the room right now? Mises friendly or not?
Okay, and there
These are
was an
people that
objection.
probably were Mises friendly 3 weeks ago and are not now.
Oh, they didn't fall in line 24 hours later, so they don't.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah, or 48
They're
hours.
acting in
sorry,
bad.
yeah.
Everybody who voted yes on the last one acted in bad faith.
What
And they're going to
announcement?
continue to act in bad faith.
Are you talking about?
Sure, we can go to
it
debate.
just started.
Mr.
Barfo.
Dassing's
Don't
hand
worry.
is up.
This
Actually,
is
I'll speak to my
typical
motion really
libertarian
quickly
shit.
first,
We haven't
and then
even
we'll
got
go
to the
into
first
debate.
motion.
So I do believe the LNC has received 300 emails. I think that the public comment, I think it's been exhausted. We understand where members of this body feel, where they fall on certain.
Adrian
wherever,
Malagon is pro.
Doesn't really matter
is
where it
chair
lies,
pro
but
tem.
I think we've already
That's all they've
exhausted all the
decided.
debate that we need to have about this. About
and
what's
this
happening
Ford
today,
guy is
so
going
that's why
to be
I'm moving to
autistic.
do that. So
Yeah, and we're laughing.
If
at
anyone
Ford.
wishes to speak,
turning us back up.
any LNC member wishes to debate or engage in their right to debate, now would be the time.
I would just say that there are 180 people here for a reason.
Oh, they're gonna let them talk. Let them talk. Let them talk.
I'm gonna go get another soda. This is about to get ugly.
Because there was no debate.
I'm with
And
you.
if
they block it, we all
got
gotta drink. All right, now everybody
And
leaves. This is
I
fucking
understand
bad.
why, but I just think this is not the right move.
That man is literally
Thank you, Mr.
talking
Walker.
through a tin can. Rob's got his hand
Mr.
up.
Vinson?
What do you got, Bob?
Yeah, I think we need to have an open nomination process for chair. I think we should vote down this entire agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Damn.
Vinson.
I
Mr.
have
Walker?
a point of order,
Yes,
Mr. Malagon. Just so people aren't confused, this is a special meeting that was called for a purpose. People who gave notice have a right to have their item heard. No other member can simply strike what somebody gave notice for.
I don't know. Josh can answer that.
Thank you, Madam
Hey,
Secretary.
Josh.
Your
Do
point.
not approve the agenda.
What did I do?
It doesn't matter.
Barfo's
It's just
asking,
the order.
wasn't it
I'm
supposed to
sorry.
go to Karen
No,
Ann
no,
instead of
understand. Your
Malagon?
point of order is well taken.
Karen Ann was there
Mr.
at
Lamb?
first, but they voted.
Yeah, so again,
Karen
I
Ann
motion
presided
against this.
at the
I
beginning
think
of
it's
the
very
meeting,
important
called it
for our
to
members
order,
to be
and then they
heard.
elected a
As
pro
a very
tem
new
for.
Region 1 rep here,
Adrian was nominated.
Again,
He
seeing
won the
how many
majority of the
people are
votes,
in
so he's pro
this
tempore for the
it's
meeting.
certainly
There you
something
go.
that is
There's your
pressing
wrap-up.
to our members. So I think it is absolutely out of order and absurd to strike the opportunity for public comment to be heard. I am a mayor. I understand you all keep saying that Mr. Lamb.
I ain't calling you
Sorry.
Mayor Lamb.
Go ahead.
You can lamb down on these
Again,
nuts,
you
bitch. You
keep
ain't
saying
my
Mr.
mayor.
Lamb. It's Mayor Lamb.
Yeah.
No,
I
fuck
have
you.
dealt with
Yeah,
many
fuck that.
meetings.
You ain't-
Public comment is a very
Fuck
important
you.
part of this procedure. So I think it is absolutely absurd
All right,
to
Bald-headed
Mayor
strike
Lamb.
this
How about
from
you
the record.
become
Hell
mayor of
no.
Suck My?
Okay, so it is
Please.
in order. That's the one
Call
that's
me
correct.
doctor.
For
Yeah,
procedural
exactly.
Yeah,
purposes,
exactly,
it'll still be
exactly.
Mr.
You
Lamb
thought
for the
the
remainder
same
of this
thing.
meeting.
Yeah, fuck you,
Mr.
bro.
Ford?
It's Dr.
Typically, the
Rechtenwald to
election
you.
of a national chair is a process that takes place over anywhere from 6 months to a year or more, involving thousands of hours of volunteer and candidate commitment. On top of that, we can
It's
often see candidates spending
I think what it is,
thousands of
Barfo, is
dollars,
they'd rather
sometimes
deal with
tens of
Adrian
thousands of
than
dollars
Karen Ann.
in order to engage in that race.
I think that's what it is.
It's becoming clear to me tonight
It was
that there is
9 to
a
4.
rush
It wasn't even
to
close.
push this into a 2-hour.
Adrian's also one of the
pigeonhole.
better presiding
That
Mr.
simply doesn't-
Malagon, is this
as far as
relevant
chairs
to
in the party
the
are.
motion?
Madam Secretary, I have the right to speak
Mr.
as a member of
Ford,
this
Mr.
board.
Ford,
And by the
Mr.
way, I'm
Ford,
not suing the
Mr.
board.
Ford,
See?
Mr. Ford,
Get
please
God
make sure that
damn.
your comment
He
is
wants to
germane
fight
to
her
the
so
discussion.
bad.
We are voting on public comment. We are not voting on striking public comment and adopting the agenda with public
I would
comment.
like to make a case, as I believe I am entitled to,
This is why we need
a
to bring
reasonable
back internet
case
blood
without
sport.
the constant
He has a
interruption of
title.
the
He's a
Secretary
lord of
as
the
to why I
speech
believe it's important as a fundamental
Bitch.
aspect of libertarianism.
These are your people.
So I will just
These are
close
your
with this.
niggas.
I will just
Why
close
are
with
we
this. If you
doing
keep
Fed
interrupting me,
tactics in the
believe me,
meetings
I'm
all
better
of a
at talking over
sudden?
people than anybody.
by a lot.
All right.
What's
Ultimately,
this grandstand is,
this
you know,
issue deserves
make
more
great
than
speeches,
2 hours
big
attention.
speeches,
Thank
the
you.
best speeches.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. Mr. Nikela?
Truly the best, the greatest.
All right, what's he gonna say, Nikela? Captain Charisma, as Josh once called him. Come on, dude.
Yeah, I just want to say I think this motion is being mischaracterized. This isn't a motion to try to strike an open election or anything like that. I'm in favor of open nominations for an election. This is just to get by public comment. I got 300 emails just like everybody else. I think the voice of many people has already been heard in secession. So that's all I want to say.
Thank you, Mr. Nicola. Mr. Nana?
Is there anybody
How
else
long
with their
till
hand
Mr.
up?
Ford
Otherwise,
pulls
what I'm
his
about to
dick
say is
out?
pointless.
There is not. I suspect you're
it's
about
a
to call
Zoom
the
call.
question.
Anything could happen.
Correct, Mr. Malagon.
Okay, I think that that's unnecessary at this point. There is no further comment on this. There's no further debate on this topic. So when the secretary is ready, we can go ahead and move to a roll call vote.
Mr. Chair, I would ask that you ask guests not to raise
Different
their hand
people.
when we're in the middle of business.
Pat Ford is
yes, thank you, Madam
an
Secretary.
autistic boxer.
So yes, if members of the public could refrain
And,
from raising their hand,
Maynor or whatever
once we get
is
to
mayor.
if this motion does not pass and we
Mayor.
do go to public comment, we will
Mayor.
ask people to raise
It's
their hand
mayor
and
to
we'll proceed as
you,
we
Tim.
would normally.
He's an asshole.
Okay, Mr. Boss. The question is, shall we adopt the agenda as submitted with public comment item stricken? A
By
yes
the way,
vote
I'm
would
a
adopt
mayor.
that, a no vote
I'm a mayor, by the
would not.
way, a mayor.
No.
Mr. Dar.
Yes.
This is going to become our regular member stream, isn't it?
submitted,
Just
yes.
shitting on the LNC.
With public comment stricken.
It's
Yes, with
low-hanging
public
fruit.
comment
That's
stricken,
the
yes.
Okay,
problem.
just wanted to make sure.
I mean, this should be a good
Mr.
one,
Dasson.
though. I think normally they're pretty boring,
No.
but this should be a good one.
Mr. Ford.
They are doing a roll call vote. Jesus Christ.
Mr.
Slowing
Ford.
it the fuck down.
I will come back to Mr. Ford. Mr. Garcia.
No.
No.
Thank you. Mr.
Nah.
Garcia.
Nay.
I will vote yes. Ms.
That
Hayes.
motherfucker
Oh,
said
now you have an
nay.
opinion.
I'm going to come to you
Oh,
last
wow.
as your
Please let
chair.
them fight.
Mr. Lamb.
No.
Mr. McGee.
Yes.
Oh,
Mr.
they're
Nana.
going to vote it down.
Yes.
There you
Mr.
go.
Michaela.
We can watch the
Yes.
ranking come in. 4-4.
Mr.
Five.
Redpath.
Oh, it's voting
Yes.
away.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I still have
they're
Mr.
making it go
Rutherford on
away.
Here, let me just delete that. Mr. Benson.
No.
Fuck
Mr.
you,
Watkins.
No.
Uh-oh, it's tied. You get to choose.
Ms. Januskavich.
You get to choose.
Yes.
And Mr. Garcia pass. It is 7-6.
This is so intense.
I'll vote yes.
Tim, this is why we were always trying to get you to come to
Mr. Chair Pro
conferences.
Tem,
You never
it
did.
is 8.
Wait, hang on.
0. Do you wish to vote?
The chair will vote aye. The motion passes 9-6.
So here's the deal. We all said it was going to fail.
Excellent. So
that
the
they were
agenda
going
is
to allow
adopted.
public
We'll
comment.
move
So
on
we
to
all
the
have
next
to
item
drink.
on the agenda, which I believe
It was
is
you,
Audit
Mitch.
Committee. So this was noticed by Ms. Januskavich. Ms. Januskavich, if you'd like to speak to Audit Committee before we open nominations
Come on,
to the
Rob.
floor.
Bring up Saddam. That's right.
Can you imagine if
Yes,
you brought
I would.
Saddam into the meeting?
I will just give a
Saddam
brief
on
overview
comments.
before, and then I have a motion. For those of you who do not know, the audit committee is comprised of 3 members, a non-officer LNC member, and 2 non-LNC members.
Why do you want to
The
be on the
purpose
audit
is to
committee?
select the independent auditor, work with them as necessary, present the findings to the board and to the members, and
Who's the
ensure
most impartial person on that
any
list?
appropriate
Bowen's okay,
action is
right?
taken
Yeah,
in
Rich
response
Bowen's
to
probably the most
any
impartial.
findings. The audit
Larry
committee has
Gillis?
access to all records of
Yeah,
the
that's who it is. Lawrence Gillis, yeah.
organization
Is he
and
good?
can conduct
Yeah, get
any issue-specific
I don't know
audits
half these
if
people.
necessary. It is
Allison
imperative
Hubert,
we elect the audit
any
committee
relation to
tonight.
Jennifer Hubert?
We are a bit
Barfo,
behind.
to answer
We
your
need
question
to
why it passed,
select an
because they said they
auditor
got
to
300
get
emails and they
on
don't need your
their,
opinion.
calendar.
That's why.
And let's see, I was elected as the
Another
LNC rep in December.
narrative you
and
could
the solicitation
definitely
for
push
applicants
is
went
that
out
the
at
MC
the end of
has
December. There
the
were,
gallery with
there are
their
10
members,
applicants
and the
for
last
the
thing the
remaining 2
LNC wants to do is
positions.
sit through 100
Thank you, Ms.
MC
Januskavich. So
members
with that,
all saying the
I will
same
go ahead
shit
and
off
open
the
nominations
script.
to the floor.
Hail
They will
Heist.
require a second. Does
My heart
any
goes to
LNC
Heist.
member wish to raise their hand
My
and
heart
nominate
to Heist.
any of the members that were submitted? Ms. Januskavich?
You're allowed to laugh,
Control,
Mitch.
Magoo.
It's okay.
Yes,
I am
I would
laughing.
like to
You see me
nominate Rich
laughing. Come
Bowen,
on.
Did
of
Angela
Florida,
ever do the
and
Oh yeah,
Douglas
it had to
Neville
be. I
of
guess it
South
never fucking
Carolina.
happened.
Thank you, Ms. Yanuskavich. So we have our first candidates as Mr. Bowen and
That
Mr.
reminds me.
Neville.
Did y'all watch Chase's
Mr. Bost?
stream? What was that?
Yes, I'd
I
like to
didn't see
nominate Mr. Dan John of Virginia.
I'll have to look it up.
Thank you, Mr. Bost. He nominated, so we now have 3 candidates for 2 positions. That would be Mr. Dan John
Oh
from
my
Virginia.
God. Nick
Ms. Hayes?
Sarwark is commenting on
I would
the
like to
LP
take my
Alliance
seat back.
stream right now.
Okay,
he
I was
is,
actually going to get to
Tomo.
that before the vote, but that's fine. Yes, I will
Is
cede
he
back to the
commenting
Region
on
4
YouTube?
representative. Thank you.
Yeah. mhm.
Okay. And I second Miss Yanuskovich's nominations.
Good vote of confidence. It's not necessary for nominations, but thank
I just
you.
wanted to do it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I just wanted to
Any
try the
other
tip, though.
nominations from
I just
the
wanted
floor?
to try the tip.
Going once, Mr. Vinson.
Yeah, I'll nominate Kat McElroy.
Okay, Dr. McElroy has been nominated.
Oh, they get
from
doctor.
California.
Okay.
Are there any other
Doctor.
nominations on
Troll
the
the
floor?
shit out of that mayor.
Going once,
Well, I'm a
going
doctor.
twice.
Who's gonna get it? Bowen's gonna get
Nominations are now closed.
it. Come on, Bowen. Let's go.
So I'm going to do this in the order in which people were nominated. So, Mr. Bowen, are you on this call?
Yes, I'm present.
Mr. Bowen, would you like to speak? Well, first, I'll ask before we
Thank you. This
proceed.
feels so much better.
Do you accept your nomination?
Yes, I do accept the nomination.
Thank you, Mr. Bowen. Would you care to speak to your nomination for up to, I guess we'll do up to 5 minutes?
Jesus.
Yeah, I only really need a minute or two, but
Yes.
I'd be happy to do that. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Most of you know me. There are some of you that probably maybe not. So I just want to let you know my name is Rich Bowen. I'm a Florida resident, formerly New Jersey resident. With New Jersey, I was their state treasurer
That's
for
why
a number
Josh
of
likes him
years.
so much. These damn Jersey
I want to
rats.
thank Kathy for her nomination. I look forward, hopefully, to working with her.
Someone nominate
And,
Ford.
Yeah, let's do
I
it.
am
I wanna
a
see that
retired
speech.
CPA. My CPA resides in Pennsylvania. I was a single proprietor CPA for a number of years. And from 2003
Rob's
to
hair gets taller every
2015,
time you see him.
I consulted
He's trying to
and
get that red
contracted
fro
with
going.
BDO, which is the 6th
red
largest
fro, you
audit
know.
firm in the country,
Oh.
and Citrin Cooperman,
Trying
which
his
is the
best to get
21st
that Ricky lookalike
largest
contest
CPA
from Trailer
firm
Park Boys.
in the
He says the
country,
kid in
providing audit and assurance
Got the
services.
gold chain and everything, bro.
More importantly, I actually had a number of clients that I worked with, nonprofits, small organizations, who I consulted with when they were having their audit completed by public accounting firms. So I've actually
Is this a
been able to
financial
see
audit? Is this
the
what
audit
they're trying to
process
do?
from both sides of the desk.
Or Dennis, maybe.
I've also served on this committee before, as many of you know. I was on this committee from 2019 to
Just give it to Rich.
2023.
He'll be fair.
Would like to serve on it again. Again, would love to work with Kathy. We do work together well.
People do a
And,
good
just
job.
to let anybody know, if they have any questions as to where I've been, I do want to let everybody know I did take some personal time off at the end of the convention last year,
Who's that
just
chick in
to
the middle?
kind of clear my head,
Allie
get my
Nickel.
priorities
Who's
in
that?
order. I've been in politics a long time, and I found that one of the best things you can do
Rob's
when you're
future
involved
wife.
in party politics is just to step away and clear
She's
your
got
head for a few
psychedelic
months. So
mushrooms
that's
in the
why
background.
I have not been around. I know a couple of people had called. They were concerned it might be a medical issue. It was not. I want to thank everybody for their concern and checking in, but
So we're
that's about all I
shipping
have
Rob
to say.
now,
thank you
huh?
for your time.
Trying to find him a new step.
Thank you, Mr. Bowen.
Oh, she's already got a
Next
kid.
up, we will have, I believe it was Mr.
Game over.
Neville. Mr. Neville, are you present?
That puts her right
Yes,
in
I
your
am.
category, though, Mitch. You're going to be a
Fantastic, Mr.
stepdad.
Neville. First, do you accept your nomination?
You can't hear me.
I do. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Would you like to speak to your nomination for up to 5 minutes?
Oh my God.
Sure. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Malagon. I appreciate your time. I appreciate everyone's time. I'm excited to get involved. I've never been involved with the Libertarian Party before.
Oh yeah,
even
so
at the
join
local
the
level.
audit committee. That's good.
Let me join the
Interesting.
National Audit Committee. Great way to kick things
And
off.
so
you
I have
fucking
over
idiot.
25 years of corporate finance experience.
Come on, vote
in
against
the
this
private
guy,
sector,
dude.
mostly in manufacturing.
No.
Fucking
The last
Look, Rob,
16 of which
Rob,
have been
he's
in
not even here. and
corporate
He's having the
treasury.
same reaction.
So I'm not a CPA, I'm not an accountant, but I'm a treasury professional. And so what that means, it's a little different than accounting.
Fed.
My background is mostly in banking relationships, and even things like T&E spend, etc. So I have a certification
Nebel
in
a Jewish name?
Area. I have an MBA from a top 25 B school, and I love the Libertarian Party. I've never been a member actually, but but I'm passionate about it. And,
what the fuck does that mean?
Would love to get involved. So that's why I'm here.
Fed.
And I appreciate your time. Thank you.
What the fuck?
Thank you so much, Mr. Nibble.
No, you're out.
Up next, I believe we have Mr. Daniel John. Mr. Daniel John, are you on this call?
He's got 2 first names. Can't trust
I
him.
am.
Fantastic, Mr. John. First, do you accept your nomination?
I do.
DAP was invented so these people
Second, would
don't
you like
get
to speak
bullied.
to your nomination for up to 5 minutes?
Please.
Floor is yours.
Not wrong.
Thank you. My name's Dan John. I'm with the LPVA from Virginia, and I'm the treasurer there. And I'd really love to work on the audit committee to get more experience with the LNC and be a bigger part of our national presence. I'm a CPA. I own my own
Another
firm,
stinker. Get
Agora
him out.
Financial Services. I have participated on the back end of audits where I do audit support for companies, usually facing anywhere between, when somebody gets a credit line, they'll have a bank audit. They'll have other things like DCAA audits and things like that. And so I'll participate in a lot of those, providing kind of financial support for those kind of things. I would really love to be a part of the audit committee.
Brought him in?
And I think I
Who brought who
can
in?
add a
What are you
lot
talking
to
about,
it.
Barfo?
So,
Sorry, I just saw that
please
comment.
consider me as a
Saddam
good,
for audit.
selection. Thank you.
He'll tell us where the gold is.
Thank you, Mr. John.
Yes,
Up
Saddam
next,
for
I believe
audit.
last, we have Dr. Catherine
Jihad the
McElroy.
budget.
Are you on this call, Dr. McElroy?
All right, who's gonna win?
once.
I think that's the last nomination. Who's
Going
gonna win?
twice.
My
Who
money's
is
on
the
Bowen.
Mr. Vincent, did you nominate Dr. McElroy?
I did.
Can you affirm that she has accepted this nomination?
I'm rowing with Bowen.
I can. She reached out to me. Oh, as of today, I can't. She did reach out to me saying she wanted to be on the audit committee. So other than that, I can reach out now and see.
Well, if you'd like to, I was going to give you the option just for the sake of time.
Speak
We do
for
have
her.
a lot to get through. I mean, if you can affirm that she has accepted her nomination, if you'd like to speak to her nomination, you're welcome to,
There
since
you
she doesn't
go.
appear to be on this call.
Kat has done a great job with the MC organizing. I'm reaching out to her now to confirm, but she seemed really excited.
You just
at the
killed part of your
opportunity
vote.
and asked to be on
Yeah,
the audit committee.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Vincent.
I can confirm her nomination was accepted.
Okay.
I get the feeling now that
All right,
announcing
so
your MC
we
affiliation
have
is going to hurt
four-
you more than it will help you now.
4 nominees
like the old
for
days.
2 spots.
Yeah.
Ms. Yanuskevich?
May I speak to my nominations?
You may.
Is that in order? Okay.
All of them?
I hope everybody reviewed all 10 of the applications.
They
I
didn't.
believe that based on experience, there were a couple, 3 or 4 that clearly had, experience and above and beyond the rest.
Last guy should not
most
be an
years,
MC.
the
What
audit
are you talking
committee,
about?
He has
It-
MC derangement syndrome.
is kind of boring,
Yeah.
and we select an auditor
Okay.
and so forth. We all know at this point we will be conducting an investigation.
At the end of the day,
what
for me,
form
it's just
that
always
takes,
whoever
I'm
the fuck's
not
best for
sure.
the job.
It will, however, in
I think
some
Bowen will
ways
do fine.
overlap with the audit committee.
Bowen would be good.
I
She would also be
selected
good
these 2
too.
gentlemen,
Who?
Mr. Bowen
Kathy,
because
the girl.
he has been
Yeah,
part
I don't know.
of
McElroy.
She's the
the
one.
audit
She
committee
worked
before and on the LNC, and those are ways
doctor.
without having
No,
been
with her,
involved in any
aside from everything
with
else,
the
she also
LNC in
worked
the
a
recent
lot on the
months.
free Ross stuff.
And also,
She was the one who I
Mr.
heard all the
Neville,
stuff that we were talking about.
he
Ross getting
has
free.
25 years of experience. Rich
So
has
she actually does
about
put in
20
good work.
years of experience. They come from two different sides of the same issue.
Factionalism is
Mr.
gay.
Neville really
But to some
interested
degree it
me. I had
exists,
talked
so
to him
you
on
know.
the phone
Take the good with the
because he has been on the other side. I think we all know at the end of this, there will be some
She's got a
corrective action
chalice,
that we will
bro.
need to take
fuck was
before
that?
our audit, and we will need to
Karen Ann, bro.
implement
Are you
some
Yeah.
changes and some changes in policy.
bit.
And I think he is the guy to do that. Further, the audit committee needs to be independent, and it is my position that we should not consider anyone who has weighed in on the chair decision supporting one candidate or another.
All
Neither
hearsay.
Mr. Bowen has done
How-
that, or
what?
Mr. Neville.
That was weird.
The audit committee audits
People
the
coming off of
officers.
Random
It
shit.
needs to be independent. This is an important job. We need to do that to maintain the integrity of
Rob
the
should
process.
speak for her as her lawyer.
So I believe these two guys fit the bill to
Yeah,
both be
self-promote.
experienced and independent from internal issues.
Okay.
Thank
So
you, Ms. Yanuskevich. Apologies for that interruption. I believe the person either left or was removed.
nice.
Would any member of the LNC that made a nomination like to speak to their nomination? We've had Mr. Vincent do so, Ms. Yanuskevich. I believe Mr. Watkins nominated Mr. John. Mr. Watkins, would you care to
Mr.
speak to
John.
that nomination?
That was Mr. Bost.
Mr. Bost, apologies. If you'd like to speak to your nomination.
Is
now
Angela
would
in
be
the
time.
room? Let's
Now,
find
just
out.
briefly, I would like to add that Mr. John has been a
182 people in this
longtime
room.
member of the party and is invested in the success of the party. So I would just like to add that to his qualifications. Thank you.
I don't see Angela.
Thank you, Mr. Bost. So we have again 4
Type in
nominees
Austin.
for 2 positions on the
Austin?
audit committee. We
Austin
can do
Martin?
this a few different ways. So we can do a vote where people pick 2.
Yeah.
You know, we do it by name. If someone wishes to make a motion
See who
to
we
adopt as a
recognize
slate
here.
or
John
one
McGee,
individual and do
Meredith,
that at a time, we can do that.
Steve. we already
If
saw him.
someone wishes
Matt
to make a
Johnson.
motion either way, if someone wishes to make a motion to
Hogarth.
adopt a person or a slate, they can do so now. Otherwise, we would go to a name vote. Name roll call vote.
Heist is in
Ms.
here.
Yanuskevich?
Of course, he's going to be in here.
He's got to be.
Yeah.
Andrew
In
Watkins.
the
Don't you
interest
know
of
that guy?
time, I would
Yeah, I know Watkins. He's the mustache man.
Oh, yeah,
move
yeah, yeah.
to do this by slate.
Ben Weir's
and
here.
If
Hi,
we
Ben.
do not have
Hey, Ben. What's up, Ben?
Majority, then move to individuals.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor by Ms.
Hector Roos.
Yanuskevich. Is there a second?
Everybody's favorite pet.
I'll object.
David
So there's a
Bostrip.
second by Mr.
Yep,
Redpath.
David's in there.
So we're not there yet. I
didn't see
think
him,
that was
man.
Mr. Lamb.
Blankenship.
We're not there yet. So
Anthony
Ms. Harless?
DeRozzo. Will Ogle.
Never mind. I just want, well,
George
I just wanted to
Kelly,
remind
Sean
everyone,
Kennedy,
well, it's me and Mr. Redpath cannot.
Dorothy Watson.
Oh, that's right.
Irene,
Yes, I was gonna. Thank you so
Jesse
much.
Gower.
So just so that everyone is clear,
Hey, I know, like,
the
all these
officers-
people.
Yeah.
the officers are not
You
allowed
should.
to. Yes,
You credentialed
thank
all
you.
of them.
So
You should.
the officers are not allowed to vote on this topic
Benner?
or on this.
All right,
on,
good
on
deal.
this-
All right.
on the members for this
Brody
committee.
Elwood.
I'll say
Mr. Magalon, if I may say, I did not object. That was Mr. Redpath that objected.
No, it was
Okay,
Mr.
man.
Ford.
Ford. Okay, let's not have crosstalk, people. Let's.
I had one other thing
Come on,
to
let
add,
Ford go nuts.
Mr. Malagon, if that would,
Yeah, man.
if that would be acceptable.
I wanna see
I
Ford
believe
get
Ms.
mad
Yanuskevich
more.
moved to elect by slate, and I'm assuming the slates are the 2 candidates she
Yeah, no McCardle.
vouched
No
for,
McCardle's
and
boyfriend
then
either.
the other 2 candidates. And if no majority is reached, then individually, I would just respectfully suggest if no majority is reached, then we do it where it's select 2, where all 4 names are up and each person selects 2. Because if you do it individually, we're going to have ties perhaps and all kinds of other issues. So If the
Don't
slate,
care,
if no
let's
slate
go.
gets a majority,
what?
then we have.
Why
all
aren't we
four
doing
names
ranked
up,
choice voting?
and
Isn't that
when I
the
call
way to
on
the
people,
future?
they
Why
pick,
are we not implementing this on our own platform if
2
we
people.
believe in it so much?
Understood.
Ranked choice
I
voting
agree.
is
I
not
would
all
think
the
that would
time.
be the best course of action.
And
Ms.
it lets the
Yanuskevich, can
worst
you
people
confirm that the
filter up
2
to the top.
members were the ones
But
that you
it's
nominated?
so great, and we have to
Yes.
push it.
And so
No, we
Mr.
don't.
Redpath has withdrawn
I'm
his
speaking
second.
on
He
behalf
technically
of the
wasn't supposed to
party,
be
and
able
you're
to second
wrong.
that. Is there a second for that motion?
I
How do
agree
we
with
know
you, by
that's
the
the
way.
results?
Seconded by
hate
Mr.
ranked choice
Nana,
voting,
and
but
we will.
everybody else
I'm going
loves
to
it.
put the secretary's hand
I've
down
heard
just so I
both
don't lose
sides,
track
and I
here.
still haven't come to
Mr.
a
Bost.
conclusion.
It just
Is Trump in the room?
Yes.
No,
Can you
he's not.
clarify that voting by slate was
We'll
what was
talk
moved?
about ranked choice voting.
Yeah. So
if we
Ms.
get kicked out.
Yanuskevich moved.
Didn't I
I
object to
understand.
this?
I understand
Didn't
if
I
that's the
object
case.
to
Thank
this?
you.
Mr. Ford.
The first
Mr.
libertarian
Ford. Come
president
to
in
order now.
LP
Mr.
history
Ford,
is
shut the
Right. I will
fuck up.
explain this. There is a motion on the floor that was seconded by Mr. Nana. Okay. We are not at a vote yet. Okay. There will be debate about this. An objection just means, so I was going to say, if there's no objection, clearly there was going to be an objection. So we are going to move to debate, and then we're going to move to a vote. If you do not wish to adopt the
someone else
slate
is
that was
getting
put forward by Ms.
misunderstood. I'm here.
Yanuskevich via motion and seconded by Mr. Nana, you are welcome to vote it down and then make a motion after that if the majority is not reached. If that is not reached, then we will go, as the secretary suggested, we will do 4 names and we will just do it by name, where you will vote for the 2 people that you wish to vote for this committee. Does that make sense to everybody? Mr. Dassing.
There's always something.
I was just gonna say it probably would just be easier if everyone just picked 2 on a vote, but it doesn't seem like that's what anyone wants.
Thank you, Mr. Dassing. Mr. Ford.
Given the
David
importance
Fite
of
and
this
Ben
position
Weir
at
are
this
streaming
time,
together.
and very often this
Fuck
is
them. They need to
not
get
to
in
diminish
here.
their work of
Get
the
in the
Scotch
swamp.
Committee, but given
Let's
the
go.
singular
I already
importance
did.
of this committee at this point in this moment in LP history, I find it
You have to be a member to
incomprehensible
be in this
that
stream.
in order
So
for
let them
ease
do
of
their
voting,
thing
we would
publicly.
create slates. I personally wish to vote for.
Are we getting into? We're not at
live
debate yet. It seems like you're making.
Okay, then just
We're not at debate
listen,
yet.
why don't you guys just run the meeting however you want, and you'll just
We're not at debate, Mr. Ford. Please come to order. Not ask again. Come to order.
Go get him.
Okay, so if there's nothing else to say, we will go into debate now. If anyone wishes to debate, so Mr. Ford, your
RCV
hand is
could be
up.
better, but
if
it
we're
will be
at
ended
debate
up
now,
being dominated
you are
by
welcome to voice
socialists.
your
Those two
objections, and this is the time to do it
don't
now.
fit together, sir.
Anyone that wishes to engage in
The
debate on this
RCV.
motion is welcome to raise
Ranked
their
choice
hand.
voting.
Mr. Ford.
All right. So, given the historical importance of the audit committee at this moment
Adrian
in LP
looks like the
history,
guy who used
I
to
find it
make
incomprehensible that we would invent, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that we would invent the notion that you have to vote by slate. I personally, the way the slate appears, wish to vote for someone from each slate. What? It just appears that this entire meeting is what they call the bum's rush. I would suggest, and I object.
We will not,
vote.
Mr. Ford, we will not question people's intentions. That is out of order.
That's
and that
all
is
we
out of
do
order.
on this committee.
Mr. Ford.
Thank you.
If you would like to debate the motion, you are welcome to vote it down, and then we can proceed with a different motion if you wish. I asked if anyone wanted to make a motion. Ms. Yanuskevich raised her hand. That's where we're at.
Okay.
Hawkins.
That is where we're at, Mr. Ford.
I think this
Little
can also
roadmap
just be
for
done
you,
on
bro.
Opa Vote. I don't really see. I get that we might be behind, but I don't really see the need to rush it. I mean, a week can be okay, and those that are selected, I think, would be able to deal
Aaron
with
Lamb,
a time crunch.
Mayor Lamb looks like
Thank you,
fucking
Mr. Watkins. Mr. Lamb.
the bad
I
guy.
think this
from,
committee is very important,
from
and
Sonic.
I
What's
don't
his
think
name?
that
I
there's
can't
a
remember his
need
name
to
right now.
vote by slate. So
Yeah,
I would strongly prefer that we go by individual.
Robotnik. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's the one.
Thank you, Mr. Lamb. Ms. Yanuskevich.
Pull up a picture.
Well, I'll just try to get him. Hold on.
Oh my god.
Okay.
In the interest of the comments, I will, I don't know, withdraw my motion or amend it.
At this point,
It's the bodies now.
there's only really one way to proceed.
gone.
We do have to proceed with a vote. It was made and seconded.
Mm-hmm.
What we could do here is, if everyone wishes to do what the secretary suggested, vote this motion down, and then we will do a vote
Ford's
by
making them
name
work for it.
so that people can select the two that they wish, and then we will go with, if there is a majority, there are top two contenders, then we can go ahead and move that route.
Okay.
That's fine with me.
Everybody vote.
Okay, so does everyone understand what we're voting on now? So if you'd like to vote in a
Google
different
Ty
way,
Lopez.
or
Oh,
you
I
have
know
other
Ty
preferred
Lopez. That's what you
candidates,
should have
or would
said.
just like a different
Oh, yeah,
voting
Ty
mechanism or
So he
process
said
for this,
Adrian Malagon looks
vote
like
this
Ty
motion
Lopez.
down and then make the appropriate motion. Does
Yeah, he
everyone?
kinda
Does anyone not understand?
It's like a more Asian Ty Lopez.
All right. Yeah.
Okay, I assume that everyone understands the assignment here.
Just, I'm sorry, I do have a question.
Mayor
We are not
Eggman to you.
voting
I'm
on.
sorry.
We're just
Yeah, I
voting
see
on
what
the
you're saying
method,
now.
not on names right now. Is that correct?
No, right
Oh,
now we
man.
are voting. So Missy Niscavich's motion was to adopt a slate, and if the majority prevails, then proceed to
Mayor
a vote.
Robotnik.
If it doesn't fail, if it does fail, then proceed a different fashion.
This
So
is
right
what
now you're
power
voting
does
on.
to people.
If you vote yes
Mayor
on
of
this,
Emerald
then that
fucking
means that it
City.
would be Mr. Nebel
Yeah.
and Mr. Bowen
Rob's
would
gonna
automatically
be
be on
now.
the audit committee.
Rob was the king of Munchkin Land. You pissed him
Mr.
off.
Chair, I'm sorry,
Fucking head oompa
Ms.
loompa.
Mayor has
Niscavic
been
can
trying to
correct me,
crack down on
but
this
I
one
think the
blue
intent was the
hedgehog and his
motion
team of friends.
that the voting method would be to adopt by slate, not to automatically adopt the slate with this vote. That this is
Oh my
just a
God,
vote
just
on the
vote
voting
already, you
method. If it
fucking
passes,
idiots.
we will then move to a
Yeah, this is
motion
the
by
worst part of
slate,
when I was
and if
the
it
chair
fails,
and not
we'll
the
then
VC.
move to an election.
I
with
just had to
Lollipop
sit here and
two
just put
out
up
of
with
the four
everybody
names.
just yacht.
Perhaps I misunderstood
yacht,
Missy Niscavich's
yacht.
motion. If Missy Niscavich would like to clarify, and then I'll move
People
to Mr.
ask,
Nana.
why hasn't the Libertarian
Initially,
Party
that was my
accomplished anything in
motion.
50
I am
years?
fine
Watch a
with
meeting.
not doing it
You'll
by
figure it out
slate,
quite
but having us in a roll call manner select two names. I do have concerns if we go individually through every,
It's not just
for
two,
each
it's the
person
top
that we
two.
will have ties and so forth.
Top
But I'm
two.
fine with
Talk to her.
not having a slate, but everyone
Yes,
just votes for
and buy
two
her
people.
coin.
Okay, so
However
everyone,
you need to do that.
that is the way that you
Do
wish
you
to
think-
proceed. Just vote
Do you
this
think
motion
she
down.
made more
Mr.
money
Nana, did you have
doing
a question?
crypto, or
Ready
would
to
she
vote.
have made more money
Okay,
doing an
actually,
OnlyFans?
let's do this. This will be
Ew.
easier. Is there any?
I mean, she's
girl.
not too
Are we
hot.
okay? Just
So
Nah, Hawk
does
2
anyone
would have
wish to
made way
vote
more money
yes
doing
on this
OnlyFans.
motion?
she probably still would have made an ass load. That's for sure.
Going
In the
once,
long run, she would have
going
made more
twice.
money.
Okay, so the motion is going to be considered
People
voted
want to
down.
see
her get
It
naked
was
and
voted
have
down
that
without
butthole
objection.
cracked wide open.
So now
They want to see what happens
we are
when you
going
spit
to
on
move. So
that
if
thing.
anyone would like to make a motion to
They wanted
do
to see how
to
she
select
Hawk
two
2 it.
members for the audit
Yeah.
committee
I'm trying to find
by
the,
roll call by name. So select two names. So we can have the
call
secretary
by
put the
name.
4 names on the screen, and then you can select 2 names when your name is called.
Oh my God.
Mr. Nana.
Yeah, there's a reason why
Yes, I
anybody who
move
came to
for
me
the
asking,
committee
like,
to select the
you
audit
want to be
committee
on the
members
LNC
by
right now?
name,
I'm like,
because
no.
you're picking two
This is
each.
a perfect example of why.
Second.
Okay, guys.
And that was seconded by Ms. Hayes. Okay, so now there is a new motion on the floor. So again, just so everyone understands
Okay,
where we're
I
at while the
found-
secretary's making the ballot.
I
We
found
are
the
doing
chart
this
for Hawk
by
2, by the
roll
way.
call, name, roll
If you
call.
want to see that.
So that means that you will select 2
Damn.
names. You don't have
I
to
wanna
select
see
2. You
Hawk
can
2
select
a
no one.
girl's
You can
butthole
abstain.
cracked wide
But you can
open, man.
select
That's the
up to
only
2
thing I care
names
about
that
with
you
her.
wish to fill the audit committee
I don't want to
vacancies
see that.
out
I
of the
find that
4 that
nasty.
were, or you, I guess, well, no, those were the only nominees. So
Don't even give
it
them
would
to
be
the
from the 4
alien.
nominees.
Aliens
And
don't
again, those
deserve that
nominees
shit.
are,
Our alien friend
it would
don't
be
deserve
Mr.
Why are you talking shit about
We're putting
Ron?
them on right now.
Yeah, I'll get them.
Ron don't need to. I'm not saying
Ron,
Ron's a
alien
good man.
alert.
He don't need
While
to
we
see any of that
were-
shit. You don't need to see the
What's
Hawk
this
2
one?
girl's vag.
It's Mr. Bowen, Mr.
Josh,
John.
man,
I
you
put
gotta
things
have
in
a little bit of
alphabetical order. That's
standard.
just the way I do it. So there's
It just ain't worth
that
it with the
isn't any
Hawk 2.
favoritism. It's just
Crack
alphabetical
baby
order.
ass rude bitch.
Mr. Bowen, Mr. John, Mr. Nebels, Ms. McElroy.
And Mr. Bowen, right? Do we have him first?
Yeah, he's on the first column there.
Okay, so everyone understands what we're voting on and how we're voting? Does anyone not understand what's happening?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I did want to confirm that Kat has said yes to her nomination.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bost. I appreciate it. Excellent. So
That's
when the
not my
secretary's
second
ready,
doll, that's
we
my
will
Ron.
move to a by name vote.
His
Please
sexy
do not
doll's in the other room.
vote for more than 2
Yeah.
people whenever the
Make my
secretary's ready.
steak red.
Okay, so the way I'm going to handle it is, Mr. Boss, I'm going to ask you, each person, but I'm starting with you, which two names, or a name and nota, or an abstention? So, Mr. Boss.
Come on, we just want to see Ford vote.
All right,
No
can
one
you hear me?
cares.
Yes.
I would vote for Kat McElroy and Dan John.
Okay, Mr. Dar.
I would like to vote for Mr. Bowen and Mr. Nebels.
Mr. Dessing.
Nice.
I'll vote for Rich Bowen and Dan John.
Okay.
All right.
Mr. Ford.
What you got, boy? Give a speech.
Bowen and McElroy.
No, come on. You got to tell them why.
Okay, one moment. I didn't have your name underlined. So you said Bowen and McElroy?
Yes.
Mr. Garcia? I'll come back to Mr. Garcia. Ms. Hayes?
Bowen and Neville.
Mr. Lamb?
Rob's going to vote for Bowen
Kat
and McElroy.
McElroy and Dan John.
Mr. McGee?
Mr. Bowen and Mr. Nebels.
Mr. Nana?
Nebels.
Mr. Bowen and Mr. Nebels.
Uh-oh.
Mr. Nikela?
I vote for Mr. Bowen and Mr. Nibbles.
Uh-oh.
Bowen definitely going to win.
Mr. Vincent?
When did Bill Redpath get kicked off this committee?
You can't vote for audit.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I'm a
I
slow
legitimately
learner,
thought you
I
were,
guess.
I
huh?
legitimately thought you were making a joke. That worked out though. That's funny.
Yeah, I kicked myself off too. Mr.
Okay.
Vincent?
Mr. John and Miss McElroy.
No
Mr.
vote?
Watkins?
Why?
Dan John.
Is there a second vote?
Nah.
Oh,
Nice.
You want that second one as nota or just leave it as one vote?
Just one vote is fine.
Okay.
It's going a certain way anyway. Doesn't matter.
Okay. Ms. Anaskavich?
Smart man.
Mr. Bowen and Mr. Nebel, and I believe you spelled his name wrong.
I looked on the application. Oh, is there no S?
There's no,
No
S. Yeah.
Okay.
B-E, and I believe it's B-E-L.
No one gives a shit. We know who we're talking
here.
about.
Right?
Oh my
No
God.
one
I believe
cares.
it's
Move it along.
K-N-E-B-E-L.
Junior.
Correct.
Okay.
EL.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
It'll be correct in the minutes. Everyone knows who everyone is, but I will make sure that is correct in the minutes. Okay, so the vote totals are Mr. Bowen 8 votes, Mr. John 5 votes.
So it's between Bowen and Nebels.
What about Mr. Garcia?
Oh yes,
Mr.
I knew I
Garcia.
was missing something. Mr. Garcia.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Roman.
Awesome. I'll vote for Mr. Bowen and Mr. Neville too.
Of course you will. All right. So top two
Okay.
contenders.
All right. So Mr. Bowen received 9 votes.
We pissed off the
Mr. John
English
received
teacher.
5
That's
votes.
what we did.
Mr. Neville received 7 votes, and Ms. McElroy received 4 votes.
Okay,
Mr.
so we do
Mr.
have,
Nibbles.
I mean, one clearly has the majority, so Mr. Bowen. In regards to Mr. Nebel,
Don't chew on our
7, I believe 8 would be a majority. Is that correct?
No, because the treasurer and the secretary cannot vote.
Oh, that's right. Correct. Okay, so we do have, okay, so we have congratulations to Mr. Bowen and Mr. Nebel for their
There you go,
spots on the
Josh.
audit committee.
Congratulations.
Please, Ms. Yanuskevich, I'm assuming will reach out to you in a timely fashion to apprise you of the situation and get you up to speed and go from there.
Yes,
I think that's
I
what just
will do
happened,
that.
Warfo.
And send
They
them
took
their
the top two.
NDAs.
And send them their NDAs, very important. Thank you, Ms. Yanuskevich. Okay, now we will move on to the next item on the agenda, which I believe is
Point of order, please.
Oh, great.
Mr. Chatterton.
The Region 1 chairs have made an emergency vote to remove Mr. Garcia from his position effective immediately. So I believe that-
Whoa!
I have a point of order,
What?
Mr. Chair.
Madam Secretary.
I did not raise this point of order before because I knew it was going to be cured immediately. The regional chairs do have to follow the regional agreement. I happen to know the regional agreement very well because I wrote it. The regional agreement, which I would be more than happy to put up on the screen, requires for any
man.
vote of the state chairs that it be by email ballot that is open for 3 days. That did not, in fact, happen with Mr. Lamb, but that was certainly going to pass, and I let that slide.
That's
But
the
this
mayor.
latest
They
move
fired the
is
mayor.
completely against the regional bylaws.
No, they
so I raise a
fired
point of order that
Roman.
We do not recognize.
Oh my
this.
God. I don't know what's going on.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I'm familiar with the Region 1
They
agreement
replaced-
as well. Not as well as you
Also,
are.
they kept the mayor.
Came
That
in with,
point of order is not well taken.
Aaron
Mr. Garcia
Lamb
retains his seat.
from Colorado.
You mean it is well taken?
So then
Now
we
they're
got the
Well, it is
removing
well taken,
Roman,
yes.
and they're probably
Mr.
going to look
Chatterton's
to
point was
replace
not
him
well
with like
taken. Yours is well
Hannah or
taken.
like James Wiley
All
or
right,
something.
moving on to the next item on the agenda, which I believe is the chair's vacancy. We will go ahead. This was noticed by
All
Mr.
right,
Nana.
let's go. Main
and
event.
we will go ahead and Mr. Nana, if you'd like to speak to your notice motion
Bronner to the rescue.
before we
Saved
open
his
nominations
ass.
to the floor,
Yeah.
Mr. Nana, you
I know
have the
what you
floor.
meant.
Sure. I'll keep it very brief in the interest of time. Apologies that I'm a little under the weather. So I think we do need to fill the chair's vacancy tonight. There's a lot of important things we need to do as a
Main
board.
event.
And
Main
waiting to fill
event.
the chair's vacancy is not going to be a good look, especially, we were thrust into this situation. Fortunately, none of us want to be where we are right now, but this is the hand we've been dealt. So we need to do the business of the LNC and move forward with it.
Thank you, Mr. Nano. So with that, we will go ahead and open the floor to nominations for Libertarian National Committee Chair. Watkins?
I move to postpone the election of LNC chair and vice chair to a special meeting to be held February 23rd, 2025 at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Another month.
Second.
Jesus.
Okay, let's.
You need to repeat that, please, Mr. Watkins.
Are they going to
Watkins,
decide?
if you
Are they going to decide the chair
or email
tonight?
the secretary the
Drink
text
vet.
better yet.
I could do it on the fly if you just say it.
Get it over
I
with.
move to
That's what I
postpone the
want.
election of LNC chair and vice chair to a special meeting to be held on February 23rd, 2025 at 7 p.m. Eastern Time.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor to postpone the election of I'm sorry, you're doing both right now. So elections of chair and vice chair.
Yeah,
is that
he wants both. Yep.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor to
Which is
postpone
also
the
a Sunday.
elections of the LNC chair and vice chair to a special meeting to be held February 23rd, 2025
We'll be
at
back.
7 p.m. Eastern. Is there a second?
There's 3 seconds.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Lamb. We will now go into debate. So,
Mr. Chair, could you put me last after everyone else? I can't raise my hand when I'm sharing my screen.
yes, ma'am. So we have Mr. Dar and Mr. Nana. Mr. Dar?
Dark.
I would like to point out that it was told to me that by DC law, any nonprofit needs to have a chair. Because of our situation where we do not have a chair or vice chair, this could be very problematic to us going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dar. Mr. Nana?
Sorry, I'm lowering my hand.
Okay. Mr. Bost?
Yes, as previously mentioned, there has been overwhelming response to this issue, and the overwhelming response has been that we need to take our time and open up nominations and go about this deliberately and not rush through in one evening. That has been the overwhelming response from the membership. We owe that to them, particularly in this time where we don't have the leisure of a convention or anything like that. I believe we
Don't care.
I've said it.
Vote now.
Thank you,
Vote
Mr.
now.
Boss.
Vote
Mr. Lamb?
now.
Vote now. Vote now. Vote now.
Yeah.
I thought you wanted to go at Did you?
Oh, no, I meant last after the people
the
who had their hands raised.
Mayor
because I
Robotnik.
Go
couldn't.
out to Heist.
Oh, apologies.
Oh,
So go
hard.
ahead, Madam Secretary, and then we'll go to Mr. Lamb, then Mr. Watkins.
Mayor Robotnik
okay.
would like to speak
I'm
right
going
now.
to reiterate what Mr. Mann
The
said. I
mayor
do believe that's
fucking
correct. That DC law
Robotronville
requires
would
that.
like to speak.
I am going to contradict Mr. Boss. No, we have not had overwhelming emails to that effect. In fact,
trying to blow
there
him up.
has
I
been
can't do
calls
it.
to mass email the LNC. And
They
it
gotta
was
blow him up, bro.
Because I want to.
And it was
Next person, I'm sorry, Madam Secretary, if you could just wait for just a minute. I'm removing whoever Rich Leach is. This is the person who.
You're Rich Leach?
No.
So they are being removed. Give me just a moment.
There he is, Mayor Robotnik.
Okay. Apologies, Madam Secretary. Please continue.
yeah, there certainly there has been organized calls in which people are following directions one way or another. And
No,
that
I
I
ain't
do
Matthew
not believe
McConaughey.
is
Okay.
necessarily the true sentiment of the party. I
He'd
think
make a
Somebody better buy
perfect
Matthew
LNC
what has
McConaughey a
happened
$25
on the
party membership, or he
LNC
ain't getting
email
shit.
list on the past few
There you
days,
go.
particularly the
I
copy
nominate
pasta.
Robert.
Copy pasta,
Don't-
not the
don't
people who are
tempt Ronan,
speaking
he'll
from their
do it.
heart.
I
Has been
object. This is not
Nominate
germane to the
RFK
motion.
Jr.
Mr.
for
Ford.
LNC chair.
Apologies, Madam
Only the
Secretary.
secretary can object?
Mr. Ford. Madam Secretary, I'm sorry, please continue.
Thank you. I think it's been borderline harassment to the LNC. So I believe we are left to our
Lady,
best judgment.
you can't talk about
at
that.
this
Okay,
point.
you can't just go around
I've
accusing
heard
people
from a lot of members
of
who
harassing
have
the
said that we have
LNC.
information that other people may not have, and that they have elected us.
He looks
to
like
do
a human
job.
shih tzu.
As those of you know, I wasn't a fan of the joint fundraising agreement, but we need a chair in place that is going to finish out that agreement. I lost my JC appeal. That's the way it goes. And we cannot afford to wait until the end of February. The LNC cannot afford to continue to be in turmoil. This issue needs to be settled.
I will give that comment the proper reading
there
if
have
it
been
happens.
reports of just some really, really bad behavior surrounding this, and we need to resolve it one way or another. So I urge everyone to vote no, and remind them it requires a 2/3 vote.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Mr. Lamb.
Oh, here we go.
Thank you, Mr. Magalon. I think it's very important to have a very open procedure going forward. Of course, there have been several people that have expressed on social media their interest in filling this role. So I would really prefer to see a public debate between all of those that are interested in
I'm
doing
very
so.
pissed right
I
now.
think it would be a great
You
opportunity.
guys aren't
for
taking me
fundraising
seriously.
and interest for
I'm
the
the
party,
mayor,
maybe
and
a
you should
great
address me
publicity
as such.
opportunity. And I strongly urge this committee
Shut
to
the
consider
fuck up.
voting against any actual appointment this evening and postponing this to a future date. Thank you.
Nobody gives a
Thank you, Mr. Lamb. Mr. Watkins.
Yes, I think making decisions under duress does not make for good decisions.
Under
Yes,
duress.
we do need a chair. However, I
Under
think
duress.
we can wait some time. I don't think we should wait forever, but I think allowing some time for an honest
So just vote
conversation to happen
NODA. You
and
can
allow
always
interested
vote
parties
NODA.
to at least state why they should be
And you can
considered
wipe
for
the
chair and vice
slate
chair.
clean and
That
start
should be allowed. I don't see why that's so controversial. And Ms. Kennedy has explained why the KVF fundraiser, it should still be fine. There should be no hiccups. I believe she's on here and can probably answer any questions that anybody might have.
I told Rob to remind
surrounding
them that they can vote NODA.
We have a
See what he
treasurer.
says.
Like
I don't know
just
where
don't
Rob
see the
stands.
need, a legitimate need to rush
Rob's looking
this.
upset.
I think it would.
I know.
It would
I'm gonna
benefit
send him a
the
message. See what he
party
says.
at large. It would benefit the committee to actually have a conversation about the goal that we set out to do and the vision that we want as a board. And to those that are
could
saying
take off
that,
that dress.
you know, especially Ms. Harlos, to criticize the mass emails, she has been a beneficiary of many mass emails. So I think we should wait and be patient. And I think with patience, a better path will present itself. This is not the right path.
Thank you, Mr. Watkins. Mr. Vinson?
I agree with the sentiments of Mr. Watkins. We did receive an overwhelming amount of emails
wrong.
just for different people for chair. Mainly Michael Heiss, a lot of Justin Amash as well. I saw maybe one Toad consideration in there.
Nice.
So I'm taking into account all of those emails that I received.
I take
over
very
the past few
seriously the
weeks
Toad
because
nomination.
At the end of the day, they
The
hit the
Toad
send button,
nomination's the
copy and
most
paste or
important
whatever.
one.
That's how they felt.
Thank you, Mr. Vinson. Ms. Hayes?
Could somebody give me the DC statute? If you have
You're asking me to...
Madam Secretary and/or Mr. Nana.
I'm sorry.
I'm looking up something else right at the moment.
I'm trying to buy
I
a new
will-
whip.
To me, if you
Wayne's
any-
been
anyone can just text
awfully
me, thank
naughty
you.
lately.
Or post it in the chat. I'd like to take a look at it as well.
So the chat is off. If someone would like to provide Ms. Hayes with a DC statute
Toad
or
be
would like
entered
to raise
into
their
the
hand to
record,
read it,
that's
we will
right.
not have crosstalk during this meeting. Mr. Bost?
And
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I was
Someone's going
mistaken.
to
It is
nominate Toad
majority
at
vote.
that meeting. It's a
Parliamentarian Brown
have to.
texted me to correct me.
Oh, I assumed it. I didn't hear that part. I didn't hear that part. I assumed it would be majority vote, but thank you. Mr. Bost?
Yes, is this my opportunity for second comment on the motion?
Yes, please.
Just to clarify. Yes, I want to politely contradict Ms. Harlos. There was a lot of copy pasta stating preference for a particular person. There were also a lot of specific calls to delay and take our time, both in email, social media, Twitter, wherever you, personal calls to me. There has been a lot of calls to wait and deliberate on this matter amongst the copy pasta for particular individuals. So it is not a mere matter of everybody wants this guy or that guy. There has definitely been a response that we need to take our time and wait. And I think that is pretty clear, actually. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Boss. Mr. Ford?
A serious legal question. I'd like to understand, because I'm not an attorney and I don't pretend to be one either, that...
Yeah, Rob.
Is there a difference in the law?
Yeah,
DC law,
Rob.
as alleged, which requires a chair between
Alleged
the pro tem
attorney.
chair and the chair itself. I would point to normal circumstances where a chair might have to resign under duress. A chair might, God forbid, pass away. For some reason, a chair is removed and the committee is not able to meet for a number of reasons within a period of time. I find it hard to believe, as someone who actually has spent a lot of time around lawyers, but I'm not one, that the DC would come down on someone's inability to instantly appoint a chair. On a secondary note, I'm sure you'll find this dilatory, but I do object to the notion that individuals on this board are projecting behavior on the members. There's a longstanding tradition of caucus-style voting, and I've been the beneficiary and on the wrong side of it. But to insult the members by claiming that somehow, or inferring that they're not under their own control, is insulting, and I think an apology is due. Thank you very much.
That's fair enough.
So, Mr. Ford, I can't speak to a specific DC statute. I can say that Chair Pro Tem in this case is purely ceremonial. I can only, as Chair Pro Tem right now, I can only preside during meetings. There's no such thing as a permanent Chair Pro Tem. That is not something that happens. Usually you have a vice chair that takes the reins. Unfortunately, Mr. Rutherford resigned. I can't cite anything off the top of my head. I am a tech recruiter. I'm a tech recruiter and a philosopher. I'm not an attorney. So,
and then respectfully, I'd ask for some case law where you've got a situation where
pet that puppy. Get out
organization
the
was
peanut butter.
not able to appoint a chair
Give
within a
puppy
certain period of
pet.
time, and that led to any negative results. I would imagine
Best
none
part of the
exists as long as it's
LLC.
reasonable. I don't think a week or 2 weeks
Love
is unreasonable for the election of a chair.
watching
Again,
you
given that
stroke
the normal process
your
takes 6
dog.
months. Thank you.
Thank you for your opinion, Mr. Ford. Mr. Nana?
See if he giggles.
No, last time this nigga didn't respond.
Sorry, wouldn't let me
until like
unmute.
the
I
next
called the
day
question.
when I texted him.
Rob?
Mr. Nana has
Yeah, I was
called the
mad.
question. Is there
No,
any
you don't
Text me
objection?
in the morning.
Point
I was
of order.
I just saw this
To
now.
clarify the motion that was made by
Mr.
Region
Tadadin,
1
please.
chairs.
You're not recognized at this time, Mr.
Yeah,
Tadadin.
shut
You
the
are an
fuck
alternate.
up.
That's a point of order,
You're
and the rep has been
Mr.
removed.
Tadadin, I will continue to mute you, and I don't want to remove you from this room, but you have no voting rights here. Please
So
stop.
shut
Come
the
to order.
fuck up.
Now, okay, so
Good
is
job,
there any
Adrian.
objection to calling the question? I believe I heard an objection.
Correct.
And I would like to offer a clarification, Mr. Malagon, with Chair Pro Tem Malagon, pardon me. I tried to find it in the DC law. It was told to me. I cannot find it in the DC law. I believe there are other reasons, but I just wanted to clarify for the board that I'm looking for that and can't find it. So if anyone else can find it, that's wonderful.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Okay, so there's an objection to calling the question, so we will move to a vote on calling the question for this topic.
He's stroking
Okay,
his beard. We got to drink.
Give me
again.
one moment.
God
I
damn
need
it.
to create a ballot. Mr. Bust.
Show us the ballot.
Could you share the?
Yeah.
So sorry.
Yeah. Show us.
Yeah,
Free the
show
nip.
us
Again,
the ballot,
we are now
Aaron
voting on calling the
Ann.
question for debate. So ending debate on
Paradise
this
been
topic.
digging
That's
in
where we're
too
at.
deep.
Not on the
Fucking with the
motion.
brain.
We got accustomed to being able to count the vote as it
Calling
happened.
the question.
No calling
One
the
moment.
question.
Just because each time someone joins the room, it freezes my screen.
Wait, this
Mr.
is
Dar?
just to call the question on the motion. So this is not
Yes.
even the motion. God damn
Mr.
it.
Dassin?
No.
What? You want to debate more?
Mr. Ford?
Yes. Or no, filibuster 4 are going to want to vote.
This isn't going to work out the way
Mr.
she wants
Ford.
it to. I don't think she has her formula set up for this.
No.
No.
Mr. Garcia?
Yes.
I will
Maybe.
vote yes. And I don't know why it's turning them into yeses. Okay. Ms. Hayes,
I'm going to cede the rest of my votes this meeting to Mr. Malagon.
Mr. Malagon.
The chair will vote last.
Okay.
Point of order, Mr. Magalon.
It's Malagon and yes, Mr. Lamb.
I apologize. I was
It's
informed
doctor.
that the ballot to remove Mr. Roman has been open since January 30th at 12:45 Eastern, which makes it more than 3 days.
Yeah, get rid of that.
I'm not aware of something. I'm not aware of that. I can't speak to Region 1. That's not my understanding.
We have
Mr.
to
Garcia,
pause. We
before
have to deal with
not
this
3 days.
right now.
Madam Secretary. So one, I was going to say that's not 3 days yet. It would be at the close of today, I believe.
The
But
best
Mr.
part.
Garcia,
Ooh,
would
we're
you
getting
care to
on
weigh in on this,
technicalities
since
now.
you
There
are the
we
Region
go.
1 representative in question?
All right, he's brushing his beard. He's not really stroking it. I'm trying to pay
The
attention.
mayor has spoken.
Very well. So we will
Mayor of
proceed.
the mall.
Madam Secretary, please.
Mr. Lamb.
Why does
Oh, did you guys
Colorado
see his stroke? I'm sorry.
Mr. McGee.
Yes.
One of these other streams have it.
Mr.
open.
Nana.
Yes.
I'm just trying to find why,
Mr. Nicola?
figure out why
Yes.
Colorado produces so many low T
Mr.
soy
Redpath?
boys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr.
Like,
Benson.
how old are these people?
No.
All bald,
Mr.
patchy
Watkins.
beards,
No.
Ms.
looking real
Yanuskavich.
lonely in their lives.
Yes.
Mr. Let me look at the votes.
It doesn't seem
Um,
right. You need to change
Mr.
it.
Malagon, your vote will not matter.
I need to change
is
it?
Five,
No, 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 no,
five
no.
yes, 6 no.
No, she has to
No,
change it. Her
it was
formula's
the-
wrong.
That's wrong.
Your
Oh,
formula
because the
sucks.
Because
Your
formula's retarded, Karen Ann.
Okay.
2, 3. Oh, yeah, because it turned. I have some formatting issues.
Stop
One
making
second.
excuses
I
and fix
apologize.
it.
1, 2,
Fix it,
3,
bitch.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8 yeses at the moment. And
now it's fucked up
6
for
no's.
future.
It
You
still
don't know
will
what
not-
you're
you still will
doing.
not make a difference. 2/3
God damn it.
means
She's going to
That's fine. The
duplicate
chair will
that later,
vote
and it's
aye.
going to be a problem.
And the motion fails.
I don't know why it's not
We're
auto
still
action, but-
debating,
So what we'll
pussies.
do
That
is,
don't look like
everyone that's
2/3
spoken, so I
either
guess
way.
we're still open on
Let's
debate
keep it
on
moving.
this,
Let more
on this
debate.
topic. And
Here.
again, the
why does it
topic
fail?
is the motion on the floor.
Because
question
calling
was
the
yes.
question
to
requires
postpone
2/3 of the voting
appointment of
members.
chair and vice chair
Okay,
until
That
I believe
ain't
February
2/3, big sexy. That is
23rd
definitely not
at
2/3.
7
right.
p.m.
Yeah, you're right.
Eastern
You're
time.
right.
So if you've already
Hi, I'm
spoken
the
twice,
Swamp's
you're out of luck.
resident runner
I don't know why
expert.
I'm doing a thumbs up.
That's
Zoom's
right.
fun that way.
For
I'm doing a
fuck's
thumbs up.
sake.
Exactly.
Yeah, sorry, Sunquack.
Anyone
gonna
else
keep it-
wish to speak
We're
on
going to
this
have
topic?
to hear
Mr.
another
Nana?
filibuster
I
from
have a
Ford, and
point of
Mayor Lamb is
Get
going
it, bro.
to
Sure.
Wouldn't it just take a
pronunciate
majority
his
to call the
decrees
question?
on the
Wow.
city
No,
of
it's 2/3.
Townville.
Is it 2/3? All right.
Yeah.
Get kicked out for a few weeks and your formula's
Really,
all
no one
done
else
shit.
has anything to say?
Right.
And we're Mr. Watkins. Did you speak twice? I think this.
No.
Your
I
second
raised
time.
my hand, but I didn't.
He's like, no, fuck
Sure.
you. I'm
So
speaking
this will be your
again.
second
Either
time. Go
way.
ahead, Mr. Watkins.
Yes. Again, I just see no legitimate reason to have to push this through tonight. I mean, we don't even
There you go.
know.
You just
We
wanted
know
an
there
option
are
to say
declared
that again.
candidates.
Like, just
I'm
vote on
sure
it.
y'all have your own.
I get the
and
feeling
will
that they're
be
going to
revealed
push this
probably
vote, that it's
shortly.
not going to happen tonight.
I think it is
They are.
unfair and does a
So why are we
disservice to the
delaying?
members and to the rest of the board who would prefer
You only
to
delay when you feel like
have
you're not winning.
an actual discussion
They
about
don't feel
strategy
like
because
they're
I've
winning.
heard none.
Isn't
They
that
should.
crazy?
They're gonna
adopted a
win.
strategy, and we need a plan to execute that. And there has been at least one
I just
candidate
want us
that
to
has
drink more. That's what it
laid
is.
out plainly how they intend to do that. Whether they fail at that or not, that would remain to be seen.
I'm posting in the
But
chat.
just to put somebody in like this, I think it's wrong, and it will not set whoever the incoming chair is up for success.
they get rid of chat?
There will be more animosity, and that wouldn't even be fair to them. I think it should be considered, and whoever is interested in that role should take that
I don't
into
see a
account
chat.
and
Did they get rid of it?
advocate for at least an open and honest discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Watkins. I'm going to skip Mr. Ford because Ms. Yanuskavich has not yet spoken on this topic, and then I'll jump to Mr. Nicola, and then we'll circle back to Mr. Ford, Madam Secretary, and then Mr. Dassing. Oh, I don't think Mr. Dassing has spoken either, so we'll do Ms. Yanuskavich, then we'll do Mr. Dassing, then Mr. Nicola, and then we'll circle back around. So, Ms. Yanuskavich?
I do have a concern that is operational. I would prefer not to talk about it publicly. I don't know if there is any appetite to go into executive session. If y'all don't want to and want us to share dirty laundry in public, then I can.
She's got nudes.
Understood. So I didn't hear a motion, so we'll continue on. So we'll do Mr. Dassing, then Mr. Nikela, and then we'll circle back around. Mr. Dassing.
So I just sent it to Meredith, but it's about DC law, and one of my chairs sent it to me saying that DC law does not appear to require a standing chair for nonprofits, and I sent the code over to Meredith.
Thank you, Mr. Dassing, and that's Ms. Hayes for the sake of decorum. Mr. Nikela?
Thank you, Mr. Malagon. I guess I'm just profoundly confused why we would want to move this 2 weeks if it's clear that Mr. Heiss is running and he may be nominated tonight. And if the board has an appetite for Mr. Heiss, he could be elected as new LNC chair. So I just don't understand the need to move 2 weeks. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. So I'm not supporting this move.
Actually, 3 weeks.
Mr. Nikela. Yeah, it'd be closer to 3 weeks, I was going to say. We'll do Mr. Ford, Madam Sec, and then Mr. Lamb. Mr. Ford?
Yeah. Do we have a definitive opinion, legal opinion, on whether or not the law that is allegedly supporting this motion
We only need one more Angela Troll
is
before we
real?
vote.
That I would think would be fairly critical given the emphasis a number of members of this body have on the law.
There is no hard line rule.
I think before we even move
You just
anywhere,
do
and then I will
pro-tems
motion to
forever.
move into executive session
There is not.
if that's appropriate, of course, right now, to discuss Ms. Inaskavich's concerns.
Does Zoom allow you to go
Can you wait
into
to make that
executive
motion
session
until
without
after
booting everyone?
Absolutely. But I would love at the mercy of the court here,
Josh, do you
I would
know?
love a definitive explanation
I
as
couldn't
to
hear.
whether or not
me
DC
turn
law
him
actually
down.
says that. And if it doesn't,
When you go into an
why is it
executive
introduced into a
session on
meeting as
Zoom, does it
if
allow
that
you
was
to
the
do that without booting out 200
Mr.
people?
Ford. I can't speak
Or
to
do you have to
that,
boot
and
everyone
I doubt
out?
that any lawyer on this
No,
call
what they
would
do is they create a
answer
breakout
legal
room
question.
within
They're
the Zoom,
lawyers and
and
they
then
don't
they all
answer
enter the
questions without
breakout
getting
room
paid
and they
and having
leave the
attorney-client
actual
privilege.
meeting
Just
like
say they
So we all
attached
just
to
sit in
somebody.
limbo.
But
Yeah, so they might hand it over to
that is
like
not my call to make. Mr. Ford, please come
a
to order.
state
Madam
chair or
Secretary.
somebody
We're
they're
turning our
familiar with
mics
that they
on.
know they
Somebody
can
did
trust.
send me the statute. I
That's
did
why I
not
was
claim
saying if
to
they
be
go
an
into
attorney,
EC like executive session, there's a
but
chance they
it
could hand me
says
the
that at
the
a
key
minimum,
the
a
keys like they've
nonprofit
done several
corporation shall
times in the
have two
past for
separate
meetings when they go
officers,
into executive
one
session.
responsible for the management of the
Yeah, I
corporation,
didn't
I'm
which
realize
may
still
that was
be
the
considered
room.
referred to
trustworthy
as
to
the
a lot of people in
president,
the party.
or by any
Let's
other term
go.
used in its articles of
It's going to be
incorporation
wild.
or
We're going to
bylaws.
abuse
And
it.
in
I'm
which our
sorry.
case, it's the
Oh,
chair, and
absolutely. If we get that
another
opportunity, we
who
have
is
to abuse
referred
it.
to as the treasurer. So
We're just going to let everybody
as to
unmute.
time
Like,
periods,
let's go.
case law, no one's going to get into
All
that.
right,
It
now
is
should
in fact a DC law.
you're just gonna pop
You
up.
interpret
So
it
this
as you
isn't
will,
Josh,
as a layperson,
but the
as I
swamp
am
is
in
in
fact a
session.
layperson. But
We
I will
believe
get
the
to
conflict
Mr.
makes
Ford's
us stronger.
characterization that
You
that
were
was
all
the
about to
only
be
reason.
unmuted.
I mentioned
Fight.
it in passing
Yeah.
and stated that I
In
wasn't
the
even
spirit
sure
of our
until someone
newly
sent it to me.
appointed
And as a
libertarian
non-lawyer, I
member.
will not give a
Fight,
legal
fight,
opinion,
fight.
but there was a whole lot more piece of the party. And when we're seeing these, all of a
Is
sudden,
that a bearded
removals of
lady in the top
regionals,
middle?
and whether anyone likes it or not, if we're going to talk about
That's
Twitter
Mayor
chatter, there's
Bearded
been a
Lady
lot
to
of
you.
That's
Twitter
Mayor
chatter
Bearded Lady to
of,
you there, Rico.
Let's keep
you
it
know,
German, Madam Sec.
okay, all right. I will do so. I think everyone
Shit.
knows what I'm referring to. So I believe it's in the best interest of the peace of this party that we need to move forward and come together under somebody,
we will all
whoever
come.
it is. When nominations are opened up for chair, if the nominees are in this room, I am sure they will give their vision. I don't expect it to go directly to a vote, that there will be speeches and perhaps questions and answers. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. So that was your second time, Mr. Lamb, for your second time.
Yes, certainly. I would just like to address Mr. Nikela's comment that we are
From
in
one
any
bald
way
man
going
to
to be
another.
nominating
Have you
Mr.
tried
Heiss
Rogaine?
this evening as our chair. I have no intention of doing so, quite frankly. I have seen on social media that he is interested. Of course, our outgoing chair has given
Mitch?
her
I'm laughing because Stephen knows
ascension.
Neil
What
Strauss.
you're looking for.
At
Yes,
the
thank you
beginning
very
of
much.
Neil Strauss's
But
book,
I also
The Game,
do
one of
think
the
that there are a
first
lot of
things that
very good
happens
reasons
is he
why
goes
Mr.
bald
Justin Amash
because
would make a great chair.
bald is a choice.
So I will just
balding is
reiterate
a
that I think
choice.
it would be excellent for the state of our party, for the health of our party, financially and otherwise, to have
Even
a
the
robust,
Dina
robust
VLP.
and open debate. And
Mhm.
I would love to see
That
that,
bald spot hurts,
and
but
then
we're-
we
he's
can
just
move forward from
hanging
there. So
on
that
for
is
dear
the
life.
only reason that
Just
I'm
give it up,
of
bro.
the opinion that we
Shave
should
it.
remove
If you
this
can't fix
discussion
it,
from
shave
the
it.
current state and push it to the next meeting. Thank you very much.
Embrace
Thank you, Mr.
bald.
Lamb. Mr. Dar?
Be like more like
And
Eggman.
just to clarify, I did bring up the law earlier and was quickly trying to re-look
The
up
background
the tab
replacement
there
is
to-
not
to
working
share
around
the
his head.
information about the law because it was sent to me by
I can see your
various
door,
individuals
sir.
with concerns. I am not a lawyer, so that was just my interpretation
Right.
based on what I was told and my particular concern on the issue there. So I'm not a lawyer. I can be proven wrong by somebody else,
can
but
be
that is
proven
just
wrong.
what the interpretation I, a layman, read into that also.
I'm having too many
All right.
drinks for this shit.
Mr. Watkins, you've already
Sorry.
exhausted your second time, so if there's no one else, I believe debate has ended on this topic.
Let's go.
Okay, so we will go ahead and move to a roll call vote on the motion on the floor.
Okay, one moment. I need to reshare my screen. I keep unsharing it because I can't raise my hand when I'm sharing.
I think the rule
Okay.
is that a secretary must call for a vote in the
So
meeting and
this
select
is
a pro tem
on-
chair to
I
do
believe it was
so
Mr.
like they
Watkins'
did tonight.
motion to suspend
So they're doing what they're
until
supposed to do?
February 23rd at 7. I have the text.
Chair and
right-
vice chairs, right? Yes, so that would be, yes, that would be the text right there.
Okay, let me just copy it into the ballot so that nobody is confused.
Mr. Watkins, are you content with the motion
I'm
language?
so confused.
Give me
As-
1 second. Postpone elections.
Okay, so the motion is to postpone the
Yes.
vote.
Okay. And it was seconded, I believe it was Mr. Lamb, and we'll go ahead and move to a roll call vote whenever the secretary is ready.
Yeah, just 1 second. I'm removing.
Mr. Watkins. All right, let's go.
Another point of order. Region 1 has had an email ballot since January 27th.
We are not recognizing
Yeah,
alternates at this time.
fuck you.
Fuck you, Mayor.
Point of order.
Oh, god damn it.
You've been pointed.
Yeah, I'm sorry, who was that, Mr. Bost?
Point of order, Mr. Bost.
Mr. Bost?
I would like to hear Mr. Chatterton's information.
That makes one of us. We're on a vote right now. We'll go ahead and
My nigga Adrian, that makes one of us. Fuck
Yeah,
out of here.
yeah.
Let's go.
No.
Mr. Dassing?
Oh, that was good, dude. That
That
was
was
so good.
fucking brilliant.
That was funny. That was great.
Yes.
Mr. Garcia?
If this is decided by one vote, that's going to get called into
I will
question
vote
so
no.
fast.
Ms. Hayes, Ms. Hayes, are you voting or is it Ms.
That was good, though.
Malagon, you
time, so we'll
fucking
go.
I'll pass you.
I
pink-haired
see for the
retard.
remainder. I'm
Okay.
not interested in this anymore.
Mr. Lamb?
Oh,
I'm not interested in this
wow.
anymore.
Yes.
Oh, wow. It's
I
not
love
an
you,
airport.
Meredith.
You don't need to explain.
I love you.
Mr.
You
McGee?
don't need to announce your
No.
exit.
Mr. Nana?
No.
Oh, my God.
Mr. Nikela?
Oh, my God. Oh, my
Mr.
God.
Redpath?
No.
Let's go. Are we going to get a vote?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Ms. Yanuskavich?
Uh-oh.
No.
Going back to,
Uh-oh.
did Mr. Garcia pass?
Yes. I vote yes.
Ah!
Mr. Malagon? It's a tie vote,
The chair will vote nay. The motion fails.
and it's just not
Oh.
updating down at the bottom. I don't know
We're
why.
picking tonight.
Oh yeah, it is. Okay, it's correct. Alrighty, thank you.
Yeah, the motion fails 8 to...
Wow.
Wow,
Is it
that's
8 no's,
crazy.
7 yeses.
I really didn't think that was
okay.
going to happen.
8 no, 7 yeses, the motion
Okay,
fails.
well, let's go.
All
I'm
right,
drinking.
so we'll go ahead and move on to where we were at before. That would be, I am going to go ahead and open the floor to nominations for Libertarian National Committee Chair.
Woo!
Mr.
Nominate.
Nana.
I've already endorsed Ben
I would
Weir
like to
on
nominate
behalf
Mr.
of the swamp.
Nikela for chair.
Okay, Mr. Nikela has been nominated.
That's what I told
Mr.
David
Vincent?
fighting Ben Weir. I mean, you can say whatever you want.
I'd like
That's
to
what I told
nominate
them.
Michael Heiss for chair.
Oh,
Mr.
Vincent!
Vincent has nominated
Wow,
Michael Heiss chair.
Rob
Hell,
nominated.
Mr.
Our
Nikela,
hearts
do you
out
accept
for
your nomination?
If the committee wishes to have me as chair, I gladly accept.
Oh, fuck you. Of course you do.
Thank you, Mr. Nikela. Would you care
And I
to
would
speak
say
to
let's
your
do his
nomination? We'll do
I
up to
love
5
Steven,
minutes.
but fuck you. Of course you
Certainly,
do.
thank you, Mr. Malagon.
He constantly
Esteemed
says
colleagues,
he's done
members of the
show.
LNC, and
He's
party
not a
members,
bad chair.
I present
He's just-
myself
Yeah, let
before
me
you
go-
as a
let me go
dedicated
pee real quick so I
libertarian,
can hear
an
Heist talk.
entrepreneur, and a fervent advocate for the principles that unite us.
Oh.
My journey with the Libertarian Party began in 2014, and over the
Yeah,
past
Ben's a
decade,
real one.
I've had the honor of serving in various capacities.
He already
From
wrote
region
a
representative
speech.
and treasurer to chair of the Libertarian
Damn
Party
it.
of Florida. Currently, I serve as an at-large representative on the Libertarian National Committee. I have seen firsthand the challenges and triumphs that our party and the sport has faced. Our commitment to individual freedom, limited government, and personal
I
responsibility
guess that
has
means
never
the
wavered.
MC has
Yet,
lost
to
their
effect
board
meaningful
majority
change,
control.
we must strengthen
No,
our
because they're
foundation.
trying to push through
To
Heist
that
right
end,
now.
I am dedicated
Right,
to
Mitch? Am I
increasing
wrong?
fundraising.
Hang on,
Financial resources are the lifeblood of any
Huh?
movement.
We're gonna
As a
see.
business owner managing multiple
see.
enterprises,
Hold on.
including Wendy's and Dairy Queen franchises, and a full-service
So
restaurant,
you don't know
I
if
have
they
honed the
lost their
skills
majority or
necessary
not?
to generate revenue and maintain
honestly,
financial
you know,
sustainability.
we'll see. We'll see.
Additionally, my role with the Chamber
I
of
think
Commerce has given me
that the
firsthand
Mises
experience
Caucus
in building
thinks they have the
relationships with
control
business
right
leaders,
now to push Heist through.
seeking sponsorships, and securing funding for important initiatives.
I didn't say they
I will
do. I
apply
said
that
they
same
think they do.
expertise to expand our party's
think.
fundraising efforts, attract major donors, and ensure that the
You're
Libertarian
pissing me
Party
off.
is financially equipped to
We'll see.
compete.
We'll see.
Expanding membership.
Okay.
Our strength lies in our numbers.
You prefer
By
Nikayla to
fostering a
Heist?
welcoming environment and actively
That does not
engaging with
surprise me.
communities across the nation, we can grow
I
our
think
membership
Barfo
base.
prefers
My
Hitler
experience
to
in
Heist.
community engagement, business leadership, and political
Hey, our hearts go
advocacy
out to
has
Heist.
equipped me with the skills to connect with individuals from diverse backgrounds, including entrepreneurs,
Who would you
working-class
rather
Americans, and
Heist
professionals
be?
who are looking for a
Yeah,
principled
Mr. This is a
alternative to the
Wendy's.
status quo.
He owns the
Electing
Wendy's. Okay,
libertarians.
he can
To
say
bring
what
about
he
the change
wants.
we envision, we must have libertarians in positions of influence.
What I miss.
I have firsthand experience as a
Ronan
candidate
is
having
saying,
run
"Sir,
for office
this is
in
a
Key West
Wendy's."
District
He
4.
doesn't know that
That
Nikayla owns
experience,
the Wendy's.
combined with my
But
work on the
also-
Chamber of Commerce board, has given me direct
Sir, he
insight
knows
into
all
the
about
challenges
the
of
Wendy's.
campaigning,
Yeah, he
navigating
owns it.
policy discussions,
And
But
how to
Barfo-
run a coup. It's a fucking coup.
Let's go!
I apologize, Mr.
Let's
Nikhil.
go,
We're
it's a
moving
fucking
on down from
coup!
this meeting.
Please do. Fuck you, Mr. Malagon.
It's always nice to have a fan. Mr. Nikhila, my sincerest apologies. Please do continue.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. And young professionals who are looking for a principled
All right,
alternative to the status quo.
Barfo, my serious question to you. Let me
where was
turn
I?
this down so you can hear me.
Oh, no, I skipped one.
Mr. Barfo, my serious question to
That
you.
experience combined with
Who
my
would
work
you
on
prefer
the
to
Chamber
be
of Commerce
chair
board has given me
over
direct
Heist?
insight into the challenges
You
of
say
campaigning,
everybody but Heist.
navigating political
Who would
discussions,
you
and
like
engaging with voters.
in preference
As
to
chairman of
Heist?
the Libertarian
You're not
Party
going to
of
get an
Florida,
answer.
I helped
Mr.
support dozens of
Malagon?
candidates for office, ensuring they had the necessary resources, guidance, and support to run effective campaigns.
We'll
I
see.
understand what it
See what
takes
he
to win
says.
elections, and I'll use that knowledge to ensure our candidates have the resources,
He said,
messaging, and
"Fuck you."
strategic
No,
support
fuck you.
necessary
No,
to
fuck
succeed
you.
and govern effectively. Our goal is to field 500 libertarian candidates across the country,
Austin Martin is what
providing
it
them
said.
with the tools
That's
and
who that
backing
was.
they need to
That
make a
was
real
funny, though.
impact at the local, state, and national levels. Collaborating with staff. A cohesive relationship between leadership and staff is crucial for our success. I pledge to work
nigga said,
closely with our
"ChatGPT,
dedicated team,
how do I become
ensuring
chair?"
open
Say
communication,
this.
mutual respect, and a shared vision for the future. We must operate as a professional and well-oiled machine,
Chair of
one that is
Hawaii? I don't know.
organized, strategic, and
Probably.
results-driven.
It was Austin
Our
Martin.
journey
or
is not
whatever.
without
He's
challenges,
been on.
but together we can surmount
I don't think he's been on
them.
our
With
show
unwavering
before, but we've
dedication,
definitely seen him
strategic
before.
planning, and a united
He
front,
was at the last
we
meeting.
can propel the Libertarian Party to new heights.
Austin
As
Martin.
someone who has spent years building businesses, raising funds, expanding organizations, and fighting for liberty, I'm uniquely prepared to lead this party into this next era of success. I humbly ask for your support in my bid for chairman of the Libertarian National Committee. Together, let's make liberty not just an ideal, but a reality for all. Thank you.
You're a liar. It's not going to happen.
Thank you, Mr.
Next.
Nikhila. Before we move on to Mr. Heiss, I would like to just
Heiss,
ask
Heiss,
one
Heiss,
final
Heiss.
time if there are any other nominations for Libertarian National Committee chair before I close them.
Nikhil's always in the running. Okay.
Going once, going twice.
Not Malagon. Well, answer my question.
No takers. Okay. Mr. Heiss,
You
are
would
you on the
prefer
spot?
Heist over
I have
Nikhila?
my hand raised. I
I
apologize.
had my hand raised as well.
Okay.
That's
let's
kinda
put
crazy.
Mr. Watkins.
I moved to extend time by 30 minutes, and then after Mr. Heiss gives a 5-minute speech,
Okay.
that the nominees be allowed to
Hold on. So I'm going to
do Q&A.
I'm going to stop you right there.
Q&A.
Procedurally,
Okay.
this is my plan as of right now, just based on having two nominees, and I'm sure that everyone has questions and things that they want to do. As soon as Mr. Heiss accepts his nomination
He's having
and
Josh
gives
errors right now. He
you
can't
know, a
rotate his
5-minute
phone.
speaks
He
to his
doesn't know how.
nomination, what I would like to do is I will move to I'm going to move to recess to the call of the chair for procedural reasons. Otherwise, everything has to go through the chair. It's going to be a whole thing. So I'm going to move to recess for procedural reasons to allow us to do a Q&A with the candidates. It will just be the LNC. The recording will continue.
Why would
Nothing
Heist
will
put his
change. No one's
name in
going
the
to the
ring right
bathroom.
now?
No one's doing
It
anything.
seems like a very
and then
big
we're going to do
mistake.
30 minutes each, if need be, or however long it takes, so that all the LNC's questions are answered. And then we will come back to order, and then we will move to a vote. Otherwise, it's going to be a procedural nightmare. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Okay. Does that assuage your concerns?
Yes, but I would also like to nominate Justin Amash.
Well, nominations are closed now.
Is
Oh,
Amash
gotcha.
in the
All
room
right.
right now?
Okay, so
That's what I wanna
Mr.
know.
Heist, are you on this call?
Oh, hell no.
If he's going to be nominated, he better be here.
Okay, Mr. Heist, do you accept
I
your
don't see
nomination for Libertarian National Committee Chair?
All right.
I do.
Okay, you have up to 5 minutes to speak to that nomination. Go ahead, you have the floor.
Okay, I want to start off first by saying thank you and express my gratitude to Angela McArdle, who led this party to the biggest federal victories that we've ever had, led to the freeing of Ross Ulbricht.
Why would he
and
subject
proving the
himself to
concept
this?
that this
He's gonna
party
lose.
really can be effective for liberty in real life at the national level when nobody else has been able to do that in the entire party's history. And she did it on a 2-year time frame with a vision that was completely her own and built from scratch. So Angela, we
Michaela,
love you.
apparently,
Thank you.
Barco.
We are grateful and we're happy to have you in the halls of power, extending that influence for liberty in real life.
I don't know if
and
it's
I
just
also want to
between
add
these
that
two, but
I did
nominations
not
are
want
open.
to seek a nomination tonight. I did want to have a process of going around to the region, speaking with people, as I have already done for the Project Decentralized Revolution strategy, and was hoping to have an open process with the members. But I guess this is the best that I'm going to get. So what I will say is that while these guys have been on the board talking about how they're going to do the fundraising and how they're going to do elections and how they're going to do legislative stuff, I've been building it. They have passed my vision, but in a unanimous vote called Project Decentralized Revolution, focusing on local level elections, focusing on issue coalitions. I have plans for all manner of strategies that are just as detailed. And I know many of you have seen those presentations because while this board sits on the national committee, they don't really come around to the states. And I have come around to most of the states and opened up a dialogue about how
said,
national
"Excuse me,
and
bitch."
state can work
Her head
together
shot up so
toward
quick.
our electoral success and our legislative success. I have developed in detail, in the same detail as Project Decentralized Revolution, aspects of our communication strategy, aspects of our data strategy, of our fundraising strategy, our legislative strategy.
He can speak from the heart.
Our election strategy.
Like Michaela read
and
from
that
a
is
script.
why
And
I
it was
have been
very
working
clear.
with staff, and working with staff has been
speaking
an
right
absolute eye opener
This
for
is just
me
how
in
he
this party.
talks.
Because while everyone
Basically what
sees
every
all of
phone
this
call I have
ugliness
with
that
him
you're
is
seeing
like.
tonight
Yeah.
on this board, the wins that happen
There's something
all the
about
time with
that,
our staff
like,
are not
it's just
reported
in
on.
him. I don't know.
You know, we barely see the LNC.
talk a
People
lot of
like
shit
when
about
you
it.
just speak from
And
the heart, bro. Like
yeah,
they
so
like
when
people
you're
who
looking
don't
at
seem
the
scripted
board
and fake.
and you see all of this
Like for
ugliness
all
and all
the
of this
like
fighting and all of this hostility and all of this
criticism that
bickering
Heist
and
gets,
not a
nobody ever
focus
makes
on
him
the
out to
things
be a
that we
fake fuck.
need to share to move together, that is happening
honest
every
to God,
single day
dude,
in the
there's a
staff
lot
and
of
it's not
people I know
reported
who
on.
talk
And
shit
I
online that
promise
once they
to work
actually
with
sit
that
down
staff
and
to make
talk
sure
with
those
them, they end
wins
up hitting it off.
are
No,
There's
I've always
probably
said
a
more
good
loudly
60-40
and focused on
chance
because
that
that's what we
Barfo
need
would
to
hit
be
it
doing
off
to
with him.
white people to further engage
I
in our party.
guarantee it.
Yeah, I do
We
too.
don't have enough
Like,
good
it's-
news.
that's the
for
funny
us
He's
to
too
be able to do it.
personable. He's
And
too
so we have to
personable.
have
I know,
good
like the
news
thing is, if
based
they
on
were
a
to hang
sound
out at like one of
strategy
the after
that
parties, they'd
can
hit it
actually
off.
win and comport with political reality if
All
we're
right,
going to
Barfo in
do
Grand
anything with the party
Rapids with
such
Michael
as
Heist,
Angela
featured
McArdle.
on SwampCast.
So I will be happy to
We'll
answer
see
your
it.
questions. If I am nominated tonight, I promise you I will before
You're already
fully
nominated.
assuming the role and fully forming the duties to get around to all of you, to all of the regions, and answering your questions directly as I already have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Heiss. Right on time. Mr. Dart.
Just really quick, as a
Malcolm
point of
was
order,
ready
at
to
the
cut
beginning
him
of this
off.
meeting, I followed up with Justin Amash. I'd been speaking to him earlier, and he declined, saying if he looks forward to supporting our efforts and contributing to the party if it could be
Amash
in any way he can.
declined.
Justin
That's
Amash
just
doing
what? That we're interested
nothing
in that, so.
again.
Thank you, Mr. Dar.
The most
Okay,
useless man
so
in
what I'd like to do
politics.
now is I'm going to go ahead and move to
Karen's
recess
hand
at the
is
call of the
raised.
chair for procedural reasons to allow us to do a Q&A with the candidates and the LNC.
Karen has her hand raised.
Is there a second for that?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Lamb. Okay, before we, I guess, go to, I'm going to ask for without objection. I assume that there won't be, but Ms. Harlos, before we do that, do you have
I just didn't know if there was, we could talk, tell me if we just need to talk about this later. Is there going to be any kind of time limits, any kind of LNC members are allowed a certain number of questions, just to ensure fair distribution?
2 questions
Right,
per
of course.
member.
No, great question. So I'll address that as soon as we recess. Okay.
Are we going into
I'm going to go
executive
ahead,
session?
and so I've made the
No,
motion. It was seconded by
recess.
Mr. Lamb. Is there any objection to recessing at the call of the chair to allow the candidates to do a Q&A with the LNC? The recording will still be on. We will all still be here.
Okay. Okay.
Just to be clear to everybody.
I was gonna say, are we fucking turning this
any
off?
objection to
Like
that?
the fuck?
I have one additional question. I am so sorry, Mr. Malagon. Was there a time limit on this?
So we're going to do my plan, and we can, I was going to do, this is, I'll just say my plan before there, in case there's an objection, we can just sort this out now. My plan is to do half an hour for each candidate, where it will be, it'll be in the order in which they were nominated.
That's
So we'll start with Mr.
crazy.
Nicola, then we'll move on to Mr.
half
Heiss.
hour
Mr.
Q&A
Nicola, we can do up to
each?
30. I'm okay
Oh,
with, I'm on
fuck,
Pacific
man.
Coast time, people, so
Wow.
I'm good. It's
What
only
do you need to
5:45
ask
here.
these
I
niggas
can
you
go all
don't
night.
already know?
So we will start with Mr. Nicola.
Like,
I was thinking about
there's
half an hour
literally-
per candidate. We can extend it if need be, depending on the questions.
Extend
I will
it if
not
need
limit the
be? What do you need to
LNC's
ask?
questions. I would
Fuck you
ask that
people.
you be cognizant of people's time and that you ask like really specific, pertinent questions. But I think that it should be. I think we're going to do one.
Sucks.
Well, let's do. I don't want to limit each LNC member to one question at the first round. So we'll do. We're just going to play this by ear. So whoever the first person that wants to ask Mr. Nicola a question, you can ask a couple. Because what'll probably happen is if you might ask a question that someone else was already going to ask, so it gives them the opportunity to think of another question, and that way we get the most out of the most bang for our buck here. So I think that we should kind of play it by ear. I was thinking about half an hour should suffice for each candidate. If we need to extend it a little bit more because there are just a lot of questions from Mr. Nicola, we will extend that amount of time to the other candidate. Whether they take up all of the time or not is up to the LNC. But that's how I was planning on doing this. Okay, so is there any objection to recessing at the call of the chair to allow us to do a question and answer session with the candidates and the LNC? Hearing none, we are recessed at 8:46 p.m. Eastern Time at the call of the chair. LNC members, please raise your hands if you have questions for, first it will be Mr. Nicola, and this is just for LNC members.
Need to send Rob questions.
So please raise your hand. I will
What do you
still
wanna
moderate
ask?
and I will call upon you. We are not technically in session, but we will maintain order.
When did you
And
know that you were
members
gay?
of the public that disrupt or say anything just like we had earlier will be
When's
removed
the
from
last
this
time
room
you beat your
and will
wife?
not be allowed back in. Is that understood?
I don't know. Questions for Rob to ask Nicola or Heiss.
Okay. So I'm going to, and Madam
I want to
Secretary, before we
ask
keep going,
Nicola,
there are
what
people
did
that
you
are coming
accomplish as
in
chair of the
that I
LPF?
suspect is just kind of more of the trolling. So people are changing their names or doing something somehow that I
Oh,
don't
he's gonna
believe were on the
talk
initial
about like
registered
the
list. And I
fundraiser
combed over it
thing
pretty
and
thoroughly. So we'll just leave them
did
in the
he do
waiting
that?
room, and it is what it is.
yeah, that was
And
him
we'll
actually.
put the recording up that people will be able to see.
Correct. Whoever Mr. Moscrip is, I'm going to keep lowering your hand. If you do put your hand up again, you will be removed from the room. This is for LNC members only.
Yeah, shut up,
So,
David.
Any LNC member, so Mr. Nicola,
Should we send
please
David
unmute.
an invite? Do you want to hang
And
out with
we are
David?
going to, so right now it is
The hell's Monster Group?
Send David an
8:47
invite, I'm
p.m.
down.
Eastern
down?
time.
What
Merge
did
the
you say, Mitch?
streams.
Any members of the
can't remember
LNC that
if I
have
know this
questions for
guy
Mr.
or not.
Nicola, please raise your hand. You don't have to do it
Chair of,
immediately, but I will
Hillsborough
start
County.
from the top left-hand side of my screen
I
and
don't
move
think I know him,
across
but
as I
I've
see
seen
hands
his
come up.
post.
We will start with Mr. Weir.
I don't know if I've met him.
You've met him.
Yeah.
My question was
What?
actually for Mr. Heiss, so I'll
He
see.
was the
Okay, so we'll
the
wait on
guy in our
that.
debate
Madam Secretary,
about Ron Paul being the most
Okay,
ineffective
thank you.
member of Congress. That was
Mr.
his
Nicola,
question.
in a lot
Yeah.
of the emails that we got, there
I
seems
sent
to
him an
be a
invite.
great
We'll see if he joins.
concern that Project Decentralized Revolution was in jeopardy, and the tone of it seemed to be that some people believed, and I do not want to put beliefs in their mouth, that it was
Oh, question
dependent,
for the nominees. Do you
upon
plan on
one
changing the
person.
mascot?
So I'd like to ask your
Are we
intentions with regard
porcupine or
to
lion?
that program.
That's what we gotta
Milo
ask.
or George
If, to your
Quilly?
knowledge, you've been on the LNC quite a while,
Lion
anything
wins.
similar had been done in the past, or is this
Porcupine
something
was always
super,
autism. Let's
super
be real.
unique? And I am salting the loaf a little bit because you are being put on the spot, but I seem to remember the Frontier Project, for instance. But
He's
there may be
smiling
other
because
things
he's
that
reading
you
it.
recall.
Sure. Thank you so much, Carrie. I appreciate you.
I said you won't. He said no.
I can say off the bat unequivocally, Project
He won't do
Decentralized
it.
Revolution is
He
not in
won't do
danger.
it, pussy.
I 100%
Pussy.
support PDR. As a matter of fact, in our
A
August
lion
business
is
meeting, we
dumb. Don't be
unanimously
retarded.
accepted PDR into our strategy for the next 2
You
years.
know what
So
else is dumb?
PDR is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. I think it's a
porcupine.
great plan. As a matter of fact, when I was chair of LPF, we had Project First Step, which was somewhat similar to PDR in the sense that we're looking to expand our influence
did ask
through
him. That was
winnable
great. The lion is
offices
the
at
aggressor.
the local level. So your city council, your
I
county
don't.
council,
I don't like that
all
framing,
that good
sir.
stuff.
He's a
So it's
predator.
not
He has
something
to feed his
entirely new,
family.
but I'll give credit where
What is he
credit's
gonna
due.
do but kill the
PDR
gazelle?
is well put together.
You know,
And
Dave,
it's a
you're making
good
a really
strategy.
great
Also,
defense
single
lawyer
issue
one day.
coalitions.
What is
I think
the
it's gonna be
what is
great
the
for the party.
libertarian to do
Have we done
other
this
than to
before?
kill
I
the state?
believe we may have
Okay?
done it in the past.
It is
Was
in
it
our
Project
nature.
Archimedes? Maybe I'm wrong. So it's not entirely unique, but it's the first time I think we've adopted local level strategic elections as a priority for the LNC. So I think in that sense, it is somewhat unique. But I do completely support PDR, and it will continue.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Nicola. Mr. Ford.
Mr. Nicola, question for you. What will you do? And I'll have the same question for Michael, by the way.
Will you take your shirt off?
What will you do to heal a clearly divided party, some of whom are newly divided because of the processes used
Nicola's a
tonight?
middleman. Hey, Bill Burgess.
Well, that's a
for
great
sure.
question. I think our party has been divided for a long time. I think not cozying up to the Republican Party is probably a good first step in uniting the Libertarian Party and showing people that we're a unique brand that's worth investing in. We're not the JV team for the GOP, nor are we the JV team for the Democrats. We are libertarians. That's why we're here. As far as the division, in my opinion, if you're 70, 80% on board, welcome in. If we can get you in on a single issue coalition and you find yourself treading water, maybe put your toe in,
This
you like
is way better
Libertarian
than
Party,
the
come in.
script, I'll
But
tell you
there's
that.
definitely been a culture, and I think it starts at the top, where people respect each other. They expect professionalism. They expect people to work together. And the results
What
driven.
happens when
And
a
I
lion
think
fights
if
a
you can,
porcupine?
if I can bring that to the table, I think that'll be a good first step. And of course,
Porcupine, king of the jungle.
it's a libertarian party. There's gonna be people that disagree. There's people, on multiple sides of the equation, and I
Porcupine,
certainly
king of the
would
jungle.
welcome all their
Sometimes that
input
porcupine does
into
not
how the
get
party
one
moves
leg.
forward. But ultimately, my major focus is making sure the board works
That's
together
true, too.
in a way that is cohesive, unified,
Damn, that's like
and
a pack
efficient.
of lions.
You mean like tonight with some fairly arbitrary
What we're saying
rulings?
is we just need more people.
Hold on, I'm trying to
I mean,
watch.
I don't know
Right
what to
now,
say.
they're not doing so good.
Everybody voted. It's a body process, and we're here.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. Mr. Lamb.
Yes, I am very excited that you have chosen to run for this position. I appreciate your work with Wendy's. I'm a nurse case manager and have quite a few of your
See, you thought we were
claimants through your
joking.
corporation, so I appreciate the business. I am very interested, though. I mean, again, I do appreciate your opinion regarding Project Decentralized Revolution. I've seen some pushback that it is essentially the Molten Maneuver. I don't really give any kind of crap regarding what it's called. I think it's important for us as libertarians to try and get elected at the local level. Of course, I was
Mayor
able to do so
Robotnik.
here in my area. So I
Mayor
really just
Robotnik
wanted to
endorsing
ask
Nicola makes me like him as
specifically
the choice less.
how you intend to help those of us that are running this to get more people elected.
I bet Donald Trump
and
called David Duke and said, "Motherfucker, why'd you
specifically,
endorse me?"
will you run for local office? Because we are still actively recruiting.
people
So
you don't
in your
want
area, will you help us in our efforts on the CSC to get another candidate on the ballot?
Yeah, certainly. I wish your claimants would have opted for the baked potato and the chicken salads. They're very good. Um, but
Rally
yeah, to answer your
Dandelion.
question, how do we support local level candidates? Well, it starts with fundraising, number one. It starts with making money, which is something we've been on a downward trajectory for the past several years. Same thing with membership. They're kind of two sides of the same coin.
How are you going to fix it?
And I do have plans for both. Fundraising, number one, is we need money. I do plan on seriously considering selling the headquarters and using that money
Yes!
to
I'm down for
get a
that.
full-time professional fundraiser, someone who's been in the industry for a long time, and I have a couple leads on that. We need outside help. We need professional help with our fundraising, absolutely. We need to make sure staff has their data cleaned up and that we're using that data on directed campaigns, on using it for social media, using it in ways to get in people's face, go through the data to try to pick people up, put them into certain categories for single issue coalitions, for renewals, for all that stuff. And I know the data has been an issue for quite a long time now, and I certainly would love to give some of our staff more hours, give them support, but it requires money. And that needs to be our number one priority. Once we get enough money in and we're fundraising, I'd love to continue voter gravity. I'd love to give candidates more tools. I'd love to hire maybe a political point person on staff, a political director, if you want to call it
Hack the roost for
that, to help
political
us
director.
strategize. But primarily to work on the lower levels, it's about resources, about getting the state affiliates the resources they need. And I am a past candidate. I did run for Key West District 4. I'm very involved in my local city. I volunteer. I do different things
And
all over.
tell us about the
I go to board
Key
meetings.
West,
So I'm definitely interested in running for office
Libertarian
again.
Party.
And I know what
What's
it's like to be
happening
on the
down
ground.
there?
So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you very much. And yeah, please be in contact with our committee. We would love to help you with your efforts.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lamb. Ms. Yanuskevich.
Yes, Mr. Nikela, and I will be asking this of both candidates. For you as a standing member, a current member of the LNC, are there any conflicts of interest that you have not declared on our potential conflict list?
No, I can't think of anything. I did play with the idea of turning headquarters into a Wendy's. I think it's in a really good spot, but I have nowhere to put the drive-through, so no conflicts of interest on my end.
Thank you. Do we get, if that happened, do we get free Frosties?
We will, and our frosting machine's never broken.
Ugh.
Enough of the fluff.
Thank you, Ms. Yanuskevich.
Now
Mr.
I
Vinson.
want some Wendy's. Fucker.
Yeah, Stephen. I would just like to ask if you would remain committed to Project Decentralized Revolution and all the staff that are working to effectuate that.
The answer is yes. Yeah, I do plan on keeping Mr. Heiss's contract going, and with the blessings of the board and input from the board, I want to see him continue to act out his vision as the architect for Project Decentralized Revolution. So the answer is yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vinson. Mr. Watkins.
Yes, sort of a two-part-ish question, but was using the LP's leverage to secure Ross Ulbricht's freedom an example of cozying up to the Republican Party? And whether or not you do think is the case, was it bad? And also, who are your connections to kind of keep this these relationships going?
None.
That's a really good question. Lynn has been in the movement for a very long time. I know she's worked with us for a very long time.
Yep.
I think someone like Donald
59.
Trump it's something that comes up. It's like Haley's Comet. It only happens so often.
Welcome back, sir.
It was a really unique opportunity. I give Angela McArdle full credit for her work getting Ross free. She deserves that credit. It's an amazing thing that she did. I don't think that is an example of cozying up to the Republican Party. I think that having conversations with Republicans or Democrats is not a bad thing, but we have to remember that we're in an adversarial relationship with those parties and their leadership and their candidates. The same way the United States and
That
Russia
is
are
not what we
adversaries,
asked, Rob.
or Russia, US,
Lion
and
or
China. We're
porcupine.
adversaries. We're not
That's
friends.
what we need to
we may
know.
work together. It may look like, we do certain things or deals or whatever in the background.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody's not going to run against Thomas Massey or a Justin Amash if he decides to run again.
So you are
I understand those
pro-Republican.
decisions, and I'm not afraid or opposed to having conversations with people in leadership. I do it all the time. There's only 26
What's going
registered
on with you,
libertarians in
Mitch?
Key West, so obviously I have to talk
Everyone
with people
kept on being frozen.
all
so
kinds
I
of
had
sides.
to,
And, we have
exit
great
out
conversations
just
and we get
reopen
things
the
done.
browser.
So I'm not against that whatsoever. Angela has stated that she wishes to give some of these relationships, pass them on to the next chair if she's open to that. I'd love to meet these people. I'm not going to tell them to F off or anything like that. I'd love to have a conversation if they're willing to have it and see if there's opportunity to work together in a way that is, drives with the board and is a board decision, but it's not bad to talk. I'll talk to anybody. But the bottom line is we're the Libertarian Party. We're for libertarians. Sending out an honorary membership to Donald Trump is probably one of the worst things you could ever do as chair. Those types of decisions just make us look weak. It makes us look
Heist gonna
unpalatable.
defend it?
And quite frankly, why wouldn't you join the GOP if you like Donald Trump? You'd probably get more power, and they're in power pretty often. So it just doesn't make us palatable. It's like if the CEO of Wendy's came out and said, you know what? Burger King is great. You should really go eat at Burger King. They're the best. We would fire that person, right? So these things have to be taken into consideration, and ultimately what we do with these parties, it's a board decision if we decide to talk to these people or whatever. But I hope that answers your question.
You didn't answer who your connections were to keep these relationships open. Specifically, who?
I don't know who all the relationships.
Lars
who is
Mapstead
all
just
encompassed by the
commented
relationships that Angela has.
that choosing
I have
between
talked to some people in the
Nicola
Kennedy
and
campaign over the
Heist
past
is like
few
choosing
months.
between a
Some
Democrat and
people,
Republican.
when this
The
JSD was
illusion
going
of
out, I was doing
choice.
my due diligence. I got into contact with a libertarian who was on the campaign
But Lars is a
down in
Fed. We
Texas,
talked
and we
about
talked
that
for a
in
little bit.
poker.
I invited him.
But other than that, I don't have any connections to the Trump campaign. I don't have
I
any
love
connections to the RFK, junior in team. So
Hannah
I don't have
Goodman
those
1
connections.
minute ago. Can I just tell
But
you
I'd certainly
how
be willing
thankful I
to
am? I'm
talk
not
to
the
them if
vice
they want to talk to
chairman
me.
for the LNC.
But it doesn't mean
Sometimes God's
we're
will
friends,
is funny
but
like that.
we can definitely talk.
She's not wrong.
Thank you, Mr. Watkins.
I'm just saying, why didn't the bitch say thank you?
I'm
Tag
gonna
me,
so
like,
I'm
I'm right
really
here.
I'm gonna
I'm a real
skip to Ms.
person. I
Hayes
still
because
exist, bitch. I didn't
Ms.
die.
Harless did already
It's
ask
Josh's
me a
will.
question, if
I
that's
was
all right.
dead.
I'm gonna
Oh, yeah.
Just reply
Ms.
asterisk
Hayes, then
Josh's
Mr.
will.
Bost, and then we'll circle back around so that everyone gets a first go around before we keep. But we can keep going as much as possible. So, Ms. Hayes.
All right, Mr. DeKale, I'm going to ask something of a controversial question, and it's going to kind of be multi-parted. Number one,
I'll just hit it with a like for now. I'll be the first one to like it.
Without giving too much information, are you financially secure outside of the LP?
My day
Run a
job
$20
is I
million
run
business empire. That nigga
14
better
restaurants plus a movie theater, 12 Wendy's,
He owns
Dairy
a
Queen, and
movie
a full service
theater?
restaurant. We just expanded 2 new stores on the Wendy's front actually last month. We also are expanding the full service restaurant. That's my day job. I do administration. I do management. I've been in the restaurant business since I was 15 years old, probably even younger actually, because child labor and all parents put you into, you're pretty much working. You're not getting paid, right? So I've been in business for a very long time, very, very many years, and I'm good at what I do. Wendy's and other companies, they're always wishing to expand. There's always, banks give us a clean bill of health. That's how we get loans. So clearly we're making money and we're in the green, especially in places where not everybody is. A lot of people are down right now due to the economy, and we're up. So I think that says a lot about the way that I handle my businesses and
We'll make America healthy
the
again.
strength of our
Put
businesses,
Nicola
the
out of
strength of my
business.
managers, the strength of our crew, the training, the consistency, the
Vote Michael
product,
Height
the
for LNC chair
infrastructure,
to make
all of that
America
goes into
healthy
consideration.
Down with the Wendy's.
So to answer your
Nope,
question,
Gotta get that
on the
beef
LLC.
I wouldn't
tallow.
be
Get rid of
here
that
if I was
goddamn
in a
seed
situation
oil.
where I felt that my
Actually,
family's
you should have had
future
Rob ask.
or
Would,
my business's future would be
Nicola
jeopardized
commit to
because
making
I'd be
beef
spending too much time
tallow
here and not managing my
frying
businesses.
oil
My businesses
in
are well
all of
run.
his Wendy's moving forward if
I
you
have
get
money,
Wendy's chair?
to take care of
Is he
myself
ready
and
to
my
help make
family and do
America
what needs to
healthy
be
again?
done. And you know, I don't
I'll
want
ask
anything from the
him.
party. I'm here to serve. I'm here to help. I wouldn't be doing this for 10
We got
plus
to get
years if I
ready
didn't
for
believe in the
our
mission. I'd
RFAs for
honestly
LP
rather be on the
POTUS
beach
run
if that was
in
the
4
case
years.
and hanging out with my kid. She turned 3 years old today and just dealing with family. But instead, I'm here in front of a room full of 100 plus people and libertarian movement offering
Will
myself
Wendy's
up
commit to only using beef
to,
tallow
you know, I'm no
moving
Moses or
forward?
anything,
Let's
but
see
I'm
how
pretty damn
Rob
good at my
reacts.
job and what I do, and I'd love to help lead this party forward.
My second part to that question was, have you and Mr. Heiss been in contact
Reed.
over the last week or so discussing these various options regarding Project Decentralized Revolution, his run for chair, and
This is
just sort
Meredith.
of general pieces about each of your visions?
Yeah, I spoke with Mr. Heiss a few times over the past few weeks, and you know, he's explained to me PDR, and you know, I'm sold on PDR. He can't sell me anymore. I think it's a great vision. And we've talked a little bit, you know, here and there, um, and you know, we can continue
Bring
to
back
talk
the
and
dollar
continue to
menu.
work together.
Inflation, sir.
And
We
try
can't.
to see a way forward for how do we best support PDR and its future and its development and its success.
Bring back
Because
the gold
we certainly
coin
could use it as a
menu.
party.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have been in contact a little bit,
The
but
$200 menu.
intermittently throughout the last few weeks.
And then my third question is, what committees are you currently serving on, and can you give everybody just a little bit of an overview of what your role within those committees are?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm currently on the EPCC, which is the Employment Policy and Compensation Committee. I've been on that committee for 3 terms. I can tell you when I started, it was really rough the way we were handling things, I'll be honest. But since then, we've done a lot to streamline it. I got us on paycheck system. We were able to get the full employee manual going. We were able to an employee manual by state, by the way, and there's different state laws based on, you know, where you are. So the employment manual, we were able to, you know, work on contracts, draft employment agreements. We do stuff with KPI, which I wish to do more of. We handle disputes, internal disputes. So if there's a problem with a staff member, we handle that. There's a process that I actually drafted. I drafted all the EPCC processes because before we had none, so it was all kind of up in the air. So we laid everything out, and that's a document on the website. We've done a hell of a lot over the last 6 years. And
as a quick follow-up to that, I'm so sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
But just because you mentioned it, I feel like this is important. Were you involved in contracting Mr. Heiss?
I was not involved. That was a chair's decision.
Okay, I just wanted you to clarify that because I think the members might have.
But I did support it at the time.
Oh.
And still do.
Oh. I'm sorry. Continuing your answer. Your other committees. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, my other committee is the. So I last meeting I made a motion to create it's basically an ethics and behavioral standards committee. That's the name. And this committee is designed to imprint our policy manual what the behavioral standards of a professional organization are, which is something we've been lacking for a very long time and we desperately need. So for instance, you know, I interviewed, you know, Debbie Mason. She's a professional in the business. I know her from down here, and she does like board meeting training and stuff like that. I had her on and others, and we workshopped, and we got a lot of great data that we're hoping to have at the next meeting. I chair this committee because I think it's time that the board acts professionally.
Oh
we
my
hold each
God.
other accountable.
30
and
minutes
we all
for
agree
each
to a
candidate
set
is
of standards
ridiculous,
that,
man.
you know, that's our gold standard. You come in, you agree to it. The first thing you do as an LNC member is you agree these are the standards. If I don't abide by these standards, then what is the process for discipline? So we came up with a disciplinary process and what our options are, and we talked to a parliamentarian about how that jives with the rules and what that would look like. So all these things are really important and align with my vision of making this a professional board that's results driven, that we're not infighting, we're working together. We work as a team, we make team decisions, and everybody has input, and nobody disrespects each other. There's no he said, she said,
Let
go
Karen
on social
Ann ask
media
the question.
and talk
Let's
shit.
go. We need some
None of that. I'm
entertainment.
not gonna.
Ford.
That's not gonna fly
Where's
anymore.
Ford? We need
Especially
our
for me
heel.
as chair. It's not gonna fly. So
Thank you. I'm sorry. As a second part to that question, could you explain your understanding of fiduciary duty?
Fuck
To the board.
Fiduciary duty is when we sign on as LNC
Responsibility to
members,
keep the
our
LP
duty becomes
profitable
to the
and
board,
achieving
the
its
LNC.
goals.
It's not to the members. A lot of people think it's the members or the delegates or what. No, it's to the LNC as an entity, as a legal entity, as a
What's
board.
his stance on mandates?
That is where our
Nikhil's
fiduciary
fairly
duty
based.
resides. So everything we do,
Personally.
once we
Yeah.
put that hat on, is tied to our fiduciary duty to the Libertarian National Committee. Its best interests have to be taken into consideration at all times.
I've
And
never said that Nikhil is not a good
to
person.
me, that means
I
that
just
you
don't
have
want
to be
him to be
100%
leading
dedicated
it.
as a board member. You can't take the hat off. You can't decide, well, today I'm not an LNC. No, you're always an LNC member once you take that position. And with that, there comes a lot of responsibility. And a lot of that is reflected in the ethics committee and what we're working on. You can't, you have to be aligned with the board all times. You don't relitigate. You don't go outside and talk to the media and say, oh, this is
Yeah.
why I disagree. You don't, do things that are good for you but not good for the board. You don't,
Yeah, Nikhil.
you don't disparage the party in any way or make the party look weak. And to me, that's you do what's best for the board at all times. My dad always told me, you always put the business first, and he's 100% right. And with the LNC, you put the LNC first. So that's what fiduciary duty
I
means
know
to
you
me.
want to fuck that waitress.
Thank you, Mr. Nikhil.
But you need to fire
Thank you,
her.
Ms. Hayes. Thank you, Mr. Nikhila. I know that you're no Moses, but we will let your people go if it comes to it. Mr. Boston,
You
then
will let your people
Madam
go?
Secretary.
Are you kidding me?
Mr. Weir did it
Come on.
before, so he
I
does before
recognize
me.
it. Okay, Mr. Malagon. The Egyptian.
Yes,
I will
Mr.
let your people go.
Besides,
Oh, I didn't
your
see his
name-
hand up. Sorry. It'll be Mr. Boston here, then Madam Sec. Oh, hold on. Let's just so that
Yeah.
everyone knows the order here. I didn't see the hands up because I'm getting alerts on whatever. So it's going to be Mr. Boss, Mr. Weir, then
Weir.
Oh shit! It's
Madam
actually.
Why is it lagging?
Sec, and then Mr.
Oh no.
He's
So,
got.
Mr. Boston.
Malagon got the AIDS.
Yeah, he
All
got
right,
the A's. That
can you
wasn't
hear
me.
me now?
I thought it was me for a second.
No, it was
Yes.
him.
Okay,
Yeah,
just
down.
making sure I was having some trouble on my end.
Yes.
Mr.
see?
Nikhila,
It was the
besides
Jews.
many calls for either yourself or no, either Mr. Amash or Mr. Heiss.
Amash.
And there was certainly calls for someone outside of the board, outside of the current LNC, as well as someone that
Which Heiss qualifies.
at least until an investigation is completed. What would your answer be to those concerned that we have not done any investigation of the extent of
He's Travis Bost, by the way.
what may be going on with the finances or conflicts of interest, and the calls for someone outside of the LNC, which I do believe were overwhelming?
Whelman.
So the question was, what do I think of the calls for an outside audit firm? And then I heard
No. For a chair candidate to come from someone that is not on the LNC.
Yeah.
I don't really have much thoughts on that. I think that we're a board, and the delegates elected us to make the best decisions for the board. And so, in my opinion, the LNC knows what's best for itself and can make decisions as we were endowed by the delegates at convention in order to make. So I think it's really up to us what we do in anything. I don't think it's up to people emailing repetitively, what their opinions are. I think it's up to the board. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it's our decision, and whatever that decision is goes.
And I will add, I don't know if you want to change your answer. Those calls were on multiple platforms and bipartisan, or all partisan, I should say.
Okay, I'm not sure what to make of that question, but I'll just reiterate that whatever decision the board makes is the best decision for the board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bost. Mr. Weir, then actually we'll Mr. Dar,
Yeah.
because he isn't anything.
You're
So Madam
breaking
Sec will
up
have to
really
keep
badly.
reverting up a little bit longer.
Yeah, reconnect,
and I'm
Mr.
sure it's getting
Chair.
tired.
Robo AIDS.
Give me just a minute. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm going to turn off my video for just a minute, just to make sure. I think I'm getting a little bit of lag on my end. So apologies. We'll go with Mr. Weir, then Mr. Dar. So Sec will keep her hand up a little bit, her virtual hand up a little bit longer. Hopefully it doesn't get tired.
Mr. Nikela, what do you think of the Free State Project's libertarian concentration strategy? And is that something that you would be interested in adopting, as a national?
Come on, Weir, you're going to waste
concept?
your question like this?
Well,
good job. Go for it.
We have libertarians all around the country where they may dwell, and I have a lot of respect for the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire and the guys over there. They're some of the most well-read guys I've
not the
met
girls,
in the
though.
movement.
They suck.
I can tell you that the Free Staters and the guys in New Hampshire, very, very smart, very, very well-read. I gotta hand it to you guys. I think that, doing the whole Free State thing, getting people to move up there, cool, good on you. I think it's awesome. I actually got introduced to the Free State Project in 2012 at Paul Fest in Tampa is when I met the first Free Stater, and they gave me a little bookmark to think about moving to New Hampshire. And New Hampshire's great. New Hampshire's cool. You guys are doing your thing. I think that's great. I'd love to make the Conch Republic free again down here in Key West. We seceded where others failed.
Is he like obligated?
I
Does
would
he get
hope that
paid
we
every
can make
time
this
he says
community
that?
a shining example of
Pretty sure he's
libertarianism
going to get a
down here.
kickback when I inevitably go down there and get
I
one
think
of
we're
those
already very much a
passports.
libertarian city, and I think we
Make
can do a lot more to
passports, by
affect
the way.
that. And that's where
Also,
my
I have a
focus is
Conch
gonna be
Republic
locally,
flag
is
somewhere
making that
around
happen. So
Okay,
anybody
before I
that wants
say
to
anything,
have
I'm gonna say
a free
Google
Conch
wiped
Republic or a
smear
free whatever,
Office
your
Space
state or your municipality
1940s.
project is, if you've got buddies that want to move it, I think it's a great idea. I don't think it's a national committee decision, but I think if people want to do that on their own, then I'll certainly promote it, as chair.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Weir. We will move to Mr. Dar now. Mr. Dar?
Yes, Mr. Nikela. Who did you support publicly for president in the general election? This shouldn't be a controversial question, but it might be.
I publicly supported Chase Oliver and Mike Termott. I've got to know both gentlemen very well throughout the years. I
What was the first
regional
one?
rep for R2 and met Chase down in Georgia. He's a great guy.
Who in Termott?
He's a
Sorry.
hardcore activist. He's also very smart, very well spoken.
So he chose the candidates? How
Termott,
convenient.
same thing. I actually met Termott for the first time at
Did he
an
really support
anti-COVID,
Chase?
law rally. Like, we were burning masks,
Wow.
and there was an anti
Wow.
mandatory vaccine thing, and people came from all over, and he spoke and I got to spoke, and Mike's a great guy. He's a hard worker. He's run for office multiple times, so both of them have my utmost respect, and I want to thank them for the work they put in serving the
Nothing's
Libertarian
going to
Party.
change until we make it change. Like, they don't see Nikela as being a difference.
Thank you, Mr. Dar. Madam Sec, go ahead.
Okay, well,
gonna line up Heiss
Ms.
for the
Hayes
win.
opened the door for multiple questions. Gonna start
Oh shit! Here
kind
we
of with
go.
a comment and then some things that I'll try to give them to you all at once, Stephen. Then you can ask me if I missed anything. There was a comment earlier about no current LNC members being chair. I will note that those people were saying that pretty much said also no current staff as well. And I don't think we're looking here to disqualify both candidates
Yes,
that
we
are
are.
here before us. As Florida chair, I'd like to know how you'd been a unifying chair. I know Florida.
been pretty good at that.
Being still consider myself a Floridian, is in fact very diverse. And if
Yep.
you have any kind of a reputation, as some of us do, for going on social media and colloquially shit posting and just stirring people up, and what your
He doesn't.
opinion is on that. Second part of the question, Dar Stoll, I wanted to know who you endorsed for president.
This is not the
But
party
there's
of principle. That's why we
I would
trademark
like to know,
the phrase, the party
this
of
is
principle,
just the
because we
second
don't
part of
care
the
about
question.
principles. We don't want
Is the
choices.
role of the
That's
chair
nonsense.
to be a Moses
Nobody
or hero
wants the
figure,
position
or is that
anyway.
actually
Why would you? Look at what you
credit
have
and
to deal with
recognition
here.
should get spread out downward? That whether
So,
the
change
chair
how no one
is a
else got
ruler
nominated,
or
but the reality
a
is no one else
collaborator,
wanted to be
and
nominated.
is it noble
Motion to
for the chair to
change
break the party rules?
the party slogan to when
Okay,
you're
there's a lot
here,
of
your
questions
family.
there. So I'm going to start
We're
with
going
the
to
first
take the
question,
Olive
which
Garden
is
slogan.
during
Might
my
as well.
tenure as
That's not
Libertarian
even
Party of
true
Florida
either. We don't
chair,
even like each other.
was I a uniter? Was I unifier?
Exactly.
And
It's
how did
all
that
I
work out?
You're a piece of
So
shit.
in
Go
2019,
away.
I became chairman of the Libertarian Party of Florida. I was on the board since 2014. And around 2020, 2021 or so, I remember the Mises Caucus really got heated up in Florida and around the country. We had a lot of new members come in, and it was great. It was great. We had a great convention. We had a lot of new faces, many of whom are still around. Some are still on this board today. Great guys,
Some are watching this call right now.
and gals.
Yes.
Salisha Slafter, who I knew in Key West, she was actually in my local affiliate. She was the chairwoman of the Mises Caucus at the time. We had a great relationship. We worked well together. She knew me, I know her. And I'll tell you, like the guys that came in from the Mises Caucus, you're a chair. They don't know you. They don't know why they should respect you. They don't know what your vision is. And I
Wanna
think
piss Eric
given
off,
enough time,
saying hi to his
we
wife.
all work well together. We were able to get stuff done together. They respected me as chair, and
Gabby
we had a really
Cordova
good
is in the
couple
LP
years with a
Alliance chat
board
right
that
now.
was Mises and
course she
non-Mises.
Yeah.
So you have these people in the party that have been around
Listen,
for a long
hi,
time.
Gabby. 3
They've done
hearts.
substantial work in the party for many years, and they can bestow knowledge, institutional knowledge, on the new people coming in. And we had some old timers in there giving advice to the new folk, and they ended up really liking to get together, liking each other, and coming together. And I think it comes from the chair. I think, there's a certain presence the chair has, I guess, is kind of a way to say it. But I think, at least for me personally,
Yeah, this
if
shit's
there's
real
a
gay.
problem, you address it. If
This
somebody's got beef with this
sucks.
person, you nip it in
We
the
have to
bud.
do another 30 minutes with
You get
Heist.
people working together. You kind of have to work with the chemistry of folks to
I
make sure
hate
it's going to
this
work
world.
out.
Alright, we'll
But
go
the most
out for
important
Heist.
thing is having a unified vision, because
For
I've got
the
people
Hell
that
Heist.
they might not like each other, but they have to work together.
Let's see.
And you have to fix that. You have to make sure that this is the goal. The goal is to do X, Y, and Z. We're all working towards the same goal. You guys have to work together to get that goal. And I think, sociologically speaking, when people don't have goals, they tend to digress into groups, and they start to seek self-interest, and then there's just fighting. And then there's no real objective, and then you don't get anything done. And the same thing is for business as is in
right.
politics. You have to have goals.
LP
I recommended
Alliance
bringing
agreed to
Debbie
come on the
Mason in
show.
August. She did a great board
So
training
we'll have
with
him
the
on at
entire
some
board,
point.
and I felt at that moment when we basically came
Rob,
in and
ask
decided
him
these are
if
our
he
goals
will
for the
invite
next 2
Trump to
years.
the
I felt that was a
LPF.
very good moment
He's
for the
already
board,
got
that we
the.
felt like, hey,
I'll
we
take a
maybe
drink because
we
you
don't
donated,
all
but
agree
he's
with each
already
other, or
got
like
the
each other, or love
membership.
each
He doesn't
other,
have to do
but we all just
anything.
agreed on what the goals are, and we all had pretty much the same goals. And that was a really beautiful moment, because it made me realize that the board is bought into the same mission. And the mission isn't to fight each other. The mission is what we put on paper that day. And that's something I think that is something that I think is very important as chairs, to make sure your team has a mission and they're unified on that mission, whatever it is. So that answers the first question. I think your second question was something about social media and infighting.
The
And I'll just go
30-minute
back and
interviews will
say that with
continue
the
until
ethics
morale
committee,
improves.
that's going to stop. That's going to stop. Once our
That's a great
Jesus.
policy
comment.
manual amendments are
That's a
put into
great
place,
comment.
I'll make sure we'll be
It's
enforcing
painful.
that. There's nothing I can do about the rank and file members
I'm
if they're
posting
fighting
on the
online,
other
but I
one.
do
We're gonna
think
get
that
that put up.
as a board, what we do trickles down. Leadership trickles down. And I think you have to be a good example. And I think as a board, we can be a good example to our members of how we treat each other, and how we respect each other, and how we get shit done together.
There was one other thing. I come from a fundamentalist background, actually Calvary Chapel.
We
and their
know.
pastors used to follow something called the Moses model, which ended up being a complete disaster. Actually, the Calvary Chapel of Florida's head pastor had to resign in shame from, doing sexual sins and things of that nature.
Oh,
so I was
yeah?
wondering what you were thinking of, like the Moses model in a nonprofit board, where the chair is parting the water and everyone else is just to fall in line, or whether this is a collaborative effort in which everybody is accountable to everybody.
No one cares.
I don't claim to be the smartest guy in the room. I may know a lot about certain subjects, but we've got a lot of smart people on the board. And everybody has their expertise. Everybody has a different background. And the reason we're elected as a board, and not just, hey, we elect one guy and he does all the work, is because you want to be able to leverage everybody's expertise and input. Because my idea might not be the best idea. I might have some good ideas, but I want to run it by the board. I want to make sure we have conversations. If I need help, I'm going to ask for help because I need help. I'm going to need help. I'm going to need other people's
I see you
opinions.
speak
I need other
Army as
people's
well. Yes,
counsel and advice.
yes.
And likewise, I would also like to counsel and advise others as well, where it's appropriate and where it's fit as chair. And one of the things I did in Florida is we had monthly informal board meetings where we just got in a room and there was no audience, there was no recording. We just talked about, hey guys, this is where we're at with finances this month. Oh my God, yeah, I actually have extra time. I can go on, this committee or whatever, So you're always brainstorming and coming up with new ideas.
Has it
Or,
been
I'm an
30
expert
minutes?
in
Has
social
anyone
media
been keeping
marketing.
track?
Let me, work on this, and we'll get the message out. Whatever
Yeah,
the
but
case
it's
is.
definitely been
I
30
think that's
minutes.
so important. That's how I lead all my
I'm
teams.
we
tired of
just
speaking
end
to
it?
Can we get
I'm a
Michael Heiss
teacher.
and end it?
I hold people accountable. I make sure things get done. But if they're not bought in, then nothing gets done. So I guess to answer your question, it's a team effort. It's a board effort. It's not just one guy. And I'm not Jesus Christ. I'm not Moses. I'm just a dude that's been doing this for a long time, and I want to help this party.
You're just Florida man. That's what I'm hearing.
Florida man in it, man.
Thank you, Ms. Harlos. Thank you, Mr. Nikela. We will skip Mr. Watkins for right now. Mr. Nana has not yet asked a question, and we'll circle back to Mr. Watkins. Mr. Nana?
Boo-boo.
Well, if Mr. Watkins is the last question, I'll just cede my time. I just wanted everybody to be aware that we went a little over. So
Yeah, we're about 3 minutes away from 40 minutes. That's fine. Like I said, I have I have all night here, and I want to make sure that everyone gets a fair shake. And so
Come on, don't
whenever
you?
we end here, we'll
If they
give
run
at
up
the
our
very least
6 hour
that amount of
limit,
time
I'm gonna
to
be
Mr.
real
Heiss. And
pissed.
if there's any,
Okay.
we can do outstanding questions at
We're
the end.
2.5
for either candidate.
hours
We don't
in
have to
already.
just,
Jesus Christ.
nip it in the bud right there. But I do want to make sure that everyone gets their fair shake.
Yeah, not
Mr.
even-
Watkins.
Yes.
Show us your mustache.
Mr. Nikela, so you support PDR and the strategy we passed in Miami.
What is
So I
PDR?
would like to ask, what makes
Revolution.
you
Okay,
believe that you
okay.
are the best person currently to see that vision
Tim the Jew.
through
I'm the
and
Jew
execute
sniffer.
it, and what is specifically your plan to do so?
Absolutely. To successfully carry out PDR, you have to have money, and we need to fundraise. We have to get a professional fundraiser on, as I've mentioned.
We have money.
We
We
have
just
to do the
don't
things we need to
focus
do
it in
to
the right
make sure the
places.
party stops bleeding capital so we can invest in projects like PDR and other things that we want to do, and expanding staff and all those great things. I think I'm in a unique position to be able to make sure fundraising takes off. As chair, I've fundraised over $100,000 just myself. I network with people. I work with people that are very wealthy. I know how to talk to people. I know how to bring people in. I know the dynamics as far as the mechanics of the day-to-day on how boards work. I know what we need to do, and I'm looking forward to digging in even further to seeing what the opportunities are, because being down in fundraising and being down in membership, it's a symptom. And sometimes there's multiple diseases you have to cure in order to get rid of all the symptoms. And I think, unfortunately, we're plagued by multiple diseases. Some of it's just lack of money. Some of it, you have to look in and you have to see where the opportunities are. What are we doing right? What are we not doing? What do we need to focus on? These are all discussions that we need to have. I've been on this board for 10 years. I know the mechanics of the LNC. I know the mechanics of Libertarian Party business and affiliates, and I've done Ronner. I've done that for a long time. I've done all the things. I make money personally, in the business world. That's going to be very important when you're looking to fund PDR. I'm putting the right people in the right place to do it, of course, and same thing for membership and all else. So I think with that said, given my experience and my commitment to solve our problems, I think I am the best suited person to make sure that PDR lives to complete its mission.
Thank you, Mr. Watkins and Mr. Nikela. So we are officially at the 40-minute mark. Are there any additional questions for Mr. Nikela
Please, God, no.
from the LNC at this time?
Watch Rob Ford say something.
Okay.
Well,
Mr. Heiss,
I
are you
would
still
hear
with
from
us?
him.
Thank you, Mr. Nikela,
He's
for
entertaining.
answering those questions. And And
Here
you guys
comes
go through a
Mr.
marathon there,
Heiss.
so I appreciate your patience and willing to do that. Mr. Heiss, you are with us, correct?
Why are you gay?
I am here.
First
Fantastic.
question.
All right, LNC members, please raise your virtual hands, and we will go ahead and proceed with questions to Mr. Heiss. The first up here on the left-hand side is Ms. Harlos. Ms. Harlos?
Hi, thank you. And thank you, Mr. Heiss. I noticed that your opening speech certainly mentioned legitimate accomplishments of the former chair. But to me, it went a bit overboard. And I'm wondering your opinion as to the depths or whatever of it. We have an investigatory committee for it, but there's public records already that, at least to me, seem to indicate, and let's just take them as true for sake of argument, even if you don't think they're true. What would you think if a chair, after being told by the LNC that they did not wish to continue to have the appearance of nepotism, the very next month signed a contract without informing the LNC that the owner of the company was in fact their domestic partner? And there's a second part to that. As chair, went and raised upwards of $1 million that didn't go to the LNC, that in fact went to elect candidates or candidate and their supporters of another party. You don't, I'm asking if you do, I don't want to lead a question. Do you find that to be a breach of either the duty of fiduciary, the duty of care, or the duty of loyalty? All of those are in fact legal duties of this body. Thank you.
Sure, I'm just flat out not going to speculate on things that are under investigation or comment on them. And I think that asserting things like that or asserting guilt on things like that prior to an investigation, if they end up being wrong, could end up actually being libelous. So I'm not going to be commenting on that. I don't think that's an appropriate question either.
Okay, really quickly, we're going to rein it in here. We're not going to comment on the appropriateness of questions or responses.
God, he's got the robo aids again.
What'd you say, Mr. Robo Chair?
LNC, that while it is agendized questions, the committee has not been formed. There's nothing currently under investigation, just to be clear. Okay, Ms. Hayes, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Hello, Mr. Hayes. Sorry, I was muted. Can you answer the same question I asked Mr. Nikela? What is your financial situation independent of the LP?
Sure. So I'm working multiple jobs, and however, though, I would not be doing chair unless I could do it full time and full throttle. So, I do have the support of members of the party, donors to the party, who want to see me carry out my vision full time because they saw that the first time I did that, I was very, very effective at fundraising, at bringing people into the party, at carrying out and executing on my plans. So, they want to see that again. And, so if I get the chair, I would be carrying through with that.
The Mises Caucus was very effective.
I'm confused about what you mean by that. Are you saying that they would donate to you to pay you to be chair?
Yeah, there are supporters that want to finance me to be chair because they want to see this vision.
And why have they not donated to the party?
Somebody else if
they are donors to the party.
That's not
but
a good
I can't speak to all of their financial decisions either. But they are donors to the party.
That's not good.
Would they be upping their donation to the party in addition to donating to you as chair?
I have no idea.
Okay. Do you find that conflicts at all with your duty to what your duty to the LNC would be, to take money from donors to finance your position as chair rather than allow that money to go to the LNC itself?
I want to go in there and troll.
I don't think I'd be allowing anything. I think people fund what they want to fund. So if they're already donors to the party, they're members, they're supporters, they want to see a chair be full time to carry out a vision and support that vision. So I think that's great.
That's
I think the fact that we have a membership that is so passionate about something like this, that they would do that for me, just the way they send in hundreds of emails in support.
Rob needs to do it. My heart to
I think that's great. And so I think
they
as
stopped
long
doing
as
anything the
you are
day they
maintaining
took
the
over
fiduciary
Tim.
responsibility that was talked before, and you are at the front of the line carrying out that mission, that's a great thing. We should want our chair to be full time.
I don't know. I saw it differently in Florida.
Would
we tried to do
you
a
be
lot,
disclosing
and
the
a lot of
names
people
all these
took their
donors
toys
on your
and went
conflict
home.
form?
I would disclose the names of all of the donors as soon as the board disclosed the names of everyone that signs their checks.
Okay, that's a problem.
And there's plenty of people that I know in the Florida Mises Caucus.
Thank you, Ms.
still
Hayes. Thank you,
are
Mr.
there
Heiss.
and
We
willing
will
to
move
do
on
well.
to Mr. Watkins.
There's just no
Yes,
support.
Mr. Heiss, how do you view the
So it kind of goes both
culture
ways.
of,
I understand what you're
the
saying,
LNC
but
specifically?
I see it both ways.
Do you think it's healthy or unhealthy? And if you, how
can't
would you
hear you
plan
if you're
on
talking,
having
Mitch.
a cohesive LNC if elected?
I'll answer that. And I'm going to kind of also answer the question that I'm sure is coming of like unifying the party. Like how would I intend to unify the party? As far as the culture of the board, I mean, I think it's on display pretty good tonight. Shutting down debate, shutting down comments from the public, talking about how, oh, well, we already know what the vibe is, and then not mentioning what was in all the hundreds of emails and all that kind of stuff. There just seems to be like a reticence to actually hear from the members or like give any credibility to the members. And I also think there's just a lack of, and I want to credit Steve for this point, a lack of direction. Like if you don't have goals, then it's hard to define a direction. It's hard to create a map from here to there. And so it is great that those goals were set, but I'm not exactly seeing any action from the board to carry out those goals, which again is why working with staff has been absolutely eye-opening because, on the board, it's just like,
so would they be the rebels or the
after
empire?
nightmare, negativity after negativity, and then you get into the staff meetings, and it's
Oh,
good news
okay.
after good news after good news after
They're
good
the
news,
Ewoks.
and everybody
No,
talks
they're
about
Jar-
the
no,
board
they
stuff, but
ain't-
nobody
they
ever
ain't as
talks
good as
about
the Ewoks. The
the
Ewoks
staff
the
stuff. So I find
Empire.
that to be
They're
very
fucking Jar Jar
unfortunate.
Binks race.
So how I would
Yeah,
intend
yeah.
to unify the party
Damn, what
is
was the
how I've
race
already done
that
it before,
Jar Jar
frankly,
Binks
is
came from?
I don't think you can unify for the sake of
Gungans, there you go.
unification. I think
Yes,
what you
that's
have
what
to
I was
do
saying.
is the best that
there
you
you
can
go.
do is
The LP Alliance
cast
are
a
the
vision,
Gungans.
be at the front of the lines executing
I'll
on
be
that
sure to bring
vision,
up that
do your
reference when
best
they
to
come on
find a
our
place
show.
for everybody to be in that vision, and let the fruits of acting that vision out speak for themselves and motivate people to come in behind you. And then to the extent that people don't want to be involved or don't want to, get on board with that mission, then, encourage them to form their own vision and compete. And we have a friendly competition of those visions that is based on productivity and expanding the interest of the party. And I think I have done that with what I have with the strategies that I built, not just Project Decentralized Revolution, but the issue coalition strategies and the teams that I've already stood up, the various teams that I've already stood up, and I'm in the process of standing up that cover issues and give people multiple methods of expanding liberty in real life, whether it's electorally or legislatively.
Thank you, Mr. Watkins and Mr. Heiss. We'll move over. Mr. Weir, have you gone this round? I don't believe you have.
No.
I have not, no.
We'll go, Mr. Weir.
Yeah, Mr. Heiss, you may have already answered this, but I was curious. This is kind of a two-part question. So the first part would be, if you were elected as chair, you had mentioned somebody potentially funding you in order to do that.
Oh, God damn it.
Does that mean that you would be
all right.
forfeiting your contract?
How do we make
with the
Rob
LP?
laugh on camera? That's the $20 challenge
yes,
thrown
absolutely.
down by Rob.
100%. I don't want any. Just to be clear, I have a plan with that too. And this is, I think, a key difference between myself and Steve. So if I can just answer this before you ask the next one. Absolutely, 100%. I would be renouncing my salary. I would not be accepting any money or taking any contracts from the party or seeking to do so. And a key difference that I have with Steve is that I actually don't think the thing that we need to do is hire a fundraiser. I think the complexities of our situation are too much to hire a fundraiser and then just kind of drop them into the data and that we do have and say, all right, get to work. I think it's a lot more complex than that. I would want to make a hire and in effect it would help fundraising. What I would want to hire, I would want to aggregate my salary with the salary that was cut from the call contract and hire somebody to oversee our initiatives, because I believe that fundraising
is he looking or is he
on
eating?
Value. And I think we have to offer value to people, especially people who are high dollar and successful people who have high standards for themselves that led them to be successful. We have to really come to them with a palette of value offers in the form
There's
of an
alcohol in
electoral
that
strategy,
drink.
of a ballot access strategy, of a legislative strategy that are active. So I would want to hire somebody to oversee those initiatives, because I believe that the initiatives being
Come on.
volunteer
Look at it. He's
efforts are the
stroking his
single
beard.
greatest point of failure. So if we have somebody working them and making sure they're productive, making sure they're producing good news, Defend the Guard passed 3 state committees this week, and we haven't even talked about it. So like things like that we then take to the donors, I think that is how
Send him a
we
picture
do
of
it.
a
And
naked
in
girl
fact,
with stumps.
the fundraising should be driven by the
Amputee
chair. I think the
nudes.
chair should then
Promise you
take
won't
that, be the networker in chief, and try to be the biggest fundraiser in the party. And that would be my goal, is to be that networker in chief, especially given the fact that, Steve had said he didn't have the connections. Well, I do. I have the support of the biggest voices in the libertarian movement who have been huge drivers of
Obviously, I can't share it on screen,
recruitment.
but I got one.
I'm friends with Dave Smith. I'm maintaining a friendship with Angela, who has carved out a network
sent him the
into the
amputee.
halls of power that
She's a nugget.
that includes
She's got no
RFK,
arms or
Tulsi
legs,
Gabbard, and Cash Patel.
but she's naked.
And we should be looking to expand into those networks, increase
We're trying to
our
make
power
Rob
and
laugh.
influence
That's
so that
the
we can use it
challenge.
for liberty. And I think I have those in ways that others don't.
Extra points
So
if you make
the
him
second part
cry.
to that question was, I appreciate.
I'm reading as fast as they come. I don't know what
I just
you want me
wanted
to do.
to ask. So since you had mentioned you're going to be funded by, people that are obviously Libertarian Party members, but they'll basically be saying like, hey, we'll front your bills if you do this. Doesn't that kind of mean that you're going to be obligated to uphold their interests since they're kind of funding your agenda? Are you willing to kind of just?
No,
Okay.
because the money would be up front, and I have made it very clear what my intentions would be. And I think since I serve at the pleasure of the board, if I was somehow, one day hyper-focusing on Project Decentralized Revolution and issue coalitions and data and all this stuff, and then all of a sudden I'm doing something crazy, I think it would be obvious, and then the board would have that option to remove me and do what they had to do at that point anyway. So no, I don't think so. I think the whole point is to one, have the money up front so that it can't be like a breadcrumb trail to do what you're describing, and it's an investment into my vision. And,
Thank you.
and again, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you answering my question.
All right, thank you, Mr. Weir. Thank you, Mr. Heiss. We are going to skip Ms. Harlos for right now, just because she kicked us off. We'll go to Mr. Lamb and then Mr. Dar and Miss Yanuskevich, and we'll circle back around.
Mayor
so
Robotnik coming back.
We'll get tired again.
Back in the
Mr. Lamb?
Let's
Hello,
go,
Mr.
cowboy,
Heiss.
ride it out
I'm
into the
very
sunset,
excited to
bitch.
speak with you. Unfortunately, like I indicated earlier, was not looking forward to you being nominated or anyone, quite frankly. So I just would like to hear more more specifically why that you think you would be a better chair over Mr. Amash, who had been
Amash said he
quoted quite
wanted
heavily
nothing to
on
do
social
with it.
media. Of course, we've spoken with Mr. Nikela. I think we've heard from him quite extensively. So please, if you don't mind.
Why are you better than Steve?
Yeah, so going off of some of Amash's public statements around the idea of running for chair, he has this concept of, well, we need to make the party electorally successful. And I suspect what he means by that is federal level elections. And we've been saying that and trying that for 50 years and getting 1% or less over and over and over again. Or, maybe we'll get 5% here or there or something like that with some of our federal level candidates. And I just don't think that is a strategy that has any data to suggest that there's success in it. And I think that given that we are a third party and that we have very, very, very scarce resources in time, energy, money, and manpower, that we have to economize those resources into the highest value propositions that we could possibly get.
Can't
And when
make
you
Rob
examine
laugh.
the
Someone
data,
has to give me
what
suggestions.
those high value propositions are very, very clear. And that is local level elections with teeth. That is the issue coalitions, and that is ballot access. And so we can maximize our efforts around those things that have a consistent pattern of success across time within the Libertarian Party, and then use that to create the value that we then use to inform a data strategy to target big donors and then start to cultivate the networks there. Just a commentary on fundraising. I don't think there's going to be a magic bullet for fundraising, and I don't think the fundraising is going to be fixed anytime soon, because unfortunately, I think fundraising is only going to be
Some
fixed
girl
with
didn't
the
work.
speed of
I don't know if he's
relationship
like
cultivation,
ignoring
which is
me
why I
or
think
what.
the chair needs to be full time to be the networker in chief.
He's looking at
So
something.
Kind of bringing that back around to your Justin Amash question. While I think Justin Amash could certainly raise the profile in a sense. I also
trying to
have
make Rob
serious,
laugh.
serious questions about his tactical outlook and his strategic outlook, given that he went from being the vanguard of political liberty in our country to being
I'm
out
sending him a chat right now
by the Mueller report, and now all of a sudden he's out of office. Thomas Massey is one of the
I
most
sent him a
popular
message that
legislators
said,
in the country. Rand
Pat
Paul
says
is the
Rob's
chair of the
stepsister for chair.
Homeland Security Commission
Come
or
on,
committee,
dude.
sorry, and
that's-
so they're gaining in power and influence while
Come
he is
on.
laid, and at the same time, the Libertarian Party itself has gained in power and
If the
influence and
camera
is freeing
starts rocking,
prisoners,
don't come knocking.
which I don't think is a strategy that he saw value in and would want to go backwards from that. I would not. So I think there's a lot of reasons there. But not to say that there wouldn't be benefits and that I don't have the utmost respect for Justin Amash. I think Justin Amash could be best served at leading the party by being a candidate and is probably the
I
person
don't think
best
so,
positioned
man.
in the country.
He's not
to
doing
win a
himself
federal
any
race
favors
as a-
right now.
as a
But I don't
libertarian.
know how.
Thank
I
you,
don't know
Mr.
how
Heiss.
movable the board is right now.
Thank you, Mr. Lamb. Thank you, Mr. Heiss. We will move over to Mr. Dar. Mr. Dar, you have
Do you
the
think
floor.
it's all Heiss?
Yes, Mr. Heiss, same question that I asked of Mr. Nikela. Who did you support publicly for president in the general election?
Rechtenwald.
Sure. Yeah, I supported Trump and voted Libertarian down the ballot.
Whoa!
I think voting is a tactical value, right? And how that worked in my state was
I was
that the
not
people that I
expecting
voted
him to
for
say
down
that.
ballot did more for ballot access than president. So in effect, I voted to free Ross, and I got what I wanted out of that because of the new strategy that was in place. And I've never gotten anything for voting for, in terms of liberty in real life, from voting for president before. So I understand the criticism of that or how that might sound strange, but I think it hurts the Libertarian Party very badly to demand absolute partisanship. And I don't think it's an attractive message to people that we would want to bring into the party. Because first of all, we don't want them to be partisans. You know what I mean? Like, we're asking them to leave the Democrat Party. We're asking them to be the Republican Party. So if we say, hey, you can't be a partisan over there, but you have to be a partisan over here, only when you're a partisan over here, there might only be one or two people on your ballot, and there's a very low chance of you winning. It's just not a very attractive message. I don't think it does much to build trust among society, which is something that we don't talk enough about. We talk a lot about our principles and stuff like that, but we have got to build trust in society to effectuate those principles. So I think the partisan demand is very unattractive to that.
And as a question, I thought as others asked question, as far as your needing to self-fund yourself through fundraising, how will you handle the inherent conflict of interest of needing to fundraise for yourself and the party at the same time?
Well, one, I would already have those donors in hand, so I wouldn't be out fundraising for myself. It would be an agreement that is already being worked out if this opportunity should present itself. So that would already be, because the whole point isn't for me to overburden myself and have to worry.
But
over
everybody
here
wants
and
a
take care of the party
raise.
over there. It's to fuel my vision. So in that sense, I would be full time, and I would be continuing on the data research that I've already been doing, the data program that has already been in place. And continuing that to start to form relationships with the targets that have already come out of the data research. And I'd be happy to talk more about that if anyone wants to ask me about it.
Thank you, Mr. Dar, and thank you, Mr. Heiss. We will move to Ms. Yanuskavich.
Okay, Mr. Heiss, I have a few questions. The first,
Gotta feel the vision with
being that
Kenneth.
I am on
Bitcoin
the
is preferred.
EPCC,
Less traceable.
I'm wondering if you get, if you are elected chair this evening, have you given
Couldn't
any
even get Mitch
thought
to
who will, and you said that you would be, resigning from your contractor position, how your functions would be picked up, given our limited staff at this time and limited funds.
Yeah, I described this earlier. Just the way that Steve said that he wants to make a hire for like a professional fundraiser. I also would want to make a hire, but not for a fundraiser. I would want to hire somebody to oversee our initiatives, because this might be this goes into something deeper than the question might seem. Essentially, what I have built out is an iterative process to build out the fundraising program, because I fundamentally believe, as I said earlier, that I think that our fundraising problems as a party are too complex for one person to just kind of come in and say, oh, well, who was given money 3 years ago and isn't now? that person might be liable to get their head screwed off by whoever they called. I think it's too complex. So essentially what I went out to do was create the support materials that make volunteering for the initiatives as easy as possible. Those initiatives then serve as the food, the value that we offer for the fundraising. So then the game was to create the skeleton for all of these initiatives and then get them stood up so that we have a palette of value to offer to the fundraisers or the prospective donors. And then from there, work the data program so that we can target high dollar donors and go really deep into research of their wealth background so that we can create a profile and find a pattern within their data to then form the basis of a marketing campaign to those people. And then I, as the chair, would be the one going to them.
Or Noda.
Yes, I would be doing that I would hire somebody to oversee those initiatives because, again, I think the initiatives being a volunteer effort is the greatest single point of failure and also is the value that upholds the fundraising in the first place. If you're not offering value, you're not going to be getting money from high value people.
I was trying to get the LP Alliance to do one as well.
Do you think this would be revenue neutral in terms of the amount of money that we were spending toward freedom calls?
I'm not exactly sure how much money it was spending towards freedom calls, but I think I've heard that the contract was like $4,000 a month. So that comes out to what, like $48,000 a year? Let's put it this way. I have a pile more of data research to do. I have already identified 160 people who would be targets for max value donations. Now, that's not to say we're going to get all of them, and it's going to move at the speed of relationship cultivation. But if we get even 5% of that, we are going to be, 5 timesing, 6 timesing the number of max donors that we have now. One max donor is 41,000. So yes, I think if we do this and it works, that we would be making more money. I just think it's going to be, again, at the speed of relationship cultivation.
Okay. Have you implemented any of these, initiatives to receive max donors at this time?
So I'm in the process of standing up the last 2 of them. And again, the whole point in this iterative process is you want to have them stood up so that you can provide the value. So really going to the donors within this framework is kind of the last thing. You have to set up all of that framework. So I have stood up the candidate support team. Aaron Lamb is chairing it as the most successful elected in the country, as far as I'm aware of. So he is doing that. I had elected or recruited about 40 people to help make phone calls.
I think he's done plenty
to all
of
the past elected libertarians to get to try to hit the goals that you guys have passed.
I don't even know if you would say that. Like
of try to get as many number of people running for local level office. He's also working to call up all of the elected libertarians so that we have that serve in these types of seats. These
targeted
seats, so that we can try to get them legislation for nullification, make sure they even understand nullification, and that we can create a feedback mechanism of as our electeds are in office and producing liberty legislation that we even know about it, because right now we don't even know what our electeds are doing or what the good news of their service is, so that we can then report on that and generate more white pills for people to engage with. So that was the first thing I did. And then I set up the Defend the Guard team. The Defend the Guard team, has been killing it. They were knocking doors in Maryland. They've Defend the Guard has passed committee in 3 states this week. So, that is killing it. That provides another, I have to veer off again. That provides another avenue for the fundraising that I'll get into. So then the next thing was to stand up the Sound Money team to support utilization of gold and silver and Bitcoin at the state level, as well as a psychedelics team, so that we're covering our bases of left and right to reach out to. And if I may go off course a little bit on fundraising again, the issue coalitions are very, very key, another key way for us to handle fundraising, because the data that we have, the membership data that we have, people tell us when they become members or renew their membership, to what 3 issues are passionate. They're passionate about.
Asked Rob
so
to
the more of these
beard
issue
once
coalitions you have, the more you can chop that data up by their own professed value in those issues. So if we have an active psychedelics thing, all the people who said, "Oh, drug war, boom, that's my issue," we then can go out and call those people, and we can sort that data because it's FEC compliant by occupation and employer. So we can start with the lawyers first, and that is something that we can hire fundraisers for.
The LPF money or the LNC money.
So the more of those issue coalitions, the more you can do that. We did try to do that with Matt Butts, but he didn't he didn't last long.
Yeah, because his
Right.
last name
So
is
how
Butts.
close are we to making those calls and getting some money back from those efforts?
Not close.
Well, the next thing, like I said, is standing up the psychedelic teams and the sound money teams. I am doing this part-time. So it's hard at 20 a week, 20.
I think
the
push
when you're
on
doing the job of
psychedelics
standing
is
up the
long
electoral
time.
strategy and the legislative
I don't
strategy
think it's
and the
gonna-
data
I don't think
strategy
it
and all
helps.
of this, it's pretty hard to do, part-time. So I would say within a couple of months, but
yeah.
I have also started the process of developing support materials.
Sorry, Barfo, I can't read. I'm
marketing
retarded.
materials for
You want
those
from me,
targets.
dude.
Okay. And I'm asking because, the Kennedy Victory Fund will be ending here in the near future, and we will need to do something to replace
Wish
that
Robert
income.
could move his camera
So,
closer. Yeah, if we want to see
I'm
up
sure
that
you're
nose.
aware that board members are required to report any potential conflicts of interest publicly. If you got the job tonight, for example, what conflicts would you be reporting tomorrow?
None.
Or this week?
Yeah, I don't have any conflicts of interest. I know there was concern about one contract that I had for 3 months with the American Values Pact. But as a contractor, I can contract with multiple places. I know I've talked to the FEC about it. I know the legal spoke with you guys about it, or at least you, Kathy.
What's the American Values
that is not a
Pact?
conflict
Who
of
runs
interest.
that?
But I suspect that would be brought up, and I'm okay with that. American Values is a nonpartisan organization that's looking at perhaps supporting libertarian candidates in the future, and I would love to maintain a relationship with them as chair to that effort. And I know Larry Sharp was over there working, and in fact, I had a conversation with Larry Sharp recently about coming back and doing some ballot access fundraising for the party.
Well, sure, and you and I have had this conversation. I mean, I was concerned about that not being reported. Potential. The issue is the potential conflict.
Whoa,
It was reported.
LP
I
Alliance
told you
chat
personally,
says
so I did report it.
82%
Yes, you
gonna
did,
win.
but you did not report it to the board.
Our chat
And
says
we-
no to
I
67%.
reported it to you. I reported it to the chair. I reported it to multiple members of the board. I sought
Heiss
counsel
is
from
not
the
winning
FEC.
either
They said it
poll.
wasn't a conflict of interest.
Yeah,
I know you spoke with legal. They
because
said it wasn't a
people wanna
conflict of
vote for
interest.
what
So
they
I don't
want to
know what
happen,
there
not
is
what
to
actually is gonna
Yeah.
happen.
what the
All
issue
right,
is.
fine. Then the three of
Right.
us.
Well,
Who's gonna win? I
it
don't
was
think
it
Heiss
was my
wins.
understanding until
So you're with Heiss. I'm
last
against.
week or so that
Not against,
there was
but
an
I'm saying he's
addendum
gonna
to your
lose.
contract
Mitch.
regarding it, and you
What?
did not
You
sign
can't-
that. Apparently, it was not offered to you.
We will
I
see.
did not
Thanks,
receive any
Mitch.
such
You're the
thing.
best.
Put your
I love
nuts
you.
on the table.
Love you, Mitch. You're the best.
So,
Thanks,
so
Jared.
it
Good
is
move.
your. I
We'll see.
understand from your answers to Mayor
I'll go with
Hey,
Heiss.
questions
Big
that
Heiss?
and red pill,
you don't
Mitch.
feel
Very gangster of
that
you. I
you would
respect
have
it.
to report
yeah,
any
whatever.
potential conflicts of interest based on income received from people
I'm gonna
who
quick.
may or may
Plenty
not
of
be
shit.
current donors to the LP, but who are wanting to fund your vision. Is that correct?
Well, I don't. You threw the word conflict of interest in there. I don't know where that is coming from. No, what I said was that I would be willing to disclose the names of the people funding me as soon as everybody on the board discloses the names of who signs their checks.
Well,
So I would do it, but I would want you to do it too first.
Well, I
Deal.
have.
Fine. I'm in.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
know
getting
who signs
any
my
income.
checks. It's a
I'm
big corporate
retired.
company. Fuck you. What are you gonna do?
Well, all right,
Well,
with one down.
Okay,
We're one
but
down. Now we need the rest.
can we agree that someone who receives their income from Wendy's, for example, is different from somebody receiving
They're still going.
income from donors
Jesus.
of the party?
No, I think business runs on private investment.
Sure, but there's
I'm a libertarian.
I vote the
requirement
Wendy's guy
to
only if he
reveal
caters the
those.
events. He
I mean-
buys Wendy's
No,
for
there's
the
no
women's
requirement for that.
NCAA volleyball.
You don't
But-
believe that there's a requirement?
Is that true?
To
I'd believe it.
to report
Yeah, no.
your
If I'm
potential conflicts?
just the same way that you
The tr-
don't have to know the people who
his
sign my
PAC is
checks. Sure,
relays,
it's Wendy's,
jack
but who
shit,
signs the checks?
Less than a
Who
million.
signs? You know what I mean? So like,
Okay,
I
everybody
don't
in the
think it's
Libertarian
different. I
Party
think you're
says less
trying to
than a
make it
million.
different.
Over
And
half
I think
your
you're
revenue,
motivated to make it
50 for
different.
the
But
last
I
year.
think the
He raises
situation
jack
in the
shit.
party is that this is a tactic
It's
that
definitely
is
fallen
used.
off.
That the logical conclusion is that we are either
Libertarians
only
and
going to have
Republicans need to
destitute
come
chairs, or we're
together
going to have
for a
independently
range
wealthy
day.
chairs, and basically cut off the pool of available talent.
I just don't
Or
want to be at the
part-time chairs.
range.
Sorry, that's the
Costs
third
too
option.
much.
Part-time chairs. So if we want a full-time chair, I think we've got to stop treating like people making money as this like weird thing or this bad thing.
No
It's a
need
good
to
thing.
fact check.
I mean, we're capitalists. We want to make money. We want people to succeed. We want people to have thriving families and be able to work hard doing it. I don't understand.
Well, I think that's a mischaracterization. I think that there's a big difference. I'm all for.
But then why is this like a probing thing? I don't understand.
Because we are currently dealing with some conflict of issue.
But that is allegedly about a contract that was not disclosed. This would be completely private with nothing to do with the party.
Okay, well, that is what I am trying to understand. If you think,
I stated that I would not be
different.
taking money from the party. I would not be seeking money from the party. I would not be seeking contract. This would be completely between me and people who want to make
Karen's
sure
smiling right
that
now.
all of
She
the
likes this
details
line of
that I have
questioning.
explained in this conversation that have not been explained anywhere else, no vision like what I just explained has been explained anywhere else, can be done to the fullest of their capacity while also
I don't think he
maintaining the
wins it,
networks and
man.
connections that Angela has forged and
It's
also
too
that I have
many-
on my own through the
too many
Liberty
questions
movement.
that
So I
reflect
think I offer
negatively.
something very unique in that we should be happy that there are people who are so passionate to make that full time because I haven't heard it from anywhere else.
We'll see.
I haven't seen.
And just for the record, I am not against people making
I said,
money,
"Fuck you,
capitalism,
motherfucker."
and so forth. But
thank you.
We do have conflict
Keep
of
talking
interest
like that,
rules
we'll see.
and reporting of potential conflicts. And there's a difference between receiving that money and not, and that being a great idea and reporting that.
Right, but this is why. So, like for example, one thing I would do as chair is we have an attorney on retainer. We can just ask his opinion. Hey, is getting private funding to be chair?
How do we get robbed the job as the attorney on
like
retainer?
this isn't something like this is a CNN tactic that's being used right now, and I think the people who see this video are going to understand that.
Kathy
Well,
was
we'll
removed.
see. I'm watching some comments in another chat, and I don't think it's being taken that way. But
You're
thank
watching
you.
the LP Alliance chat.
Thank you,
Hi,
Ms.
Kathy.
Yanuskevich. Thank you, Mr. Heiss.
I'm going to say
we will move to Mr. Ford, then we will circle back around. I think we're back at the beginning here. So Mr. Ford will be the last of the original comments, I believe, the first time.
Same thing you used to
I'm gonna
accuse
pass right now.
Starwalk and JBH of.
Okay.
You're no better
All
than
right,
JBH
I will put your
and
hand down
Starwalk.
right now.
You're
Please
just
feel
bending
free
over
to
backwards and giving
raise
the
it again.
fag
Ms.
donors their
Hurlis.
fucking way.
Okay, this is
Now
going
you're
to
gonna be a
be
fucking donor fucking cuck too, and you're gonna give whatever fag donors give you money their fucking way too.
I have
It's
to
a
just tell you
weak-ass
personally, which
answer.
will be no surprise to you, that I
To answer your
believe
question,
that
no,
a staff
Bucko, I did
member
not Google anything you
endorsing
said.
Trump was already a huge
Just
problem,
saying.
and defending that as a
No,
chair
nobody Googled what you said.
candidate,
Sorry,
I
Bucko.
believe is
Let's make this a little
unconscionable.
bit better.
I'm wondering if you're aware that the bylaws actually do
Oh,
require
shit.
the
Here come the
LNC
bylaws
to be
again.
partisan, and basically what you were advocating was against the bylaws. So I would like your opinion on that. The job of a presiding officer is to respect the rules of the party. The second
Wipe
thing I'd
that
like you to
smear off
address
your
has been
face,
touched on by, I think,
1940,
multiple people,
and tell me
is
what you see when you look at your screen. Okay.
when the
I'll Google that.
LP is your job and it's not coming
Wipe
from
that
directly from the
smear
LP. For instance, if we were blessed
face,
enough to be able to
1940.
pay LNC members, but from outside donors, leaving those donors,
It looks like Malagon.
it's a temptation.
Is that what I'm supposed to see?
that we've
Because it
seen
looks like
already,
Malagon.
I think, some bad fruit. That's from public
Oh
records.
shit! I want to post it
And
in
I
our
note that
Discord.
you
I'll drop it
refuse
in
to
the
answer
everyone
that
general,
question
so everyone can see what I'm looking at.
before.
But
Do
there
you
go.
believe it's the job,
Is that what I'm
and
supposed to
this kind of
see?
circles back to the bylaws, of the chair to support the national candidate, even if you don't like them? And one correction, I actually spoke with Mr. Amash, and I do not believe he properly characterized
You
his
see
beliefs.
it?
I'm not saying it was intentional.
Jesus Christ.
But he certainly does believe in running local candidates and focusing on local races.
Yeah, I also have had conversations with him, and what I was told is that nobody cares about local. And I mean, granted, this was a few years ago,
Yes, okay.
but I do
All
think
right,
it's a
good.
significant difference. But I'm sorry, there was like 2 or 3 questions. Can you?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
sure.
send it to Rob
So
and say
I almost want to
Malagon.
just drop in the alliance,
It-
like
Would I follow the rules of supporting the
Y'all
candidate?
could've
Yeah,
just
I mean,
voted
I
me
wasn't on
vice
the board.
chair, and
If I was
instead
on
of
the board, of
Rutherford, we
course, I
could've
would have to
avoided
follow the
this whole
rules, and
shit.
I think the chair and the board did.
oh, you think the chair properly supported Chase Oliver under the bylaws? Is that your opinion?
Yes.
Yes,
There
I
we
think
go.
that is.
Oh,
We'll see if-
okay. Well,
we'll see
that's
if Rob-
thank you.
Oh,
You knew what he was going to say.
I think suing the LNC is disqualifying.
Yeah, I think attacking
Whoa!
LNC members that are asking you questions is too, but that's your opinion.
Let's stop here. Okay, we're going to move on to, we have Miss Hayes and then Mr. Watkins. Miss Hayes, I believe you're muted if you're speaking.
God, I wish this would just.
Oh, my
end.
apologies, Mr. Heiss. I wanted to
We're
ask.
almost
You've
there.
been working. You mentioned.
No, we aren't. It's been
Psilocybin
over
or
30 minutes.
Psychedelics. Defend the Guard, I believe, is one of your projects as well. PDR. Can you speak a little bit, like, for example, about how local races went for you guys, or for you from your perspective? Anything that you worked on this last election cycle, as well as Defend the Guard and any sort of psychedelics measures.
Sure. So defend the elections, I can't really speak to. I know Michigan had some very good results. I think another guy was elected in Maryland, but at that point in time of like last election, at that point I was standing up the support materials for the different initiatives, and I was hired at like the end of 24, so it was it was very, very difficult to be able to stand up a program to support the candidates. And
did we make him laugh?
I didn't see. What I was saying earlier about the kind of the iterative process of you create the materials, then you create the initiatives, and then you do the data research, and then you go out and start to create the relationship. I focused on that instead, and that's what I was hired to do, and what I explained in a document before I was ever hired.
Can you explain to me? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I did that. Defend the Guard is going very, very well. I mean, as you guys know, last cycle that it had, passed multiple state houses, multiple state senates, multiple state committees. The phone banking efforts of that had just started recently in the past 3 committees. I believe Pete Hegseth has restated his interest in it. I know I called a state senator here that was interested in it, let her know the good news so we could try to push it forward here. And I think I stood up, I called and got together, I think about 20 people for that particular team, and also have them volunteering with Bring Our Troops Home. So a key effort of these issue coalition strategies is to not be working in isolation, but to be working with outside groups that are focused on these issues, so that we can really be effective and form those coalitions, and again build that trust and branch out into these new networks to start talking with people and build trust.
Just a clarifying question for my because I'm ignorant on this. When you keep using the term standing up, what are you talking about with that? I'm sorry, I don't.
So you when you create the initiatives, first you have to create a skeleton of like, okay, what's the end goal? What are the tactics employed? What do we want to do? Can we fundraise off it? What would be the fundraising goals of those tactics? Who are we going to work with? What's the name of the campaign? Can we get the URL for that campaign?
You like that one?
That's the first thing.
You like that one?
And then once you have all of that, then you can start the process of calling people and explaining that skeleton to them and getting them aboard and getting their volunteers. And then once you have the volunteers together, then you have to start the process of having their first meeting and
that is why we are here.
Getting their efforts together. Maybe we have to have them rank order the different tasks at hand. So that you can start to delegate those tasks by passion to the people who are involved in doing it. So, that is the process of standing up, and I've been doing, that's what I've been doing. So did that for, doing it for Project Decentralized Revolution was a bear. And that was always going to be the toughest one, because I did, these kinds of interviews with state parties across the country, trying to explain the whole thing. And I had to develop that presentation that's an hour long, so that was always the electoral strategy being the most detailed and nuanced one was always going to be the hardest one. And then you bang out the issue coalitions. And then I've also simultaneously worked on some of this data stuff so that we can have at least some targets, right now. And then, there's, when you're doing the data research, patterns emerge in the data that you're looking for that constitute the basis of a marketing campaign to that data. So then that has to be developed. Like, this is all very complex stuff. I don't think it's as simple as like, oh, we're just going to get a fundraiser. Nobody has explained this kind of detail. Like, that's the thing that's so shocking to me, is that I've come up with all of this, and we're the people on the board have
You?
not been doing the fundraising, and I've been
Singularly?
developing all of this, and no one's come to the staff meeting and even knows about it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hayes. We will go to Mr. Watkins now.
Yeah, just to touch back on
Fuck, Mayor.
You gotta
conflict of interest with
Them's the
private
rules, yeah.
donors, donating to
Them's
you.
the
There
rules.
have been
Listen,
members,
Mayor
previous members of the
Robotnik's getting
LNC
ready to
and
come back.
possibly
I
current
saw his
members of
hand
the
go up.
LNC that both receive donations from members of the party or have donated to members of the party. Do you see those? Do you see that as different than private donors donating?
No, and specifically, I remember when there was an effort to
Come up with all this. Yeah, it's
stop
all him,
Karen Ann
bro.
Harless from receiving Patreon supporters, and that was a big fight. And she fought to preserve those Patreon supporters, and I fought with her to support those Patreon influencers because I believe in us making money. I believe in us, having everything that we need to pursue our passions in this party because we need it. We're so resource deprived, we're so manpower deprived that we need it. And I would fight for Karen Ann again, even though we have parted ways for that, because it's just the right thing. We need it.
Thank you, Mr. Watkins. Thank you, Mr. Heiss. Mr. Lamb.
Yes, unfortunately, Mr. Watkins has taken my own question. I understand that both Secretary Ms. Harlos as well as the outgoing chair had both taken Patreon donations. So that was my main question regarding the conflict of interest with the donations regarding individual that had chose to give to their Patreons. So thank you, Mr. Heiss, for answering that question.
Take a drink every time High says
Thank you,
something
Mr.
stupid.
Lamb. We will move to Ms.
You can
Harless.
say that for the whole fucking LNC, bro.
When you say you don't see a difference,
Oh, sorry.
not to invoke my name,
Yeah,
I
sorry.
really intend upon speaking again.
Sonic ran his ass over too many times.
One thing, you don't see a difference between people paying you to enact your vision as chair and people who are just supporting a channel that has absolutely nothing to do with supporting what I do as secretary. I don't claim it's to support any vision as secretary, and in fact,
I don't draw the distinction. I think you should be getting support for whatever you need.
Let's not interrupt.
Yeah, I was still.
Everyone stop. Everyone stop. Let's not interrupt question askers or question takers. So, Ms. Harlos, please finish, and then Mr. Heiss, please give your uninterrupted answer, but let the question play out, please.
Yeah, I have to say that I do see a difference between who's paying somebody's day job or who's paying for somebody's whatever other kind of income they do. And I'm like, Kathy, I firmly believe in capitalism. But if you are specifically saying that they're paying you to be chair, that is different than somebody getting paid to serve the best chili on earth or to deliver up content.
This lady makes my dick itch.
It's much different if I was asking to get paid a secretary. If I was asking to get paid a secretary, I would disclose every single person that paid, because that is something that is directly related to the LP that cause undue influence. So I would like you to explain why you don't think it's different. And
we get all
to
this
explain
gay fag lefty fucking
your understanding, or if you're aware, don't say go ask the attorney. I'm asking your particular opinion
so we
of
got a message like that. They
the duty
demanded
to disclose that's in our policy manual, and that is just in general non-profit duty law. And if you familiarize yourself at all with that, like any articles on the duties of nonprofit boards.
Tens of thousands every year to make sure.
So as far as the first question, I think it's an arbitrary distinction because it all goes to the same pile. Whether or not your Patreon is about knitting or your secretarial work, you are in fact the secretary, and you have the same bills regardless. So you are getting paid and you are being the secretary. You're getting grassroots support. So I mean, are you saying that if I make a Patreon, make it about knitting, and then the same people who would just form a contract
I still have
with me, or
3 RFK
maybe a consulting contract with me to do this or something like that. Instead of doing that, if they just gave that same money to the Patreon. I think you can see where I'm going here, where this is completely arbitrary, and it's very unfortunate to hear you echoing the arguments that were used against
Mario. Holy shit,
but
bro.
no, I don't see how I have to answer the question. I I guess it's not that I don't have to answer the question. I just don't understand how I have to answer for, oh, are you allowed to have a contract? Are you allowed to, like that's
like
I
what?
thought we champion contracts.
Well,
Like
good thing-
I genuinely don't understand.
Okay, well, good thing that isn't what I said, but I believe my question stands on its
Right.
own, and I don't wish to bicker.
Come on, Robotnik.
So here's where we're at right now. I see 3 hands up. One person
Wrap
hasn't
it up.
spoken yet, I believe, but we are at just over, I think we're at 45 minutes now, so 5 more
Yes, you've
than
been more
Mr.
than
Nicola
generous.
got.
Let's go.
We can I have no problem continuing with the next 2 questions if Mr. Heiss has no
Wrap it
objection
up,
to that, or
B.
the LNC doesn't, or we can come back to order
Wrap it
and
up.
we can move to a vote. I have no problem letting
God,
Mr.
we need that
Ford, Mr.
fucking
Lamb play out,
Oscars.
Mr.
Play it off
Nana. So
music.
let's just do this then. Actually, we have 3 hands up, and then that's it. We're going to call it. Is there any objection to that on the LNC from Mr. or Mr.
That's the
Heiss?
best picture I've ever
Yes,
seen
I
in my life.
object. At this point, I think we're just going around in circles over and over again on things that have already been addressed. So I object to continuing.
I'm inclined to agree, but I do want to make sure that there's general consensus here.
One more from Robotnik.
Are we
and let's go.
okay with just coming back to order and then moving forward with this vote now? I do agree that I believe we're going around in circles now.
Yes.
Are we is there any
One
strong
last
objection?
Can I make one last comment on the fundraising thing? Very
Hold on,
quick.
no. Mr. Heiss, you're already over time. Mr. Nicola only got 40 minutes. We're at 45 now. So
I'd be
can
leaving
we-
a job to
can we
do
come
this.
back to-
I'd
Mr.
be leaving a
Heiss,
job to do this.
Mr. Heiss,
Nice. Good job.
are we okay coming back to order?
He knows
Yes.
how to
Yes.
squeeze it in.
Yes.
I'd like to have a chance
I'm
to ask a
gonna-
question.
I object.
I'm going to call us, Mr. Ford. You had your chance. Then, so your vote can reflect whatever. It seems that I'm going to read the room here, and it seems that the majority of people are kind of over this now. We're going around in circles. We're over time already. I'm going to call us back to
Way
order
over time.
at 10:13 Eastern time. We are now back in session. I'm going to put the hands down, and
Yeah.
we are going
Luckily
to.
for me
I
and
think
Adrian,
enough
it's
debate
like
has been
7,
had,
8 o'clock
and
at
we are
night
going
out
to
here,
move
like,
to straight to
God
a
bless
vote. So
you
whenever the
guys
secretary is ready,
out on the
if she could
Coast
pull up the
who are dealing
ballot,
with this
we will
bullshit.
go ahead and move forward to a vote. This will be
Sun's
by
I have no
name.
objection about the
So-
timing.
Dark now
I'd like the
here
opportunity to.
When
Southeast Arizona.
Mr. Ford, you are out of order. The chair is speaking.
Yeah, shut the fuck
When
up,
we move
Ford.
forward
Shut
to
up,
the
filibuster Ford. Chevy's better anyway.
Ah, I got the
you will be
AIDS.
called upon by the secretary. You will give a name, and then we will go ahead and that will be your recorded vote. Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to take a 20-minute break so that I can poll my chairs. If
Oh.
that's
Objection. Objection.
Stop. Everyone stop. Everyone stop. Okay, there is a motion on the floor to recess for 20 minutes. We just got back into session. Is there a second for that motion? The motion dies for lack of second. Mr. Lamb?
Shit.
Yes, I would just like to motion that technically, I evidently have not been appropriately in this
Actually-
meeting, as Secretary Carlos has indicated that she let it slide to allow me into this meeting. So I think most of this meeting has been out of order.
What?
Your objection, or I don't know what that was.
Is
I don't know if it was
noted
inquiry
and
or point of order.
disregarded. Come on.
So I guess your vote won't count. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying it certainly.
I don't believe you've been on the
seems-
prevailing side, Mr. Lamb. So if you're saying that your presence here as voting member is something that is out of order by your own admission, then your vote is irrelevant. Not that you've been on the prevailing side for anything anyway.
The only time it would make a difference is if your vote made a difference. So
Correct.
your mere
This is American
presence of an
political cinema at
illegitimate
its
potential
finest.
vote does not invalidate a whole meeting, but nice try.
That is, I don't know. If that's nice.
As the alternate in that case.
Let's come back to order. Everyone stop. Mr. Watkins.
Being that we're out of time, I move to adjourn.
No, when you're out of
motion to
time, you
adjourn
move
is
directly
always
to
in
a
order.
vote. That's what happened.
It's true.
There's a I'm sorry.
Motion
Hold on.
to adjourn
Let's.
is always in order.
Hold on. So there's been a
Jesus
motion
Christ.
to adjourn.
Just
Is there a second?
Second. Here we go.
So-
Oh, it's a couple
okay,
seconds.
There's been a motion to adjourn.
We're having a vote.
Who is the second? I'm sorry.
We're having a vote, boys.
Mr. Boss.
Mr. Boss. So
Mr.
Mr. Watkins has moved to adjourn.
Travi, one
Mr.
of
Boss
our
has
swamp
seconded.
boys.
Let's
Let's
see what
just
happens.
Actually, we're going to do this by hands. Will the secretary stop sharing the screen? Because I think we all know how this is going to go.
I object.
Going to do this
I
by
would
hands
prefer a
here.
roll call.
Yeah. Roll call.
Very well. We will move to a roll
call
call
it.
vote. So this is a
Yep.
motion to adjourn made by Mr. Watkins, seconded by Mr. Boss.
Like,
When the secretary's ready, we will.
Adrian
Let's
sounded
just
like
keep
me
wasting
in my
everyone's
final
time.
week months as chair.
Madam Secretary, whenever
All
you're
right,
ready.
fuck it. Roll call vote. Let's do it.
You want to waste our time? Let's go.
You'll have to unmute. I'm sorry, you're muted.
We got to have a motion about the motion, but
Mr.
there's
Boss.
an amendment to the motion.
Yes.
Here we go. Ah,
Mr.
fix
Dar.
it. Yes, that's right. Fix
No.
it for the formula. Let's
Mr.
go.
Gassing.
Yes.
Mr. Ford.
Yes.
Mr. Garcia.
Pass.
What?
I will vote no.
No, we have to vote now.
Mr.
Let's get it
Lamb.
over with now. This is a motion to adjourn.
Yes.
Mr. Chatterton, will your
Yes,
vote be
Ms.
the same as
Fuck
Mr.
all
Lamb's?
this. We sat through all this bullshit for nothing.
Yeah, we're about to adjourn right now. Is this really about to happen?
Well, Mr. McGee.
No.
Oh my God.
Mr. Nana.
Oh my God,
No.
McGee.
Mr.
McGee's gonna
Michaela.
get removed. I
No.
guarantee you within the
Mr.
next
Redpath.
couple weeks.
No.
They're
Mr.
probably
Benson.
gonna remove Matt
Yes.
too.
Mr. Watkins.
Yes.
Ms. Yanuskavich.
No.
Oh damn. Where
Mr.
are we at?
Garcia.
Oh,
I vote
the
yes.
yeses have it, bro.
Mr.
It don't
Chair,
It's
even-
half.
it is tied.
It's half. No.
The
Vote.
chair will vote nay. The
Yeah!
motion
Let's
proceed
go!
immediately to the chair's vote.
Malagon for the win.
So
Oh,
reiterate while the secretary gets the ballot ready. Again, she
Here
will
we
call on your name.
go,
You will
dude.
give your
Just
preference
wanted
for
to
Mr. Heiss,
end.
Mr. Michaela. You may
This is a
abstain
live
or
action
no.
movie
Those are
being
your
shot
options.
for
This
all
is
of us
awesome.
Madam
all the
Secretary,
time.
whenever you're ready.
Enjoy it, boys.
We are not taking
Enjoy
order.
the
We're
I'm
not
having a-
dilatory at this
labor.
point. Everyone understands the assignment. Unless
I'm
you do
having
not
a
understand the
gay time.
assignment, we're going to proceed. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Spanish is my first language, and I understand the assignment. So,
Yeah.
Madam Secretary, if you would.
Oh, he's a
Mr.
Latino.
Excuse me, Mr. Boss.
Sí, señor.
I thought he was Asian.
Mr. Heiss.
No, papi. Mexicano.
Mr. Dar.
They just
Ah.
look fucking Spanish because
Mr.
they interbred
Nicola.
with the Chinese.
Mr.
during the
Nick.
Gassing.
Okay, wait. Who's gonna win?
Pass.
Who's gonna win?
Mr. Ford.
Pass. I'm trying to poll my numbers.
Why are you
Mr.
trying
Garcia.
to fast
Garcia.
right
All
now?
y'all pussies make a fucking
Say it.
I'm going to go
Right.
for Nicola. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm going to vote for Stephen Nicola.
Of course you will. Next.
Yeah.
Mr. Lamb.
Nice.
I would like my vote recorded as Heiss as well as alt.
Okay, I will make sure that is in the minutes, Mr. Chatterton. Mr.
gives
McGee.
Fuck.
Mr. Nicola.
Mr. Nana.
Oh damn,
Mr.
Nicola
Nicola.
might win. Look at
Mr.
this.
Nicola.
I'll vote for myself.
Of course you
Mr.
will.
Redpath.
It's over, dude.
Nicola.
It's
You're
over.
supposed to recuse yourself.
It's
Benson.
over. It's over. It's over.
Nice.
Mr. Watkins.
He has 7 votes.
Heiss.
Ms. Yanuskavich.
Oh
Yes,
my
Gavin.
God,
I'm
Nicole's
sorry,
our chair pro tem.
no. Nicola.
I'm sorry, Ms. Yanuskavich, voting for yourself. You're not an option here unless I missed something.
I was reading my name.
Mr. Dassing.
Nicola.
Heiss.
Mr. Ford.
Still working on it. Pass.
Madam
You're the
Secretary,
You're the
if you
last
could-
one.
if you could please record me as Mr. Heiss as well. I know it doesn't matter, but I'd like it to be on the record.
It's over.
Okay, that I will do that, but this is not going to. The reason it was with Chatterton is because of the question of Mr. Lamb's vote. But I'll do that as a courtesy. But this is not something I'm going to be doing regularly. Mr. Ford.
I'll vote for Michael Heiss.
Thank you.
6-2.
It doesn't
Thank you.
matter.
Mr. Chair Pro Tem, the votes are
6-8.
make sure I'm counting correctly. Yes, 6 for Heiss, 8 for Nicola. Do you wish to vote?
No.
The chair will cast a vote here. Before I do, I would just like to draw Region 1 chairs and some other people of interest attention to I've recently taken up Lego sets, and you see the Nano Gauntlet and the Thanos Gauntlet.
What the fuck is this shit?
#1 for
Shut
region 1.
up!
I'm not really quite sure, but they
Dilatory.
are, they're very nice there. So with that, I will cast my vote for Mr. Nikela. Congratulations, Mr. Chair.
Oh my
The vote passes for Mr. Nikela.
Nikela is
9
the chair of
to
the
6
LPF.
to 0 to
Or
0.
the LNC, sorry. I keep doing
Thank
that.
you very much, Mr. Malagon
That
and
was a shot. That
Libertarian
was a
National
shot over the
Committee.
bow at all the
I
other
look forward
chairs
to
in
working with you,
Region
and I won't
One.
let you
Like,
down.
just remember, I
Thank
can
you,
turn
Mr.
around
Nikela.
and snap my fingers and fuck all
And
you and make
I
half of you
do.
disappear
I
instantly.
would ask Mr. Malagon, Chair Pro Temp, if he could
still
maintain
here,
the gavel on the
don't
next
forget.
vote, because I do have a
I'm not
nomination.
aligned with anybody.
Certainly. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I will keep the
Nikela
gavel
for chair.
at your direction. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the vice chair's election. So Mr. Nikela, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Malagon. I would like to nominate Mr. Paul Dar for Vice Chairman of the Libertarian National Committee.
Okay, so we are at open nominations for the office of vice chair. Mr. Nikela has nominated Mr. Dar. Are there other nominations for the office of vice chair?
Well, Heist didn't win it. Take a drink.
I nominate Andrew Watkins.
Jesus.
Mr. Lamb has nominated Watkins.
Malagon voted Nikela because it didn't
Okay.
matter.
Yeah,
I
I'll accept.
want to know how
I'll
he
accept
would have
it.
voted if it was
Okay,
tied.
that was interesting. Okay, so we have 2 nominations. Are there any other nominations? Going once, going twice. Okay, nominations are now closed. Mr. Dar.
Thank God.
I hope we didn't lose Mr. Dar.
Wait.
No, I just came back on here. Thank you very much.
Mr. Dar, do you accept your nomination for
Put Heist
vice
as
chair of
vice
the Libertarian
chair.
National
Come
Committee?
on. Nominate.
Yes, I do.
I'm going to tell him.
Excellent. Would you like to speak to your nomination for up to 5 minutes?
No, they're
Yes, I would.
Are they?
I'll try to keep it brief, though. In the interest of time, we've been here a long time tonight. I have been a member of the party for a long time, and we're currently in a time of the greatest division I've seen. We've had division many times throughout the party, and I would like to reach out and work with Mr. Nikela to help bring the party back together here. I have experience as an executive here in Texas, as an executive in California for some
It's funny
time.
as shit.
I've been
Yeah,
a county
no.
chair.
Sir,
in
this
California,
is a
been
Wendy's.
on,
Now.
county committee out here in Texas. I've held various levels of
Yeah, that is pretty
participation
funny. I'll give
within
you
the
that one.
party. I believe
Wendy's for the win.
I'm positioned to
Yeah.
help Mr. Nikela to help us mend our fences across the party right now, and would really like to do so with the party. I would like to help achieve his goals and returning
he's
the
only got a
party
year.
to being able to
How bad did you fuck
fundraise
it up?
like we need to be able to run candidates across all the states to further our candidate outreach as we want to be able to have membership once again raised. By ending the divisions within the party, we can help bring
That
the
won't
party
happen.
together and
Yeah.
to reach the goals that he has set. I'll
Let
see
the
the rest of my
memes
time.
flow
Thank
through
you.
Yeah. Wendy's.
Thank you, Mr.
is
Dar.
now in
Mr.
control of
Watkins,
the LP.
do you accept your nomination?
Yeah, I'll accept if if there's people that would like to see my name put forward, that's fine. I
He's out. Dar's gonna win.
have worked with staff a lot in the past. I'm probably the only LNC member that regularly attends staff meetings. But I don't have any. If those vote against me, I don't take that personally. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Watkins. So we can do a couple of things here. I'm going to read the room. So I can make the same motion that I made before, where we
No 30 minutes.
we
You better
recess
fucking not.
at the call of the chair, and we have another Q&A here. Or if people want to
No
go straight to a
Q&A.
vote, we can do that.
Vote.
If there's anyone that wants the former, we will go ahead and do that. If there's anyone that prefers the latter, we can do that. So we can just go straight to that. So I'm going to just do kind of an informal poll here and read the room. Raise your hand if you would like to go into a similar session that we went into for chair and for chair, but for vice chair.
No.
With
you, Mayor.
with qualifications. So I'll raise my hand, but I'd like to explicate.
Okay, so Mr. Lamb has just shown favor for that. So Ms. Harlos, if you'd like to speak.
I would like to, but time limited. And shorter. It's getting late for people.
5 minutes.
10 minutes?
I think 10 minutes each. I personally don't. I might have some questions after hearing others, but like if everyone just promises to keep it succinct, I do think we need to hear from both candidates, and it's fair.
No! Object!
Okay, so but before I make my motion, with the understanding that it will be limited to 10 minutes per candidate, and then we will come out of the recess and go to a vote, I will move to recess.
No, I
at
fucking
the
hate them. I
call
just
of the
with
chair.
burning passion.
Mr. Magaline, I do object to it being time
We'll do-
limited.
And it's all just a waste of time.
So it's Malagon. Okay, so
Like,
we can
look at
do
Rob.
a roll call
Rob,
vote for this.
same
I mean,
here. Same here.
you can object to it.
Same here.
I'm not sure that you're quite reading the room here, Mr. Lamb, and that's fine. You wouldn't be the first libertarian to not be able to read a room. That's absolutely fine.
I'm
But
just gonna.
I would.
Sorry, I'm just gonna withdraw my name because I do not want to drag this out.
Thank you.
Okay,
Watkins
so Mr. Watkins has
withdraws.
withdrawn and just to confirm, Mr. Watkins, you are removing your name from consideration.
Correct.
Yes, he's ending it.
So let's go
you.
to. So right now we have one nominee. Then it would be Mr. Dar. So if someone would like to move to appoint Mr. Dar, we can go
One
straight
nominee.
to
It's
debate
just like
and
the
then
Soviet
a
Union
ballot.
now. Everyone in consensus. We
move.
all agree, right?
Hey, you could
So
have made me the
okay,
vice
so
chair
Mr.
of
Redpath has
convention in
moved
DC, and then we
to
wouldn't have had
appoint
this vote for chair. We wouldn't
Mr.
be
Paul
dealing with
Dar
this vote
as
for VC.
vice chair of the
We wouldn't be
Libertarian
dealing with any of this.
National
It'd be
Committee. Is there a
fine.
second?
Second.
No, y'all wanted to.
Seconded by
get
Mr. Lamb, and just to
dilatory
be
and
clear,
We
the
wanted to have
nominator
fun
was the
this
chair,
night.
Mr.
We knew
Nikela.
this night would
So
come.
we'll go ahead and move into debate. Does anyone
And
wish to
here
say
we are,
anything before we go to a
enjoying
vote?
every minute of our fucking fruit.
You shall know us
Hearing
by
none,
our
we will
fruit,
go
sir.
straight to Mr. Watkins.
Yeah, just to reiterate, I
They're
think this
pretty
whole thing was
fucking gay.
rushed and unnecessarily so, and I will be voting no to or objecting or
Who
whatever.
cares? Next.
Nobody cares. Shut
Okay,
the fuck
duly
up.
noted. Thank you, Mr. Watkins.
Move it
Anybody else?
along. You suck.
Mr. Nikela.
Yes, I just want to say I look forward to working with Mr. Dar. We're going to be attached by the hip as we proceed, and we're going to accomplish many
I'd
great
like a
things.
couple
So
of dogs.
I would encourage this body to vote yes.
Thank you, Mr. Nick.
Let's go, Junior. Mitch is
Any
mad.
further?
What'd you say,
comment?
Robot AIDS?
Who, me?
No.
Shadowden.
Malagon.
We'll go ahead and move to a vote then. Sorry, my connection. I'll be turning off my video after this. But Madam Secretary, whenever you're ready. So again, the motion on the table is the election or the appointment of the Libertarian National Committee Vice Chair. Madam Secretary, take it away.
Mr. Boss,
None of the above.
Mr. Dar,
Oh, please let Noda win.
I am ceding to my alternate for this vote.
Mr. Thompson.
Mr. Dar.
Whoops, didn't move
Yeah.
down a line.
Triple X.
Mr.
Karen.
Dassing,
That's what we want.
Noda.
Oh shit.
Mr. Ford,
Noda.
I'll abstain.
Okay.
Oh, still a no.
Mr. Garcia.
I'll vote for Dar.
Dart.
I will vote for Paul Dar. Mr. Lamb,
Noda.
just for the records, Mr. Chatterton, would your vote be the same?
Who cares?
please.
Mr. McGee,
Mr. Dar.
Mr.
Mr.
Dar.
Nana,
Mr. Dar.
Okay.
Mr. Nikela,
Mr. Dar.
Okay.
Mr.
Wow.
Redpath,
Yep. Dar.
I'm sorry,
Red-
Mr. Dar. Mr.
Okay,
Dar.
thank you.
Vincent
Mr.
Noda.
Benson,
Noda.
Yep.
Mr. Watkins,
Noda.
She put him
Yep.
as abstain.
Janiscatic.
Yeah. Yeah. She doesn't know what she's doing.
Mr. Dar.
Okay, I didn't put a formula
Wait,
there,
out of
so
order.
we do have 8 for Mr. Dar. Oh, I put
Nah,
that down.
you
I'm
suck.
sorry. 1 second.
Next.
Stupid bitch.
We had 1 abstention,
There
and
you
let me
go.
count these because I didn't put a formula in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for Noda.
8-5.
And 8 is a majority of a board of.
I haven't voted yet, Madam Secretary.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Mr.
It doesn't
Chairperson
matter.
Malagon.
I will also cast my vote for Mr. Dar. Congratulations. So with the vote total of 9-0 to 0. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess
It's 9 for Dar, 5 for Noda, 1 express abstention.
okay, 9-0 to 5 to 1. Congratulations, Mr. Dar. You are the new Libertarian National Committee Vice Chair. And with that, I happily pass my gavel to the new chair of the Libertarian National Committee. You'll notice it says take human action because I really do believe in single issue coalition.
He's got a gavel.
And
He has
Chair
a real
Nikayla,
gavel.
the gavel is passed.
Always the entertainer. Good
Thank
job,
you very
man.
much, Mr. Maligan. I appreciate all your hard work as Chair Pro Temp, and thank you, Libertarian National Committee, for instilling me with this honor. And I will be serving this party with every
He
ounce of
finally
my
replied to
being.
me.
I very much look forward to it.
What do you say?
Next up on the
I said anytime
agenda
someone makes a motion
is
that's not on the
appointment
agenda, you
of
have to take a
McArdle
shot.
post-resignation
He said, I've been taking
investigatory
full
committee
drinks the whole
and the
time.
discharge of McArdle pre-resignation investigatory committee. The removers are Mr. Hayes and Mr. Dar. So that's already a mover and a second. So we'll go ahead and move on to discussion on this item. Ms. Hayes or Mr. Dar,
What are we doing
would you
now?
like to speak
I
on
don't
behalf
know.
of the
Now
motion?
it's all gay shit. Can we just wrap this
I
up
am
on our
Ms.
end?
Thank you very much. You called a
Oh,
Mr.
Not
at first.
over
That's my
yet.
fault.
Did I call his name Mr.?
You
I think I was
did.
trying to say Miss.
This is
Mr.
fucking
Dar.
water torture.
For the
Sorry about that.
investigatory
I understand that there has been a lot of concern from the membership about an independent outside firm investigation. I don't think there's any reason that that could not be engaged at a later date if necessary. At the time, the funds being what they are, we do not have those funds available. I think we do need to get a start on this matter within the within people who know the party structure and have a certain level of familiarity with what's going on. I do believe it's good to have someone from outside the LNC be a part of this, especially since there will be a certain a level of investigating what happened with other members of the LNC and what we all knew. So I do think it's important to have someone from outside, but in the interest of getting this worked out quickly and getting the ball rolling, I do believe we need to have LNC committee members also as part of this. So that is Mr. Dar. If he has anything else, he can go ahead.
Mr. Dar.
I just wanted to echo the wish of the body that many members have reached out to me wishing that there was members that weren't on the LNC on this committee, and I am thankful to be able to have at least one member on there. I know we're trying to move urgently, but having that will restore faith with the membership a little bit more, I think. Thank you.
I just want everyone to note that the language I have up there is the only reason it's up there is because that is what was included in the notice. Nobody's actually moved that, so if it can be a little different.
To investigate issues of
I just wanted to let you know that's why the language that was up there. I just copied it from the notice.
LNC consisting of 6 members and 1 non-LNC.
So my understanding is this is, let's see, appoint a special committee to investigate issues of conflict of interest and business practices of the Libertarian National Committee, consisting of 6 members of the LNC and 1 non-LNC member. So that is the motion, correct?
Yeah.
That was the motion that was noticed, but it's open to amendment, and I'm waiting to see if anyone else has amendments. I do, if not.
Okay, does anybody have any discussion on this? We'll go ahead with Mr. Bost.
Yes, I would see if I word this. I move to amend the composition of the committee to be 4 LNC members and 3 non-LNC members.
Jesus.
All right,
The rest would stay the same.
Time to fight over the minutia.
There is a motion to amend. Is there a
That's what I'm
second?
saying, man. Can we just wrap this shit up on our end?
Rob needs to join us.
Second.
Yeah, we need Rob.
Seconded by Mr.
If you want to
Dassing.
wrap up, Mitch, I
All right, so we
understand.
have an amendment
It's
to
a
the
rough game
motion.
out here.
We'll go ahead and move into discussion on the amendment.
We should have
Is
adjourned.
there any discussion on the
Should
amendment
have
to the motion?
I can't
Someone
raise my
motion to
hand
adjourn.
when I am sharing. It was
For the love of God, Rob.
What, Mr. Doss, Mr. Boss?
You won't.
3 to keep the original total of 7.
Okay.
Unless my math is off. It is late.
Don't ever count on me for math.
Mr.
I
Boss,
won't.
did you want to speak to your amendment?
Briefly, I was initially in support of the original wording. Although we cannot afford to hire an outside auditor, I do believe it may have been demonstrated that the current LNC may not be impartial enough to fully investigate itself. So I would like to see some more outside eyes.
Impartial enough. You guys just elected Nikayla 9 to 5.
I can't raise my hand, Mr.
Whatever the fuck it was.
Carlos, who seek to be recognized?
Yes, and I'm so sorry. I'm sure it's on here somewhere, but Zoom changed. Mike, here's my concern. I'm in favor of the idea of having outsiders. I've said that honestly all along. My problem
Ready for
is
some
the
poker?
details.
Yeah. Me too. We need to get Robin.
That who, like, we're appointing this
If Rob will join us,
committee
we'll
with
wrap
no
up.
names.
I'm gonna message him right now.
And to me, that's going to delay things. Do we know 3 non-LNC members that are? And to me, I think there needs to be some qualifications on these non-LNC members, that they need to be party elders, maybe former state chairs, former national chairs, whatever. This is very serious business. And
There he goes.
also, this might make a difference as to
Can you do
whether or
both?
not people
Are you here?
will
I'm here.
vote for this amendment.
All right. I'm gonna turn this
I
down.
intend upon
I'm
offering
gonna
an
turn it
amendment
down
after
so that we can all talk to each other. But there you go. What's up?
McGee turned coat, Roman turned coat, and we don't have the votes for shit. McGee might be removed. Roman is going to get removed tomorrow because the reps in his region saw that they voted again. Like the people that put these two guys in their seats
The
were
people that
majority of
didn't
Mises
give their
guys.
hearts out to Heist? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
we were all in the room.
No, we're
a lot of
memeing,
us were
but
in
yeah.
that region 2 room whenever Johnson and McGee got elected, and little did we know both of them standing in that room would just stab every single one in that room in the back.
How do you feel about Nikayla as the chair of the LNC?
I don't mind it. I think this whole unity thing is gonna just fall straight down the drain. Like I'm with Heist. Like this party needs to go full on like in the direction it was going, and now we're going back to what we've been doing the last 50 years, which has sucked dick. It's just sucked a lot of cock and balls and asshole at the same time. If you go under the balls and lick the taint, you go to asshole. That's what the Libertarian Party's been doing the past few years, or past 50 years.
Rob, I know what our strategy needs to be in 2028. We're going to complain a lot about not getting into the debates, and then we're going to wonder why we can't even break 1%.
There you go. Yeah. Well, that was going to be that was going to be my next question is, what do you guys think? And we'll start with Rob because he's in the meeting and on the board. What do you think that this vote, what effect do you think it has on LNC 2026 in Grand Rapids? Because I think if you're right that we just go back to the same old strategy, that it could give fuel to another takeover, a potential takeover. But if he just maintains where we're at, there's a good argument for double down and let's go and get rid of all the Mises people. So where do you think? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if people get motivated. No one was motivated to show up to DC. I want to quit life right now after attending this meeting. I'm having to look through emails for work. Like, there's no reason like anyone should be subjected to a 4-hour fucking meeting on a Sunday. They can eat my cock and balls, especially whenever like they're asking all these questions. They already know how they're gonna vote. Just get to the goddamn vote, you pieces of shit.
Yeah.
You pieces of shit. All this backstabbing, dude. It's ridiculous.
What do you guys think?
I think people
Yeah.
will be motivated to show up to 2026, and there could be a possible like revival. But at the same time, we're gonna have to undo everything that this board's about to do because the Mises Caucus does not have the votes anymore on the board.
We'll go to Mitch and then Josh because Josh is going to be fire. So go ahead, Mitch.
I mean, what else can I say that hasn't already been said? I would just sound like a broken record.
Okay, so you agree with Rob? Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you heard what I said, because every 4 years we just complain about not getting into the debates and then wonder why we don't break 1%. And the reason Javier Milei won in Argentina was because he formed a coalition with the conservatives. We learned that, hey, we could do coalition games too. Granted, we could do more, but hey, you got to start somewhere. And the only thing that these people complain about is that we aren't the Javier Milei. Donald Trump is. It sucks. I get it. I would love to be the Milei. Maybe one day we will be the Milei if our economy gets shitty enough.
More inflation, tariffs.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You see, we're helping getting ourselves into power.
We're almost there.
Exactly. We're about halfway there, Tim.
I agree.
Then the Libertarian Party becomes relevant, just like Argentina.
We just call them a bunch of shit socialists. All right, what do you got, Josh? What do you think? What does this mean for Grand Rapids? How does this affect it?
So, because I'm looking for something. Here we go.
Okay, while he's looking.
No,
okay, go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
But go ahead. No, I'm ready.
Okay, while he was looking, let's pretend, Rob, were you reading our chats? We were trying to make you laugh. We had a $20 super chat to make you laugh.
Yeah, that's why I was stroking my beard so much.
Oh, you evil asshole!
You regional asshole! All right. So,
I did get the hot. I did get the hot chick you sent over.
Oh, the nugget. She's a nugget.
Yeah.
The nugget.
Yeah. See, he got the nugget. Okay, we're
He is a
good.
cute
You got
little
that
nugget.
chicken McNugget. Good deal.
Yeah.
So, I want to actually start out first, really quick, by addressing both Mitch and Rob.
Okay.
And everything, because I heard a lot of what they said, and I feel really bad. And if this is really how both of you boys feel, like, there you go. Right there.
I'm ready. What? There's the gun.
You really want to die that bad? There you go.
Oh no, man, we're shooting you.
Oh, that's fine. I'll live, and then I'm gonna kill both of you for trying so hard. Anyway.
Yeah.
So
how does it spell out for 2026? How do you think this turns the tables, if at all?
So I'm gonna keep it really real. I got a post here from Angela back in early October, about 10:30 in the morning. I got it right here, pulled up still. And she talks about how can she reconcile being an anarcho-capitalist with rescuing the republic, and goes on to talk about how she's not a collapsitarian. And as soon as I started reading that, I realized that Angela lost the narrative on her core audience. Because most of the people who I met, that I got to know, that came into the Mises Caucus, these people were like, fuck it. If we're not going to be able to change it, we need to destroy it. That's how we're going to bring a libertarian lifestyle and a libertarian society in our lifetime. I'm sorry, I am not Angela in that asset of, I don't care about the other people. Sorry if your life's going to get hard. Figure it the fuck out. Life sucks. Buy a fucking helmet. I don't care. Not even that. I don't fucking care, Martha. It doesn't fucking matter. I don't care about your complaints. I don't care about your whining. Figure it the fuck out. If you don't like what you have going on around you and you're mad about shit going wrong, you're wrong. It's only going to get better by getting worse. Because eventually it can't get any further down the slope, and then it's got to go back up. And when it goes back up, those who were smart enough and shrewd enough and skilled enough to survive all of that nonsense and chaos, those are going to be the kings of the new castles. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. So do you think that Nikela and the LP Alliance are the kings of the castle right now? Do you think that they stand to benefit more in 2026, or do you think that this is a chance for the
no clothes?
Well, that's what I'm saying to you. Is do you think it's going to be the anti-Mises caucus that wins, or the Mises caucus that wins in 2026?
I think both of them are going to lose again. the same way they
So
did.
who's going to win? It has to be one of them.
No.
Too early to
Think
say.
about it. They both lost in D.C.
It's fine to say it's too early to say, but he's saying both are going to lose, and that's not possible in my
Well,
mind.
that's because Josh always says both things.
Yeah. Okay.
One day I'm hearing one
very
thing, the other day
likely
I'm
we'll
hearing the
get
next.
somebody as
Yeah.
chair who is either very pro or very anti-Mises, and just like DC, we'll get the opposite with the vice chair, whatever that may be. So nobody's going to actually.
Oh, so you think we get a mixed pot?
Yeah, that's what I'm
That's
saying.
happened a lot the last several years.
Exactly.
Okay.
Whether it's going to be by bad coalitions from one side, whether it's going to be from somebody turncoating, like what kind of happened with Rob tonight, whether it is a matter of people losing focus or mission discipline. The reality is that neither side is going to win, which is why I laugh on why they fight so hard. And I'm happy that they do, because it's going to just continue to destroy the party, and whatever does eventually come out of the ashes of it is going to be way fucking better. So
I think Magoo has some credit here. He says, "Let it crumble in its own leftism and be a pack and get your goals accomplished." I think there's a lot of merit to the idea that you can work outside the party and accomplish more, which is basically what I think he's saying. Is you don't have to be tied down into one thing.
See it all the time.
Yeah, I don't know that it gets split. I do think after watching tonight that Heiss obviously over miscalculated his position, and he thought he was going to come in big dick swinging, and he just wasn't able to pull it off. And I don't know.
He knew the votes were tight.
Yeah, I knew
Yeah.
that just from the way that things were going in that meeting. I don't think he thought that it was a big dick swinging kind of thing.
Well, I mean, he came in with the idea that he was going to win. I know he didn't want it to go. I know he didn't want the vote to go.
Well, yeah, of
through,
course you
and
have to go in with some sort of winning attitude.
Right, but like he was obviously on the side of we need to postpone this for 3 weeks so that I can go around to the different states and make my case. Like he knew that he had votes to win before he could make it happen.
No, he had
But-
votes to remove regional reps and replace them with ones that would vote for him.
Well, I don't.
Let's call balls and strikes down the middle, boys.
Okay, yeah, like so those guys that kept coming in and saying that they voted to remove their chair. So they were anti-Mises and they were going to be replaced with Mises. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much.
But the one vote wouldn't have mattered because it was always decided by a 2-3 vote margin.
Roman had already been removed, but Robert's rules gives you to the end of today, so technically he's still in. But tomorrow he'll be gone, and
what does that mean moving forward? Probably nothing, right?
Someone's going to replace him. I think if they have the majority to vote him out, then they have the majority to put a Mises guy in.
But they're not going to remove Nikayla.
No, there's no like the way I see it going forward is like the composition of the board right now is not gonna be majority Mises or Mises friendly until at least 2026.
At least, yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm ready to play some poker. I don't know about y'all, but
Yep.
Let's wrap it up.
I got shit to do. I can't. I've been doing this shit.
They're meeting.
All right, well, hang around for at least for like 2 seconds before we jump over to poker.
I do like that one of your back posters is the swamp.
Yeah, this is
The
my
other
other.
one.
This is the
Yeah.
other setup.
Yeah.
Go Gators.
And then I got the.
Oh yeah, the big gator.
neon
Yeah.
light. You
Yeah.
fucking homer.
All right, boys. We're gonna go play some poker. No need to plug. You guys know where we're at. We'll see you in the lounge. Love you all. 4 hours later. Adios.